May 3rd. If you go to our website, 965thefan.com, right on the homepage, you'll see the road trip logo. We got a special $10 ticket deal we arranged with the Springfield Cardinals to make this happen, and it's that simple. That's simple. I'll be honest, we are 40-plus people already signed up, ready to roll.
So easy things to know in addition to that. One, we're going to meet at a place called Harbell's before the game to hand out the CAGS-related T-shirts, which you can purchase separately if you were interested. No one's obligating you to do it. But based on the number of people who purchased tickets and have so far committed to the T-shirts, I bet there's more of you that want the CAGS T-shirt and that Royals cursive script. If you're not sure where to find that, just message us into the text line, 913-586-7965. If you're going on the trip, we'll hand them out live there. They're not available for purchase right now for the people who won't be on the road trip. But if you signed up for the tickets and you didn't know where to get them, shoot us a DM on social media at Alex Gold or at Cody B. Tapp or into the text line, 913-586-7965. You can shoot me an email. Whatever you need, that stuff is available so we can get you that link and get you so you can get the sizing you want, right? If you're a large, you want a large. You don't want me just handing you an XL so we can go in there. I want us all to match at the game. Those are only $10 as well. So for $20, man, we can drive down to Springfield, watch a baseball game, match in our CAG shirts, and have a great time. But yeah, 40 plus of you, I think getting closer to 50 plus of us maybe already scheduled to be out there in Springfield to watch CAGs play baseball in 2 weeks from Saturday, May 3rd. It's going to be an awesome time. Really, really, really looking forward to it. I hope he hits one of those 450-foot home runs.
That would be awesome.
Please.
That would be awesome to see in person. Again, one of you that buys tickets through a road trip is going to be selected throughout the first pitch, randomly selected, and we'll have more details on that. So the Springfield Cardinals, who are the Cardinals, obviously AA affiliate, nice enough since they're the home team, nice enough to arrange that for us as well. So more reason to join us if you're thinking about going to watch CAGs anyway and you're trying to figure out when's a good time and everything like that. Well, there's no better time than Saturday, May 3rd. Everybody's going to be down there that listens to the show, listens to the station. Dusty's going to be down there as well. So those of you that listen to the morning show, and Dusty's a big CAGs guy, so he'll be joining us in Springfield also. Let's start with the Royals, though, and yesterday's pitiful offensive performance. And I saw it felt like rock bottom, and I hope it is for the offense at least.
Oh, boy.
And this team is 8-9. I don't want to act like, oh, my gosh, they've lost 7 in a row or something. But yesterday, other than Bobby Wood Jr., literally nobody else did anything. And they were going up against a guy that historically has beat them up as a franchise, but this year had a 7+ ERA entering the outing, and you were playing in the Bronx, so you were thinking, okay, this is your game to break through offensively. And you ran into like a home run derby, except they had 3 or 4 of them, and you had 1.
And they're very good at hitting home runs, so they did the thing that they're good at, right? The Yankees. I don't like Lugo, like they're the number 1 home run team in baseball for a reason, but God, Cole, if that's not rock bottom, what the hell is? The only person who got a hit yesterday was Bobby Wood Jr.
It's almost easier to, I don't know if you guys agree, and this is not excusing the pitiful offense, but when you have a game in which only one player is really doing anything for you, I almost can
you can flush it a little easier?
Yeah, because look, if they had 6 or 7 hits and then they're just not getting guys home, or it's Bobby and Vinny only, and or whatever, getting hits and things like that, and you're like, oh my gosh, they're not getting anything from the rest of the lineup. When it is so we can say whatever we want about the offense and how bad it is right now. If we all pull back and are honest with ourselves, we also know they're not as bad as what we saw last night, as in getting 2 or 3 hits and only one player accounting for those. That's, that's why I can flush it a little bit easier. Like, there's no way they're not going to be the worst offense in baseball, which is what last night would make them. So that's what I mean by it's easier almost to move on. But it still is the bigger issue that we all have witnessed through the first, 18 days or so of the big league season.
Yeah, look, there's a point. There is a drop-dead date, in my opinion, in which we no longer discuss this as it's a slow start for the offense, and we have to admit to ourselves, and they do too, that this is just a bad offense. The biggest leap I'm having a hard time doing is last year they were at the very least a mediocre offense. I thought slightly better than that for a chunk of the season where they kind of got themselves more together. Overall, where I felt like they were there. And they added an extra bat they didn't have last year. So there's no reason for them on paper to be a worse offense than they were 1 year ago today. But if 2 weeks from now, they're still scoring 3 runs a game, they're still walking at the 29th highest rate in baseball I think they're at right now, they still got half of their roster hitting below 215, I think.
Yeah.
If we're still there, Yeah, we're probably just talking about a bad offense, and that they're going to have to try to find ways to solve that either through the minor league system, early trades, or just pray that they can pitch well enough to stay 500 until the trade deadline.
Yeah, I mean it's venturing towards that. I think still. It's the way we approach baseball when there's 162 games. It's very easy to look at the first 2.5 weeks and think that defines the entire season. One thing we've all agreed on is like, yeah, you can dig yourself such a hole that you can't get out of. Well, fortunately, they're not in a hole. The offense is sucked, and they are still one game under 500. And I'm not saying that they can continue to hit like this and still be a 500 team the entire year. But my point is, like the doom and gloom and acting like, oh my gosh, they're just already screwed and it's over when they're one game under 500 on April 15th. You're not going to get me on. You're not going to get me on board. Yeah. You're not going to get me on board for that. Like someone said, how sure are we this isn't going to be the worst offense in baseball?
Because they weren't last year.
Because Bobby Witt Jr. was an MVP candidate a year ago. Salvador Perez was a Silver Slugger a year ago. Jonathan India was top 5 in on-base percentage, or walks, a year ago. Vinny Pasquantino almost had 100 RBI last year until he got hurt.
He's actually on pace for 100 RBI still this year.
So that's why. Am I telling you that they're going to make the improvement we all hoped that they would see? Yeah, I'm very skeptical now, of course, that's possible. But you asked the question, like, why do I think they won't be the worst offense in baseball? Yeah, they're frankly, like, 5 through 9 is a problem. 1 through 4, they still have too many dudes where that's not going to allow them to be the worst. Am I concerned? Are we all concerned? All that is true. But you said there needs to be a drop-dead date. What's that date for you where you think, okay, no, this offense is going to be bottom 10 in baseball?
Probably like 2-3 weeks. Like, I think that's
it's
probably
middle of
the
May
number.
For me. It's middle of May for me.
Okay, so we're not way far off. If I'm saying 3 weeks, I'm in the first week of May. Because at that point, then it's not just everyone's off to a slow start and it's 2 weeks, and so what? And it's like, we're like a quarter of the way through the baseball season and you guys aren't doing it. The thing that does give me, and I think you, some peace of mind is I've watched slow starts from a pitching staff, from an offensive perspective, bury Royals teams in April. I've watched it sink the entire damn season. They're 8-9. Nothing sunk. Like, they're not like in a position where they can't win 3 in a row because the offense scores. Because the thing is, based on the way they continue to pitch, if they averaged 5 runs a game for the next week, they might go 6-1 at this rate. I don't think that'd actually happen, but you get the point. Is that if they do find some offensive mojo, the bigger concern on this game last night in particular was Carrasco has been bad. He was struggling immediately in this start. He's walking guys. His pitch count was crazy. He gives up the homer to Bobby, and you're like, okay, time to get to the pitching staff who's not doing so hot. Yankee Stadium, hitter-friendly ballpark. Let's take advantage of these things. Let's find a way to get something going offensively. And the only one singular player in the entire lineup was capable of getting a hit last night, and that was Bobby Witt Jr. Damn.
Oh, it's brutal to watch right now. Like, it's not enjoyable to watch. It's definitely not enjoyable to watch, and it's brutal. And obviously they're back at it again tonight. And the Bronx, and this was a big road trip. We said that, so I don't want to act like it's not one anymore. We said it's a huge 10-game stretch. First against Cleveland, they lost that series. They lost 2 out of 3. They still got a couple more here against the Yankees. Still have a shot to win the series. They dropped the first one though, so you're trying to, as you said the other day, how long throughout the season can you avoid the 3+ game losing streak? Okay, well they've lost 2 in a row.
That's the most they've lost in a row so far this year.
Can they get a stopper tonight? Whether it's offense or pitching, to where they prevent the 2-game losing streak becoming 3. And they've been able to do that. That's why they've been right around 500 the first 20 games or whatever of the season. That's the reason why they've avoided it dragging out and becoming this long skid. So that's where they're in position for. But I'll say a month, because by the time we get to a month from now offensively, they would have played the rest of this Yankees series. They would have had the Tigers. They would have already played the Astros again. You're into the month of May. You have a couple turns through rotation for other teams too, and so you get a better feel of where they're at. That will tell me if it's May 15th and we're talking about this offense still being, what are they now?
Not having a bad day.
27th, 28th in baseball or something like that. If that's ultimately what they end up being, then we can say, okay, this might be who they are. But I think it's still. I don't expect everybody to agree with me, but on April 15th, I still completely disagree with the notion that we just already know on April 15th that the offense, this is it. This is who they are all year. Like that's crazy to me. And why do I have more faith that I think the pitching, this is who they are to a certain extent? Because, again, sample size, I know I've seen Cole Reagans do what he's doing right now. I've seen it. We've all seen Seth Lugo at his best before. Chris Bubich is the question mark. Can he keep it up? That's a fair one. But when we're looking through the bullpen, guys like Carlos Estevez and Lucas Ursig, I've seen throughout their career what they are doing. So that's why is it possible that I think the pitching can hold up, but the offense will improve and won't keep playing at this level? I have information. I have data. We all do. We've seen it.
Honestly, kudos to their pitching for getting them to 8 and 9 because they solely deserve the credit for doing this. Here are the 6 worst teams in baseball based on current record right now in runs scored. Just record. Nationals, Pirates, Braves, Twins, White Sox, and Rockies. Notice if you sense a trend, here are the worst offenses in baseball. Yeah. Pittsburgh, Chicago White Sox, Minnesota Twins, Texas Rangers, the Royals, and the Rockies. They're the only team who's like hovering at 500, still scoring the number of runs they're scoring. They are the second worst offense in all of baseball as it sits right now. And so I'm not saying I just don't think that'll last. I don't think they're the second worst team in baseball, but like you said, if we get to mid-May and that's where we are, we're probably having a different conversation. You and I can talk about where the odds are right now for the Royals to make the playoffs in the very early stages, just for the people who are panicking about that, because that'll at least give us a little bit of a sense. Let's talk a little bit about where the Chiefs are. We are now only, a week and 2 days away?
Yeah, 9 days out.
Crazy. From the NFL draft in Green Bay. I know normally on this show we talk about how everybody hates everything. I think the draft hats don't look bad. I actually think they've
definitely done worse.
I thought pretty good. That's what I thought when I saw them yesterday. Not immediately like, gross, what are you doing? Get rid of this hideous hat. But instead, not bad. So I thought that was pretty good. But when you look at it, the more I think about this draft, the more I view it as kind of a fork in the road. You really have 2 ways of going about this draft, and I kind of want you to go into one of 2 avenues. Either decide that you're just going to deal with the veterans you got on the roster and try to win to the best of your ability and draft for the future, as in you take that tackle in the first round, you start thinking about wide receiver in the second round. Whatever running back you take in the third round is probably not going to be the full-time starter this year. That'll still be Pacheco. And you just lean into, I'm going to have to change the roster a lot in a year or 2, so I'm going to start drafting for those changes now. Or you just decide we're still in the middle of this run, damn it, and I'm going to take starters. That's what I'm taking. So I'm taking a defensive lineman. I'm taking an edge. As you kind of are at a fork of the road where a majority of your draft picks, I think, you need to decide are about now, today, or about the problem that you're going to run into 1 to 2 years from now where some of this roster is either going to be gone or age out.
Well, based on the consensus mock drafts that are starting to come out more and more, a lot of people have them taking an offensive tackle. And if you take an offensive tackle, that is more about next year, as in 2026, than it is this upcoming year. 2025, in my opinion. And we went through it yesterday, and we were going through the spots. Center, right guard, and right tackle, those are solidified for 2025. Right tackle is not for 2026. Left tackle, I guess you could argue there'd be a competition with Jalen Moore, but I believe they brought in Jalen Moore to be the starting left tackle in 2025. So if they take a tackle like the consensus mock drafts are saying,
that's for the future.
That's the future pick. And they were going for the three-peat, we all know, last year. And so their entire approach of that season was even more all-in than what they had been before, and some of the moves that they were willing to make. And you're once again picking at 31, and you go through, and I keep going back to Daniel Jeremiah's comments where he said, look, this may not be the most star-loaded draft or star-studded draft, but it's a draft where you can go and get starters, 3 or 4 starters. By the way, it doesn't mean they're starting in year 1. It just means like
they're
starting
starters.
caliber players, and especially at 31. If you're picking the top 10, we're having a different convo. No, I expect you to go get somebody.
I expect you to start this second. At
31, I think they truly have, as you said, 2 different paths to go. But in a weird way, you can, in this draft, you essentially do both. I don't want them to take a tackle at 31, but I get the thought process. If they do, it sets them up for 2026 to have 3 different options, really, at tackle beyond for 3 years after this year. Running back is the answer is both. They could draft a running back in the 2nd round or in the 4th round, and I would still view it as both the present and the future.
Tough, yeah.
Wide receiver is more of a future.
First or second, I start thinking he's got a bigger role.
Right.
3rd or after, I pretty much assume it's a little more future.
Defensive line is still where we keep going back to, because that also is one where it accomplishes both. I think if you drafted a defensive lineman at 31, that player could work in right away on the opposite edge of Karlaftis.
I think it depends on the defensive lineman, right? Like we know in FAU's case, that was a long-term play.
Yeah.
That was a...
Sure.
And I'm sure there are guys that people are already labeling as developmental guys.
But if I get the guy I like in this draft, a James Pierce Jr. or a Walter Nolan, those are guys I think can step in immediately and get you some help at 31, and of course our long-term pieces. We went through it. Charles Dominguez on a one-year deal. Chris Jones is not getting any younger. George Karlaftis is going to need a new deal. Felix right now has really not shown much. There's not many guys that are under contract beyond this year. So I think the position that you can do both and set you up is actually, once again, defensive line at 31.
It might be the one answer to you are playing both sides of the coin, is in maybe it's accomplishing it. But I think it largely depends on the player and how much you're planning on using that player, because there's immediate snaps for someone on the defensive line right now. They were unable to find those snaps for players they didn't trust in year one. They had no trouble finding those snaps for George Karlaftis in year one because they were drafting a more NFL-ready player at that spot. I won't view it necessarily. I think defensive line could be a little of both in the sense that nobody they take at 31 is going to be the full-time starter in the defensive line. But if they're not playing, if they're viewing them as this, like, let's drag it out thing, I just don't want their foot in both waters. Like, I understand that, like, a part-time player, but, like, don't say, well, we're going to take the offensive tackle in the first round, and then we're going to take, like, decide kind of where you're going this, because I do think that there's a lot of roster shit.
That's interesting. So you think that they have to, the entire theme of the draft has to be the same? Why can't it be a combination? You say, hey, we're gonna take tackle at 31, offensive tackle that is. That's clearly more of a future thing, but we also think there's a defensive lineman in the second round that can help us right away. I don't think you have to have the same theme across the entire draft.
I think that this draft is more about that than normal. I wouldn't say that I feel that way for every single draft that exists, right? But in this year's draft, because of where they are in this, for their franchise, where they are in the middle of this dynasty run, where they are, I think they kind of have to decide who they are now. Like, can we, if we just take players who are already made for the NFL and we find those starters that Riddick was talking about, can we just keep the train rolling, to your point, right? Can we just take all these guys and just keep the train rolling and go through this? Or do we know a year from now that the roster's going to look dramatically different? And I think they made this decision a couple of years back where they went after a lot of guys who were going to be, replacements, and it took them all a year to come around to being the full-time starters, and they had to kind of make those decisions. I understand you're saying a team like, maybe you can do both. I think it's a riskier proposition this year than it's been in a while. That's why I would consider it more of a fork in the road. I'm not saying one player of the 8 you draft can't go off plan, but I do think that you should kind of make a determination going in on it, how you're planning on approaching this. And you have enough talent right now to still win 13 games if all of these guys, nobody's becoming a day one starter.
Isn't that why you take defensive line, though? Because in a way...
I'd love to take defensive line.
Because I think you're playing both sides, but we know that you're getting a starter. So even if they draft James Pierce Jr. and he's not starting ahead of Karlaftis or Omenihu, but you know that he is a starter when Charles is gone, or you draft Walter Nolan and you know he can be put alongside right now Chris Jones, or he can be a guy that fills in when Chris Jones needs a breather, or whatever the case is. You can bring him in rotation, but you know that when Chris Jones is gone, Walter Nolan is going to be your star-studded defensive lineman, where if they draft offensive tackle, it really feels like we think this guy can be good, and we're kind of hoping that we can develop him into being a starting tackle, or even if the guy doesn't play right away because the defensive line brought everybody back, you know that you have that starter, whether it be next year or 2 years down the line, that you can rely on and not have to worry about developing or him actually panning out.
So what positions do we think are clearly long-term, and which ones do we think are either both or short-term? Because in the first round in particular, if they take a tackle, I truly just don't know how that's not a long-term play. And that doesn't mean it's wrong, but that feels like it has to be. The defensive line can be both. Running back can be both. Wide receiver would be more of a long-term move. Tight end would be a long-term move. What I'm saying is more of these are long-term moves just based on the position anyway.
Guard would be interesting, I think, because if they
guard could be short-term.
If they draft a guard in the first 2 rounds, I think it's
got to be that.
I think it's an open competition for guard immediately. If it's the 3rd round, then maybe you wait and you just see what happens in regards to things. Even if it's a 3rd round, it might be an immediate thing where whoever they bring, if they draft a guard in the first 3 rounds, so like, hey, Kingsley, it's you, and it's whoever we drafted. May the best man win, just like last year, and you and Wanye.
Yeah, the only thing that I wonder if and we'll know less, 9 days from now, right? It'll probably in the weekend, so let's call it 10 days from now, even in the 2nd and 3rd round of the draft. Is there a chance that also somebody that's already in like a Hunter Norzad actually competes more for left guard than we're thinking, right? And that maybe that's a little bit more of what we could see as well. And they say, we don't need to draft a guard. How much does this also tell us about how confident they are they get something done with Trey Smith? I still think they're confident they do that. But if they were really concerned, then they need to spend a pick on a guard much higher, because then they're thinking in a year from now they don't have a left or a right guard, or they don't have a right guard. I mean, so I think the Trey Smith scenario also could change how they draft. Although I still think, I don't know if you guys have changed, I still think they get a long-term deal done before the deadline in July with Trey, because I think it would be a complete disaster considering how they went about the offseason if they traded Joe Thuney without thinking they could get this deal done long-term with Trey Smith.
Yeah, I mean, and that goes back. That's tougher because you're like, but I hate drafting for the what if we don't sign the guy thing, because I understand
they have more insight than we do, so they probably have a realistic view of is it going very poorly, or is it no, it's just taking time. We still feel really good, but I just. Drafting a guard if they drafted a guard in the first round, you guys would all start getting nervous, wouldn't you, about the Trey Smith potential?
I wonder why you didn't trade Trey Smith or let him go out in the free agency market, or they hate Kingsley Suamataia. Whatever they said about we think he could be a guard. You mean swing guard in a backup capacity? Because you sure as hell didn't mean as a starter. Because if you spend a first-round pick, he immediately should be the favorite to win the job. But
yes,
I mean,
yes.
heavy favorite. Not maybe he gets the gig. He should be the starter. And if he's not, now things have really gone awry. You spend a first-round pick on a guy who couldn't beat out a guy who was taken in the late second, who couldn't even keep his job after 3 games. I don't love that. That'd make me feel very uncomfortable very fast in their guard situation, especially because they're coming off of a, future Hall of Famer at left guard. So that position, we'll find out how much it matters. It's going to be one to watch this year, to say the least.
Coming up in about 20 minutes, we'll get to a trade scenario the Chiefs are involved in. There's a report out of an NFL city that says the Chiefs could be a team to trade up into this particular spot. We'll tell you who that team is and why would they be trading up? Who could they be targeting if they moved up? We'll explain who that is coming up in 20 minutes or so. The Major League Baseball season, full go, and some of you only watch Royals baseball. Some of you like to go check out some of the other games. You're on the MLB TV app or whatever, and you scroll through. Now, you didn't have to scroll through last night. You may have just saw it on social media. The Atlanta Braves, who are off to an awful start
they're really
in
bad.
baseball. They're really struggling. They're in Toronto right now taking on the Blue Jays. So they're up in Canada. And during their broadcast, their version of Joel Goldberg was up in, I don't know, this perch area, it looked like, in the outfield somewhere at Rogers Center or whatever I believe it's called. And their Braves reporter was talking to some ladies that were watching some baseball.
We're having a lot of fun up here up the Corona rooftop. Who do we got here? What's your name?
My name's Lauren.
Lawrence, all right.
And I'm Kayla.
Kayla, and you guys hang out at the rooftop lounge often?
Once a year I come out to visit.
Okay, well, we timed it pretty well. All right, good. How are you guys feeling about rooting for the Braves today?
Oof, I don't know. I'm hoping for the best.
What about you? Are you a Braves fan now?
Not quite.
Not quite. All right, I'm gonna go to work up here, guys. Good luck the rest of the way.
Okay, Wiley. You got 4 innings to get the numbers.
I'm on it.
Get us some more Braves fans.
All right, so they want me to get your number.
They want you to get my number.
I'm dead serious. They're saying in my ear right now. She didn't believe me because she thinks you guys are not. I'm making this up. Even if you guys weren't, I might use that in the future. That's actually a pretty good move.
This is unbelievable.
So the best part of this right now is that Wiley could totally be faking it. This might be the new move. Just walk around with a FanDuel microphone and an earpiece in and convince fans that they're actually on TV.
I should have thought of this years ago.
So that was Braves television their FanDuel sports network down there in Atlanta. They're up in Toronto. Unbelievable. That happened live on the air. And the way it played out is...
that they leave his microphone on while he's actually saying, hey, they want me to get your number, What's up?
And if you're him in that spot, it is actually... It's not a bad play because he's saying, look, they wanted me to ask you for your number. Not
me. Me. I'm doing whatever.
I think it actually...
He's put all the pressure on the broadcaster?
Yeah, it wasn't him. He wasn't being the weirdo.
I do not understand the people that are complaining about professionalism. Can I just point out...
that role is like a fun... If you've watched any of the baseball report, that's more of a fun role that happens during games. It's not a...
I think people think that anybody who speaks on radio or does TV is a professional. I am not a professional. This is not... I don't have to act professional unless I am in a press conference setting with a professional team at that moment. Outside with fans, whatever. This is not a... it's just... You can say whatever. You don't have to act like... I don't care that he tried to... I wouldn't care if the roles were reversed. I think a lot of people were saying if it was a female reporter getting a guy's number, that we wouldn't have this reaction. Personally,
I think we would still play the audio of it.
Yeah, because it's funny that someone's
we'd still
picking
play the
somebody
audio.
up live in that situation.
Any
chance? What's the chance they actually go on a date?
Well, he's in Atlanta. They're in
Zero.
I mean, yeah, she lives in Toronto. That's the whole
They
point.
go out that night. You don't think that they get a drink?
I don't think so.
Distance
Doubtful.
relationships.
No, I
It just sounded awkward.
She must know too. There's no risk in giving the number. Like, you live in a completely different city than me, unless you become the Blue Jays TV guy.
I mean, he can just play it off as, hey, we're just having some fun on TV anyway. That's what we're saying. Like, it doesn't feel all that pressured because he can just say, hey, yeah, we were just joking around on TV, and he can even send her a text after the game, be like, hey, thanks for playing along, and that was it. And look, if she wants to text back and they go on a date, great. Otherwise, it's just like, okay, we were just joking around, and everybody moves on with their life.
Yeah, I mean, so yeah, I mean, it would. I will say, getting shot down there still hurt a little. If she doesn't give you the digit, that's still tough.
So if I just took a 96.5 The Fan microphone around Kauffman Stadium and just randomly pretended to interview people,
That actually would be a funny bit.
I pretend that I was in your ear. Yeah. I'm just telling you right now, when we sit outside, when we sit outside Gate D, which we do a couple of times a year, if we were sitting there with a headset and you saw a girl, you're like, oh, I think she's cute, and you just said, hey, I'm sorry, my co-host is like, and I had said nothing, and you just said, I'm sorry, miss. My co-host is really bothering me. Says I got to get your number. I think it'd work. I had said nothing. I had given no indication that I actually wanted you to get her number. You were just trying to use me as a tool to get her number. I do think it would work.
She'd probably be like, what? She'd act all confused, I feel like.
Yeah, you'd be like,
You'd
hey,
have
I'm
to
really
ask
sorry.
you'd have to ask her a question first about like the Royals to make it really feel
I think you
like
have to have a microphone and be like, and ask about the Royals first, and also, by the way, my producer's asking me to get your you
yes.
Yeah, you just be like, they're always worried, and you play it off like you're a helpless, like you play it off like they're always giving me a hard time, and that I'm still single. They just want me to find somebody. They want me to get your number. Because if you do it that way, then they're like, well, I got to give this guy the number, right? Like, I do think that there's a point.
Might be a funny video idea at some point this summer at Kauffman Stadium. All right, up next, though, thinking of the Royals and Kauffman Stadium, where's our confidence level on them achieving one certain thing? And we'll tell you who the Chiefs could actually trade up and get in the draft, according to one report. That's next.
What's up, Kansas City? This is Cole Reagans, and you're listening to Cody and Gold. Weekdays starting at 10 on 96.5 The Fan.
Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Man, maybe you've been lacking that motivation. Maybe doing the yard work is kind of the summer approaches. It feels like you're like, oh, I gotta take more breaks. You've just been gaining weight. All of these things can be a sign of low testosterone. You're not feeling the way you normally feel. At the Low T Center, they can make it easy to get your levels checked and see if that's the problem. It's just a simple test with their on-site lab, and you get the results back right there. At the Low T Center, not a typical doctor's office. They specialize in treating low T with testosterone replacement therapy. So TRT for each individual patient that helps you experience this from an individual. Personalized treatment plans optimized for you individual, and they aren't just your basic standard treatment. So if you haven't been feeling the same, something feels off, you can't decide, why don't you check out a Low T Center and find out? Look, if you're a current patient, let people know what they've been missing out on. Low T Center offers you a $150 referral credit for each new patient that you refer. And you can get your health evaluated for treatment prescription GLP-1 weight loss medications. So get back to your best. Go to lowtcenter.com to book your appointment today. That's lowtcenter.com. Low T Center, reinventing men's healthcare.
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to
slow it down and get it going slower.
Izervay is proven to slow GA progression.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Izervay or avacincaptad pagel is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com.
At Busey Bank and CrossFirst Bank, we're partnering together to help make your goals become lasting legacies. Through bespoke plans that maximize your wealth and partnerships that give you peace of mind. Because building wealth, tending to it, and passing it down secures a brighter future. Together, we're building extraordinary impact in business, wealth, and community. Busey Bank and CrossFirst Bank. Member FDIC.
Looking for the best food, drinks, and game day vibes? The Landing Eatery and Pub in Liberty has you covered. Happy hour Monday through Friday, 3 to 7 p.m. with great drink specials. Game day buckets, 5 beers or seltzers. Keep the party going Saturday and all day Sunday. Catch every play on over 68 TVs while enjoying our massive 102-item menu. Love live music? Our neon-lit smoking patio has bands Thursday through Sunday. Don't miss out. Check out our daily specials at landingeateryandpub.com.
Hey, baseball fans, there's no better place to bet the long ball than BetMGM, an official sports betting partner of Major League Baseball. Swing confidently on your home run bet with BetMGM's no sweat home run token. No opt-in is required. Just log in to your BetMGM account to receive your token. Then activate your token when you place a bet on any player to hit a home run. If you lose your bet, you will receive your stake back in bonus bets. BetMGM is the best place to bet the long ball. Don't miss out on our lineup of exciting promotions for the MLB season. The action is on deck at BetMGM, the king of the big swing. Major League Baseball trademarks used with permission. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 plus only. Kansas only. Existing customer offer. Subject to eligibility requirements. Rewards are non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire in 7 days. Please gamble responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER in partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel.
This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. Which is why when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. With easy access to 1 million+ products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them. The right tools and supplies are never far away. So the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
My friends swim no matter the season, but my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis can sometimes take me out of the moment. Now, thanks to Skyrizi and clear skin, count me in. With Skyrizi, Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy. 3 out of 4 people achieve 90% clear skin at 4 months.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
Thanks to Skyrizi, there's nothing on my skin, and that means everything. Ask your doctor today about Skyrizi, the #1 dermatologist-prescribed biologic in psoriasis, and visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance specialist for university housing, he knows college students can major in wear and tear. Plus, housing so many students doesn't leave a lot of room to house all the supplies he needs. That's where Grainger comes in. With over 1 million industrial-grade products and fast, dependable delivery, Grainger carries the quality products he needs so he doesn't have to. From a new door hinge to a whole new faucet. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
You know what's better than a limited time deal? An unlimited time deal. That's why the Wendy's $5 Biggie Bag with a Junior Bacon Cheeseburger, 4-piece nugs, Junior Hot and Crispy Fries, and small soft drink is available all the time. Because the best time for fresh, never frozen beef and Applewood smoked bacon is all the time. Duh. I feel like I'm repeating myself a lot. For the best deal of all time, gotta be Wendy's.
Unlimited time does not mean forever. U.S. price and participation may vary. Prices may be higher in Alaska, Hawaii, and California and via third-party delivery. Fresh beef available in the contiguous U.S., Alaska, and Canada.
This hour on 96.5 The Fan is presented by Awaken 180 Weight Loss. Results every week and then receive free support for life. Online at awaken180weightloss.com.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, millions of men experience ED, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. At HIMSS, our own board-certified urologist, Dr. Peter Stahl, knows this better than anyone, and he knows that HIMSS can help.
Hi, I'm Dr. Peter Stahl, Senior Vice President of Men's Sexual Health at HIMSS. I've helped many guys with ED, and it has never been more convenient to treat than it is right now, thanks to HIMSS.
Through Hims.com, you can access a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs. Options at up to 95% less than the brand names when you get started at hims.com/joy. To start your free online visit and find ED treatment at up to 95% less than brand name prices, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit.
Brought to you by MVP. Only $39 for an AC tune-up. Book now at themvpkc.com. MVP Air Conditioning, Heating, Plumbing, and Electric is your home's MVP this spring and summer. Get a summer AC tune-up for just $39 and avoid costly repairs. 913-214-1212 or visit themvpkc.com. MVP. One call does it all.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios.
Coming up in 8 minutes, we'll get to a trade scenario that was reported last night that has the Chiefs moving up. We'll tell you where they could move up to, and we'll all try to figure out why they would be trading up. Who could they be drafting? So that's coming up in just a bit. You guys can hit us up on the J Southland Tow Service text line, 913-586-7965. We're about 25 minutes away from being joined by Matt Verderame from Sports Illustrated. We'll get a national perspective on how he sees the draft going with the Chiefs, and also what's he hearing on Shedeur Sanders at number 9, what could happen with all the quarterbacks in this upcoming draft, which is 9 days away. But let's get back to the Royals for a little bit here. And we were talking about the obvious right now, which is the offense and how pitiful it has been. But let's step back for a second, bigger picture. I almost feel silly bringing this up, but I looked on FanDuel.
I feel like we have to do it based on current fan sentiment
the
right
texts
now.
we get, the tweets we get.
Yeah, somebody earlier said, why can't they just send Vinny down? He has options, and they could call Jack up. I'm like, whoa. Why would they do that?
They have no chance to get to where they want to get if you tell me that Vinny is not in the lineup. So, and that's not even just because we obviously have a great relationship with him. Like, it's just reality. He's one of their best hitters on the team. He had almost 100 RBI last year. Anyway, so I went on FanDuel, and the Royals right now are plus 132 to make the playoffs. It's April 15th, but they are plus 132 to make the playoffs.
So they're still putting them in almost even money to do it. Like, it's plus money, but barely. Plus 132, it's not exactly like they're not saying they're 3-1, 4-1, like they probably were 10-1 at this time last year. Who knows?
They are just under 500, and the pitching gives them a chance to win every single game. No matter what we say about the offense and how bad it is, gives them a chance to win every single game. And when they happen to have a better offensive day, the bullpen has shown you, with the exception of Stratton and Long, basically. That's it, right? Stratton and Long. Otherwise, everybody else in the bullpen, I feel pretty darn good when they go out and pitch for this team. So the confidence, whatever your preseason prediction, maybe your win total, I can understand your win total being different. That's fair. But you thought they could win the division or you thought they were a playoff team. I think it would be foolish to change your prediction in that regard this early in the year. Now, if you had them winning 93 games, I'll get it. I would get why you would think, oh, maybe I need to lower that.
A little?
Why I might need to lower that. But if you thought they were a playoff team, I think it would be, frankly, really foolish to fall off of that already.
I totally agree. I still fully expect them to be a playoff team. Like, even in their own division, this is why these conversations being so early are silly. The Detroit Tigers are hot. They've won 8 of their last 10 games. They got the #1 record in the American League. You're like, oh, man, could be, like what happens if Detroit really runs away with it? You're 2.5 games back. It's not like, let's not pretend like you're a half game back of a playoff spot. Every team that's not named 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 teams, including you, are between 9-7 and 8-9. Like, there's not a tangible, fundamental difference. In a lot of ways, and I mentioned this a little bit in the lead, but I think it kind of matters for this playoff conversation more. I'm impressed that they're 8-9 considering their current flaw. The current flaw of an inability to score runs through 17 games has not sunk them in any way, and it has kept them above water. For a large reason, the thing you mentioned earlier, which is they, to this point, have avoided long losing streaks. Now, if they get in the middle of one now, we're having a pretty different conversation. They haven't lost more than 2 games this year. They were good at avoiding long losing streaks last year, largely because of the pitching. They do have a couple of aces coming their way. Scooble's scheduled to pitch against them in Detroit. They've got a really good starter tonight. going against them for the Yankees. So, like, it's not to say that they can't run into the grinder, but their pitching has kept them afloat. So, like, if they find runs in a couple of games, I do think that they're, like, just as long as they find some semblance of an offense, I think they're a playoff team. I don't think there's any reason to change your opinion on that in 17 games.
Yeah, and this road trip they're on is big because I don't know where you guys were. I know we talked on the show last Friday about, hey, a 10-game stretch, 500 road trip we'd sign up for. Obviously, you'd love to have a winning road trip. Even 4-6 is not a disastrous road trip. Well, right now they're 1-3 on the road trip. And so if they get a win today, they get to 2-3, and we know they would have one more against the Yankees and then the 4 against the Tigers over the weekend. I guess what I'm saying is, like, being 4-6 on the road trip is still totally in play at this point. If they win today, they lose today, then we start wondering, is it a 3-7 type of road trip that they're about to go on? But they have 2 more against the Yankees and 4 against the Tigers. So it right now, because of the offense that's been abysmal, it feels like they're just going to lose 6 in a row. And I understand that because you're like, they're not going to score any runs. But if you thought you were happy with a 500 road trip or a 4-6 road trip and just get back home and basically be 500, then they really are not pacing any differently than that if they win today. So just keep things in perspective. I know it's tough to do at times.
Yeah, and that's I guess that's part of the reason I wanted to have the conversation, because I get it's good to have this feeling because you're, again, used to this team falling apart very quickly. I would say from a roster versus the year before, right, where it's like, how could you believe it was real? The year before they had won 56 games or whatever the hell it was. They were a really bad baseball team. They had one of the single best turnarounds ever. The roster turnover from last year to this year is pretty small.
Yeah, jumping ship already would be kind of silly considering this group, while frustrated right now, a majority of what you're saying is a similar roster, and the guys they added have actually been really good. You know, if you think about the additions,
would be better if you had said no Estevez and instead had Santander. And I think that that's kind of important to note when you talk about the issues they're having offensively in the corner outfield. If you switch those, Gold, would they be a better team? Would they have won more games if it was Santander instead of Estevez? No. They might not have lost more or one, but like they're not fundamentally better or worse as a result of
Santander in Toronto sitting $194 with a home run and 3 RBI.
They'd fit right in.
It's over 100 points higher than getting in left field.
Well, man,
120 points higher.
They last night. Now I'll say, if you're asking the questions about the offense, which we can get back to in a little bit, but if you're asking questions about it, I'll say it's pretty clear the Royals are too. I don't think you go into a lineup where you're like, what would it look like if we didn't have MJ or Renfroe in it on accident? I don't think you just like oopsie your way into Kevin Biggio and I think that was a conscious decision to be like, can we score some runs today if we don't have the 2 outfielders who are causing us problems right now offensively not in the lineup? Look, I've told you yesterday, I would send MJ down. Not to say he can't be a part of the team ever, not to say he still can't have success. I'd send him down and I'd call up John Rave and I would see if I could catch a hot hitter in AAA and hope he's hot in the big leagues and then make my decision a month from now when MJ either gets his confidence back or doesn't, or Rave either sticks in the bigs or doesn't.
The Royals playoff odds I gave you already at FanDuel, plus 134. The Tigers are minus 192 to make the playoffs for the sake of this conversation. The Guardians plus 156, and the Twins are plus 225. So if you're just like wondering how are they stacking up from that perspective with their direct competition in this division, the standings show it, but also the odds are showing they still have the second best odds to make the postseason out of the division, despite how bad it is. I bet you that I don't listen to Minnesota sports talk radio or very often, but I would say that they're probably having a lot of teams. You look at offensive numbers around the league, a lot of teams and fans are freaking out about their team's offenses and how bad they have looked. And we're one of those markets right now. It's understandable. The offense has been awful. So I'm not saying it's not justified, but just it's that balance, as we said, of like, not weighing things too much, but also recognizing that this is looking like it's going to be a problem for this 2025 season. Thinking of Minnesota, though, I said, I wasn't listening to Minnesota Sports Talk Radio, but I did see someone that covers the Vikings, and the reason why I was following them is because you guys remember Alec Lewis. He worked for the Athletic for a while, covering the Royals, right? Good dude. He had a little piece about the Vikings draft, and in that it mentioned the Chiefs as a team to watch to trade up into the Vikings spot. Now, the Vikings had picked 24th overall in the first round. So, one, we can start with, what do you make of that? Who would they be trading up for? If you're thinking that the Chiefs could trade into the Vikings spot, if that's what they're thinking in Minnesota, 24, the Chiefs are going to go up 7 spots. Who's that for? Is
tackle
that for
the only one that makes
so
sense?
A tackle, unless there's a defensive lineman they just love.
Like, they love Simmons, and they don't think because he went on like a bunch of top 30 visits because everyone's trying to figure out the medicals. Simmons or Connerly, I guess, and they just don't think they can get him at 31?
Think corner, maybe?
Corner? They're trading up for corner again?
I mean, they did it for McDuffie. Obviously, it worked out well. I just don't know if the fact that they have as many picks as they do inside the top 100 makes it to where I guess you could see a trade up a little more logical because they feel like they have the arsenal to do it without completely emptying the tank. I would have to look, and we can ask Bink when Bink joins us tomorrow, what's the draft trade value chart say? Like, to move up 7 spots, what is
Probably
that?
giving
Actually,
up your late third.
What is that going to actually cost you? You know, so
Maybe your early third.
In order to trade up, it's pretty obviously you got to love the person you're trading up for. If that's the case, like you have to think that, oh my gosh, we thought he was going 17th overall and he's on the clock at 24. We got to move up. It's got to be stuff like that. It's why when they trade up for McDuffie, they didn't think he would even be there. They're like, oh, we got to pull the trigger. We got to do this. So is there a player that they thought was going in like the teens that somehow slides on their board? They had on the teens, and everybody else let them slide to 24 in this hypothetical, and that's where they pull the trigger on a trade. I don't know, man.
The only one that makes sense is tackle, but then it's like, talk about like a future move, but in the strong, even more than the conversation we're having earlier. So you are going to trade up. You're going to give up the ability to draft an extra running back, an extra wide receiver, an extra defensive lineman in the 3rd round based on the draft chart I'm looking at right now. It'd be one of your 2 3rd-round picks, depending on if you were getting plus or minus value. So you're giving up good value in order to do it. To take a tackle you're not even planning on starting? Same rule applies. If they trade up to 24 and they take a tackle, that man better be in competition with more. He better be toe-to-toe. You guys are 1 for 1. You're taking 50% of the snaps each this entire offseason, and may the best man win. Because I cannot think of a single other position unless Ty Warren falls. The only other thing that makes sense to me is if there's an extremely talented offensive weapon that falls far below the expected value. Let's just say we're all wrong and Burton goes in the top 10 and McMillan's at 26. Now, I don't think he's ever going to fall that far. I don't think Warren's ever going to fall that far. Maybe they love Loveland, but it's got to be like, in my opinion, if you're doing that, it's got to be for an offensive weapon. You're like, guys, we're getting ready to light the league on fire.
I wonder if Amarian
again.
Hampton is that guy, because I don't think Genty wouldn't fall into the 20s at all. But if Amarian Hampton's there at 24 or 25, I wonder if the Chiefs are like, you know what, this guy could be the Jahmyr Gibbs.
Could you imagine? Could you imagine Kansas City's reaction? They trade up for a running back after the way it went with Clyde. But like, I kind of get your point, Drew. Like, I feel like I would almost want it to be for an elite level offensive player, like where again we had talked about maybe a month ago. I want the Chiefs to like reassert themselves in the league as like, hey man, we're an elite level offense and we're pouring it on you fools. And with Rashee Rice and Xavier Worthy and Hollywood Brown and Travis Kelce, I think they're well on their way to making that statement anyway. So if you just add one more guy, damn. I mean, you could be making a real big point to the league if you try to do that. But the point, like, I don't know. I mean, I feel like they're more likely, I guess, here's the follow-up. Do you think that the Chiefs are more likely to trade up or trade down from pick 31 right now?
Trade up. It's easier to trade up than trade out. I honestly believe that. Now, it costs you, of course, to trade up, but it is tougher to find a partner that wants to trade back into the first round than it is to find a team that's willing to fall out. We hear all the time during the broadcast, right, when we're up at the landing here in a couple Thursdays, where it'll be, let's just call it pick 24 in this hypothetical. It's like, oh, hearing the Vikings, but really, the Vikings are really trying to get out of 24. They're really trying to get out of 24. Sometimes you can't find a partner there. I still think it's easier to trade up from 31 to 24 than actually find a team that wants to go from, let's call it pick 43 to go to 31 or, 38 to 31 or something like that.
I mean, I always wondered, like, it seems like in my brain it should be easier for the obvious reasons, right? You get a 5th year of control by trading out of that round. You hypothetically, if you get the player right, you get a whole extra year to pay him, right? I mean, you don't pay him much more in year 1, but you get a whole extra year to pay him and all that other stuff. But I think it's because people value, even though they're NFL teams and they understand how the value of the pick works, they still value first-round pick more, which I think a lot of times what happens is that team picking at 31 is not doing it cheap, right? They're not doing you any favors. You want to come in to get into the first round, then you got to earn it. That's all.
Coming up in 10 minutes, we'll talk draft with Matt Verderame from Sports Illustrated. We'll ask him where Shedeur Sanders could go. It looks like Travis Hunter might go number 2 overall. Thinking of both of them, did you see the social media announcement from the University of Colorado, or at least the Colorado Buffaloes athletics department?
This, yes.
It said number 2 and number 12 officially untouchable. Witness Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter have their jersey numbers retired during the spring game on April 19th. It's a real account. It's a real post. They're retiring the jerseys of both. Now, Travis Hunter, look, he's a Heisman guy. So you win a Heisman, every school should retire. You win a Heisman every school
you're at, your jersey should get retired.
Now, are they doing it pretty darn quick? And why are they doing it at a spring game? I guess to make sure that they're there, because otherwise, why not wait till an actual game in the fall? Whatever. That's just nitpicking. Got no problem with Travis Hunter getting his number retired. Shedeur Sanders, while he does hold quite a few of the Buffaloes records, the dude was one game above 500 as a quarterback at Colorado. And you're retiring his jersey? Cordell Stewart, you were saying his jersey's not retired?
Yeah,
so what are we doing?
How are you not going to put Slash in there?
Clearly just trying to appease Dion.
Like, how does Cordell Stewart I would make an argument up until Travis Hunter. Cordell Stewart is arguably the most famous Colorado football player ever. Right? Like, if I just had asked
100%.
you 2 years ago to name a single.
Oh, 2 years ago. I was like, now he's not.
2 years.
He's not
that's
anymore.
What I said. 2 years ago, if I'd asked you, you would have either said Cordell Stewart or like Rashawn Salam, because he also won a Heisman Trophy at the University of Colorado. I believe. Didn't he win a Heisman Trophy there? And so, like, that would have been it, right? You wouldn't have been able to name a huge list of Colorado football players. So, yeah, I'll say the Sanders one is obviously nepotism. It's clearly to appease Dion, but in fairness, when you hired Dion, when you convinced him to be here, when you just gave him the raise, you knew that part of your job as an AD there was to constantly stroke his ego. So no offense, you're just making your bed.
Oh, well, they don't care.
The guy's actually doing, the AD who decided this, I actually think he's making a really good decision in doing this, because it makes sense to keep Deion Sanders as happy as possible for as long as possible, and hope that he doesn't want to leave your organization. The timing thing, I actually don't care about. I thought about this more. They're like, hey, they're just doing this now. Most teams wait. I actually think it's kind of stupid we wait when we know. We shouldn't have to, for colleges. Maybe for the NFL, Pro Football Hall of Fame, you want to put it on ice for a little bit. But the second Tim Tebow was out of the University of Florida, we don't got to wait 5 years to put him in the Ring of Honor. He's one of the most important players on our franchise history. We can just retire his jersey now. What the hell are we waiting 5 years for?
I think
we know.
Maybe not 5 years, but it's weird that they're having their jersey retired while they're still, I mean, even though we know they're done with school because they're going to get drafted, but like while they're technically in the spring semester still of their collegiate education, they're having their number, whatever.
I mean, in terms of strategy, also, it's to get people out at the spring game. I mean, if there's, come on out and celebrate, because spring attendance
because you can't play. You wanted to play a scrimmage.
Oh yeah, which is another conversation.
They should have just gone all in and retired Shiloh's number 2 and just said, screw it. We're just gonna appease everybody. Just retire Shiloh too.
Too far.
Just retire Shiloh as well and just have all 3 of their numbers retired and just move on.
That would have
retire his own while he's there. Head coach.
That would have been terrible.
Retire the number he wore when he was playing on the
statue.
Yeah, but no, Travis Hunter got no issue with him having his number retired. The guy won a Heisman. That's an automatic get your jersey retired.
That's what I'm saying. You just don't have to wait. That's all. Like, you just. I don't care that they're doing that, but yeah, one is to appease just him. I did see it was interesting. I think what's happening, so I saw quickly, the Giants are holding a private workout for Sanders, obviously, for pick number 3. They're trying to figure out where that's going to go. We all assume that this is Mara trying to make this pick and that the GM and the coach don't actually want Sanders and that the owner might just force him to take him. That's what this feels like, right? Like, why else are you just like randomly last minute holding a private workout for the guy? What changed?
But in a way, it could be reversed. So what I mean by that is if you know that while they should have fired Dable and their general manager before, if you're the owner, you might also be saying, like, no, you're not allowed to draft a quarterback in the first round. Basically, you don't want to have the next regime handcuffed.
Stuck with Sanders.
That would assume they were well-run
organization.
organization.
It feels like somebody's
though.
not, but that's, okay, so I don't disagree with your notion that it could be the other way around. But I think we should agree that it is clear those 3 parties, there's a division. One half of that party thinks they should take Sanders. The other half of that party thinks they shouldn't. And if they take Sanders, I'll assume it's the owner who wanted him. And that it's the other way around. Because if the owner wants the quarterback at 3, guess what? You want your job still? You want hope? Then the owner gets what he wants.
Do you guys buy it, though? Like, we were just talking yesterday how more and more people think that the Saints are in play at 9, or maybe the Steelers trade up if he goes past the Saints, or the Jets surprise everybody. All this talk has been like, oh, the Giants, they brought in Winston, they brought in Russell Wilson. Those are still only 1-year contracts. After all that, is Sanders going to go where everybody thought 2 months ago he was going to go, and then the last month and a half it
Sometimes
shifted
it plays
to
out that way.
Yeah, like if we're sitting at the landing in a couple Thursdays and everybody's filling out their draft sheet to try to win $965, how many people are putting Sanders at 3? How many people are not? Because maybe we'll get even more clarity by then. But right now it's not 100%. It's not 100%. Like it's not 100% what we know at 3. We know I would say 95% at number 1, Cam Ward. I would say Travis Hunter at 2. It's like 65-70%. Is third? Oh, it's a 25% chance that it's Sanders still, and the 75% that it's maybe Abdul Carter or something.
Whoever
like that.
doesn't get taken second.
Whoever doesn't get taken. Yeah, it's crazy. Coming up next, we're going to talk more about this draft. Matt Verderame from Sports Illustrated will get his perspective on the Chiefs. Does he see them trading up, trading back? Who is his pick at 31? Plus, we'll talk more about what the Giants might do at 3, right here on Cody and Gold.
Cody and Gold, brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com. Follow the station on Instagram for ticket giveaways and behind-the-scenes content from the show at The Fan 965.
What's up, guys? It's Drew. All right, let's talk about sex. Whether you're dealing with erectile dysfunction or you simply want to have a little bit more confidence in the bedroom, look to Blue Chew. Your partner wants you to do whatever it takes to make your sex life better, and Blue Chew is that secret weapon for the bedroom or wherever you decide to get it on. Turn oh no into oh yes with Blue Chew. Pro athletes train every single day. We got the NHL and NBA playoffs coming up. Those athletes are in peak condition and in peak form so that they can perform with confidence. What if you didn't have to train or anything like that to be able to perform at the highest level? That's where Blue Chew comes in. They're an online prescription service, no visits to the doctor's office, no awkward conversations, and no waiting in line at the pharmacy. It ships right to your door in a discreet package, and their licensed medical providers work with you individually to find the right ingredient and strength for your prescription. If you could benefit from extra confidence when it's time to perform, visit BlueChew.com, where we have a great offer for you there. Get your first month free when you use our promo code KFNZ at checkout, and just pay $5 in shipping. That's BlueChew.com, promo code KFNZ to receive your first month free. Then you'll be ready to chew it and do it.
Have you or a loved one been diagnosed with cancer? You want the most knowledgeable physicians with the latest technology. That's KCPI, the Kansas City Proton Institute. KCPI has a full suite of the most advanced imaging and treatment technology necessary to localize high-intensity proton beams. That's a critical part of maximizing cure rates while minimizing recovery time and long-term side effects. Proton therapy provides patients with the most advanced form of radiation treatments for cancer. It destroys cancer cells with supreme accuracy, reducing the risk of harmful side effects. KCPI has Kansas City's first and only system that uses pencil beam technology, resulting in precision targeting and less radiation to your surrounding healthy tissue. Proton therapy is now available in the comfort of an office at KCPI, making it more efficient and affordable than a hospital. So contact KCPI for the most knowledgeable physicians with the latest technology. Don't wait. Get precision technology with the highest safety measures with KCPI. Online at kcpi.com.
Hey guys, Underdog just became one of the best places to make entries during the basketball playoffs with their Extender program. With the Extender, you can play your way to increasingly bigger boosts each round of the playoffs. Start with the playoff series by using the Game 1 boost and continue boosting each subsequent game to unlock the next one. The longer the series, the bigger the boosts. Underdog is one of the leading places to make all your sports selections, and you can play now in your state. That's right here in Missouri. Underdog is one of the fastest growing sports game apps, and you can play it in your state. Look, millions of fans have already won billions playing in Underdog. Are you going to be next? Download the Underdog app today and sign up using that promo code TAPP, T-A-P-P, to unlock a special offer for up to $1,000 in bonus cash when you make your first deposit. That's promo code TAPP. Must be 18 plus and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates.
Here, and our house desperately needs the experts at Powell Exteriors, Casey, for siding, windows, entry doors, beautiful decks, patio covers, roofs, and more. Get ready for summer at powellkc.com.
Hey there, Royals fans. It's Royals Hall of Famer Mike Sweeney. Have you or your kids experienced a high school coach who wants to make our Kansas City community a better place to live, work, and play? The Royals and the See You in the Major Leagues Foundation together with Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City, are shining a spotlight on 6 impactful coaches in the KC metro area. Nominate a high school coach today at royals.com/coaches with character.
Whether you're digging a pond, clearing brush, grading property, or doing demo, Foley Equipment, your local Caterpillar dealer, is your one-stop shop. Buy or rent, Foley Equipment has the machines you need to get the job done. And right now, Foley has 0% financing on new cat skid steers, mini excavators, and compact track loaders. Stop by any Foley Equipment location today or visit us at FoleyEQ.com. That's FoleyEQ.com.
The 96.5 The Fan ticket window is open. Head to the contest page at 965thefan.com for your chance to score tickets to see Blink 182 with Alkaline Trio at T-Mobile Center Saturday, September 27th. Must be 18 to enter and win. Good luck.
Your chance to win $965 plus an autographed Chiefs helmet as part of our draft contest when we broadcast live from the Landing in Liberty during the first round on April 24th. The Fans Draft Party. 96.5 The Fan. KFNC FM and AM. HD1 and HD2 Kansas City. An Odyssey sports station.
11 o'clock hour here on Cody and Gold. Alex Gold, Cody Tapp, Drew Nixon with you. We'll get to the trash of the day here in about 18 minutes or so. You heard it there. The draft party coming up a week from this Thursday. That's Thursday, April 24th at the Landing up in Liberty. We know it's going to be a packed house. We've had a ton of fun doing this. Bink and Chris Uno-Cero are going to be broadcasting live, the Character Concerns crew, throughout the first round. We'll be hopping on the show with them throughout the evening as well, plus your chance at $965 and an autographed Chiefs helmet if you think you can figure out this draft and how confusing it might be now with all these rumors around pick 3, around pick 9. But 1 point for a player drafted in first round, 3 points if you get the right player on the right team. You'll have to turn the sheet in that we'll have up there, of course, before the Tennessee Titans are officially on the clock. To talk more about the draft, maybe you'll get some insight to win this contest a little bit. Matt Verderame from Sports Illustrated, kind enough to join us. He's a staff writer at SI Now, the Matt Verderame Show on Patreon as well. Matt, always good to have you on, man. It's been a little while. We are 9 days out from this draft. When you look at the way this draft is being discussed, I'm just talking in general, not even with the Chiefs, compared to a year ago or 2 years ago, do you sense that this is more of a starter-filled draft? Is it a weaker draft? Is it a draft full of stars? How would you summarize it?
I think it's a meat and potatoes draft. I think if you're in the top 10, you're probably not thrilled that you're in the top 10 because it's not a class that is led by a bunch of great talents. Last year you looked at the way the draft went, and the first 12 picks were all tackles, quarterbacks, and receivers. There's not going to be 12 of those positions taken in the first round combined this year. So I think it's a different draft, but it's a deep draft. It's a draft that if you're picking a lot on day 2, you're probably pretty happy about that. Back half for the first round, let's say picks like 20 through 80. I think that's probably the sweet spot talking to teams around the league. There are a lot of D tackles, a lot of running backs, a lot of tight ends. There's some depth at corner. There are some pretty good day 2 receivers. I think that's more the sweet spot rather than some years where those first 15 to 20 guys are really, really good, but then after that it's kind of a crapshoot. I think it's almost the inverse in an odd way this year.
Well, that favors obviously the Chiefs significantly based on where their picks are currently as it sits. We were just asking, and then I want to ask you about some of the other teams, but we were just asking the question, do you think it's more likely the Chiefs trade up in the first round or back?
I think just as a whole, most of these teams this year would like to trade back. But I think for Kansas City, I think the Chiefs actually, if they wanted to trade up, it's going to be easy. I mean, they're going to have a million dance partners. And I do think if you're the Chiefs, they might be one of the few teams that might trade up because they don't need 8 players out of this draft. I mean, look, not to say that if you found the 2022 class part 2, you wouldn't do it. Of course you would. But if you're the Chiefs, if you walk out of this class with a rotational back, a starting defensive tackle, and one other meaningful player on the roster, either offensively or defensively, you're pretty happy. Like I think you feel like, okay, that's pretty successful. So I think if you're the Chiefs, if a Walter Nolan is there at 22, 23, 24. Minnesota's an interesting team at 24 because they only have 4 picks. They're the fewest picks maybe in the draft. So they're going to be open for business. If you're the Chiefs, would you move up, 7 spots and maybe give up one of your third rounders or something like that? I think for the Chiefs, there's a lot of reasons to move up and try to get the best guy in your pool, so to speak, rather than just try to accumulate 10 picks. I don't know that they need all.
What's the most likely position, whether it's trading up, whether it's staying at 31, or does that cause you to change? If they trade up, is there one position you think is obvious that they'd be trading up for?
I don't know that I'd say it's obvious, but I would lean defensive tackle. I think that's their biggest need going into this draft. Like I know there have been a slew of people, highly respected, who have said they're going to, offensive tackle, and Josh Simmons seems to be the pick du jour that everybody and their mother is mocking the Chiefs, which makes me feel like that's exactly why he wouldn't go there, because otherwise the mock drafts will be right. Yeah. I don't know that the Chiefs are taking a tackle, and I was on KCSN with Tucker Franklin, and I said that, and it kind of went all over the place on Twitter. I was like, look, I stake my reputation on the fact I don't think they're taking a first-round tackle. I don't. From everything I know about this class, from everything that they've done over the years and the way that they evaluate these guys, I think a tackle, I'm not saying, look, is there no world they do it? No. If there's a guy at 31, they just feel like they have to do it.
Sure.
Okay, sure. But if you're looking at this team, they're not worrying about 5 years from now. They're worrying about trying to win the Super Bowl now. And if you're trying to do that, what is the biggest hole on this team? It's the guy next to Chris Jones. And between Walter Nolan and Derek Harmon and Kenneth Grant, I just think if you're the Chiefs, any of those guys make a lot of sense, especially Harmon and especially Nolan, just considering the way they play and how they fit in Spagnola's defense.
We know what's going to happen with the number 1 overall pick. It seems all but assured Cam Ward will go to the Tennessee Titans first overall. What do you make of this Giants last-minute meeting in Green Bay to watch Sanders work out? I view it as like either ownership or the GM. Somebody doesn't want to take him, and somebody does. My assumption is usually the owner might just force him into taking a quarterback at 3. What the hell's going on there? Why are they last minute trying to decide on Sanders or, in I guess their case, either Travis Hunter or Abdul Carter?
It's weird in the sense that, look, you don't normally see a visit that late. I agree with you. I think it might point to some dissension, maybe wanting to get a little bit more information. Obviously, they signed Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston, but those guys are on one-year deals, and neither one of them in the future. The Sanders thing is very interesting. Albert Breer, my colleague, wrote yesterday that he thought a lot of people think he's going to get to the second round.
Wow!
I can tell you from being down at owners' meetings that is not a rare one-off opinion that some guy would have given. Like there are people in the league that feel that way. I know even myself. I've talked to scouts who have said I wouldn't take him in the first round. Now I don't think he ends up getting to the second, but I do think with Sanders, look, the Browns, they're not in league circles. They're not expected to take him. Doesn't mean they couldn't or they won't, but I think there's a thought that Travis Hunter is the favorite and the leader in the clubhouse to go number 2. If he gets past the Giants, then you go to the Saints at 9. I think that's probably the next spot you to look at and go, okay, maybe they take him. The Saints could certainly do it, especially with the Derek Carr news, but there's a lot of people in the league who feel like Jackson Dart is the apple of the Saints' eye. Does that happen? Who knows? I think that's a big overdraft, but it doesn't matter what I think. I'm not in that room. If he gets past 9, the slide is on at that point. I don't know where he goes before Pittsburgh at 21. And does Pittsburgh take him? I mean, he is going to be the story of this draft one way or the other, I believe, because there is an opportunity. He goes 2 or 3. There's an opportunity. We're sitting there at the end of the first round. He's still on the board.
Matt, you mentioned Jackson Dart. Now, is there a chance we see 3 quarterbacks or more out in the first round, though?
Yeah. I mean, look, like I said, I think Jackson Dart, if you said bet your mortgage, is he a first-round pick? I'd be very uncomfortable making that bet one way or the other, but I think I'd probably lean toward, maybe a team trading up from the second round to the first round. Like if the Chiefs want to trade back, that might be a spot where a team goes, hey, let's get a 5th-year option on the quarterback. Let's trade up, give some value. like I said, the Saints are also a team at 9 that there are people in the league that will tell you that the Saints are really high on Jackson Dart. Now, are they so high on him they take him at 9? Or would they be one of these teams that tries to trade back into the first round because they have extra picks for the Marshawn Lattimore trade? So maybe they do that. I think in the end there is a chance you get 3 quarterbacks. And I always have just believed over the years quarterbacks get overdrafted. So if you're leaning under, over 2.5, I'd probably just take the over based on the fact that quarterbacks are quarterbacks. They're different than every other position.
Let's talk a little bit about the running back class as it sits. Everyone kind of universally agrees this is about as deep as it gets in that grouping. What's the ideal kind of fit for the Chiefs right now, knowing that Pacheco is still probably going to be the number 1 back going into the year? What is kind of the ideal fit? Like just home run hitter, fastest guy on the planet? Like, what do you want to see the Chiefs do at running back?
I think the Chiefs will love a guy who has the explosiveness. Yeah, I think I don't know if the guy's going to run a 4.2, but I think the Chiefs want somebody who, look, if he gets out in the open field, it's a fair question if he's going to get caught. They don't have that guy. I mean, obviously Kareem Hunt is not that guy. Pacheco has some speed, but is certainly not a speed guy. He's much more of a physical downhill, lower his pads type of back. This class is loaded, as you said. Ashton Genty, the Chiefs aren't getting anywhere near unless a miracle happens. But beyond that, like Omarion Hampton is probably second guy off the board at UNC. He reminds me a lot of Jonathan Taylor when I watch him. Did he get to 31? If he does, I think the Chiefs would take him. I think the Chiefs, if he somehow is at 31, or at least at the bare minimum, would have a very, very long conversation in that war room about whether to take him. After him, you get into Travion Henderson and Quishon Judkins out of Ohio State. You get into R.J. Harvey out of UCF. Those are guys who I expect to be, second-round picks. Harvey's probably right on that turn from second or third round. Caleb Johnson out of Iowa is another guy. Neal out of Kansas is a guy who's, I think, a third-round pick that could be there for sure when the Chiefs pick in either one of those third-round spots. So, that's if I'm Kansas City, I'm looking for a guy who is like, listen, I don't care if you can pick up 3rd and 1. We have Kareem Hunt. I need a guy who can hit a hole on 2nd and 7, and maybe it's only blocked up for 4 yards, but you make a guy miss and run for 20. They've not had a back like that since Jamal Charles, and that's something I think they are looking for.
We're talking to Matt Verderame from Sports Illustrated. Away from the draft, but I guess it could impact how they draft is. What are you hearing? What's the latest on Trey Smith's potential long-term deal? We know he signed that franchise tag. They have a deadline of mid-July, to get a deal done.
Look, I mean, no news really, other than just to say when the tag happened, I remember speaking to some people around that situation, and the thought was, well, this will get dealt with in early summer. That's when this will get dealt with. Like, there's no real rush. Late spring, early summer is kind of the thought process, which is pretty difficult when a guy gets tagged. I know, Higgins was different. Like, he was kind of like a package deal with Chase, and the Bengals paid him out, and that's fine. But, when you look at the Chiefs' history, most of these contracts with the tag get paid out, late June, early July. As far as what he gets, I think he's probably he's going to be the highest paid guard in NFL history. I think that's coming. Like, he's 24 a year, something like that. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if it's 5 and 120, or maybe it's a 4 and 100 if they want to go a little shorter term. But I think by the end of it, he's probably going to get the most guaranteed money ever for a guard. He's probably going to get the highest annual value for a guard. And he deserves it. And, they're going to have him and Humphrey next to each other, who both, if that happens, will reset the market at their respective positions.
You don't think, though, that you expect it to still get done? We were saying, hey, there's some mocks that have them taking a guard very high. I'm like, they take a guard in the first round, it tells me they're worried about it. Or I guess they have no faith in Kingsley.
No, listen, so that's where I totally understand when you're doing a mock draft, you're doing 32 teams. And it's hard to be, super dialed in on every single team. But I'd be very surprised if they took an offensive tackle. I really just don't see it happening in the first round. I would need to be peeled off the floor if they took a guard in the first round. Yeah. Look, they fully expect to sign Smith from everything I understand. And with Kingsley, they believe, based on what they saw in the game against Denver, based on what they saw in some practices, they believe that he's going to step in there and be a pretty good guard. And obviously, listen, let's be real with the Chiefs. If the left side of that offensive line is good, they're right back to being a Super Bowl favorite, if not even the clear favorite, along with a team like a Philly or Detroit. If that left side doesn't work out, that is probably why we'll be sitting here in mid-January going, man, they finally didn't get back to the Super Bowl. Well, that's why. Because the rest of the team is pretty stacked again.
Matt Verderame, staff writer for SI Now. Matt Verderame show on Patreon as well. Give him a follow on X at Matt Verderame. Always appreciate the insight, man. Enjoy the draft in a week or so.
Hey, take care, guys.
There you go. Good stuff from Matt Verderame on just kind of how he sees the first round.
The same way about guard.
He's with us on
that. Like, I don't know, man. I don't say I see this.
He's with us on that, and that I think he's right. That is more of the look. Not everybody's going to know the specific details of every single team, the nitty gritty. And so when you see these mock drafts, or I saw someone on our Odyssey's betting network, BetMGM, was saying, hey, I really like this bet at minus 110 on the Chiefs to take an offensive lineman in the first round, and maybe it's a tackle, I guess. But, like, if you think that answer is a guard, like the reasoning somebody gave was, oh, they need a guard. No, they don't. They either go with Kingsley or they can draft one much later.
Or they take one later and they start him and they put him in an open competition.
Yeah, I just don't. Hell, even Norzad would compete. I just don't see it.
Yeah, I think it's like an open competition between Kingsley, Caliendo, a 6th-round pick, and maybe Norzad. But, like, to pretend that they don't have options to choose from, Caliendo started at left guard in the Super Bowl for them. I'm not saying it went great, but he also started the AFC title game, the divisional round, the last couple of games of the regular season. They're not so afraid of him that they won't let him play in some important games. Now, all of a sudden, he has no chance to do it. Guard makes no sense to me. Guard in the first 3 rounds would borderline piss me off. Like, it doesn't make sense to do it. You got those 4 premium picks. Don't waste them on guard. You just made Trey Smith the highest paid guard. Right now, he's already the highest paid guard in NFL and by average annual per year. You might make him the highest paid guard in the NFL. You have one of the highest paid right tackles. You have a high-priced left tackle now. You have the most expensive center. So now what? Now we're spending premium picks on left guard? I don't think so. I think this is the one that you not cheap out on to the point that you think it's going to fail, but you don't throw the biggest resource or one of the biggest resources you have available to you at it. Doesn't make any sense to me. Like you said, don't forget about a draft party, though. Correctly predict. $965 for the landing in Liberty.
It's gonna be a packed house. Always is. Always is. Get there early. I'll be honest. Like if you showing up after the draft starts, or whatever, it's gonna be hard to find a
Dicey.
table. Yeah, you want to make sure you plan it out. Get your buddies, head out there. Everybody from the station's gonna be there. Everybody.
Even the part-timers?
Some, I'm sure.
Okay.
Some
Usually,
yeah. Drew's gonna be there. Cody's gonna be there.
I will be
Bink,
there.
Chris, obviously. Everybody.
doing a
C-Dot,
live show?
Rob, you name it.
They'll be coming straight from their show, probably.
Yes.
Are you going to get there early? I think it's a day game that day. So you're going to.
It is a day
You're
game.
going to jump
I'll get
down.
there
You're
early
going to
enough
jump
to get
down
a
a little
parking.
early.
I'll get there early enough to get a parking spot. I've learned my lesson.
That was almost the problem for me last year. Is we already had a table set up, but I pulled in and I had to park across the street. I couldn't even. There were no
packed
spots
house,
available.
man. Everybody's ready
It's
for the
crazy.
draft. Everybody's
Very
fired
popular
up.
event.
Everybody's fired up.
It was good.
Meanwhile, Pack House at the Kansas City Sports Commission yesterday. I don't know if you guys heard this. Before the show, I had managed to see they put out a PSA trying to make it clear that the KC Sports Commission, along with some civic leaders in the Kansas City area, really want to keep the Chiefs and the Royals.
Greater Kansas City's business and civic organizations are united in a singular mission to ensure the Chiefs and Royals remain in our region for decades to come. But time is not on our side.
Which is why we urge our state and local leaders across the region and both teams to work together to create solutions that offer viable options for growth and success into the future.
While both teams are working hard to evaluate their future in KC, other markets are actively competing to lure them away.
To keep these cherished franchises in KC, we need strong, realistic, public-private partnerships that make staying home in our region the only choice.
Sports are vital to Kansas City's identity and history. It's in our DNA. The Royals and Chiefs are key to our region's economic vitality and visibility across the nation and the world.
Now is the time for our KC region to rally.
To protect the championship legacy we've built together.
To secure our region's future as a premier sports destination.
Let's keep the KC region Major League for today and for generations to come.
Okay, so that's the slogan they're going with. Let's keep the KC region Major League. Now, they kept saying region in a weird way where, like, I don't think being on the Johnson County side would be all that different regionally as far as, like, people's viewage of the... Yeah, but they're talking about keeping them in Kansas City, specifically around Kansas City. This feels like a last-second push to try to get them to commit to you. I think what's happened here, and asking around a little and getting a sense of this stuff, I kind of feel like the teams have just stopped talking to the city, and they don't know what to make of it. They don't know if that means, are they close to a deal with Kansas? Are they close to a deal with us? And why isn't anybody telling us anything? Because it seems kind of dark right now. And they said early summer, it's pretty fast approaching, seeing how it's April 15th.
Well, John Sherman was on this station with us on opening day, and he said June, July is when they would like to announce their plans, wherever that may be, whether it's staying in Missouri or whether it's going, obviously, across the state line to Kansas. We know the Missouri legislature has a bill pending, and the legislature wraps up its session, I believe, in mid-May, so we're about a month out of that. But they have a bill pending that would allow them to have some of the same access to funds as something that could compete with the Star Bonds on the Kansas side. We know the Star Bonds on the Kansas side expire this summer, although they could be extended, but they expire in June or July. So that's kind of where, you think about timelines where we're at. I know we've said this before, and they have said it before, that this is a date, and then things get moved back. It's been over a year since, obviously, the failed vote and everything like that. I guess if you're asking for the timeline, it sure seems like mid-June to end of July is kind of the ballpark, to, no pun intended, to keep an eye on where the ballpark and where some of these sites are going to be for both teams.
I guess what's the hope of this? That they'll start the conversation with you sooner? Because, if you're Kansas City, you know what they want? I'll just help you. I'll just make this real easy. Money. They want more money. They want a guarantee of money, not blanket promises like we saw Q give. What was that? 2 months ago when he was like, I think personally, in my own personal feelings, think we got $1 billion, $5 billion trillion to give them. Remember? He just gave a number that seemed like it wasn't based in funding they had currently settled, but instead funding he believes they could hypothetically unlock in order to give these teams. If they want to move faster, they should be sending this video to the Missouri legislators. Get some funding unlocked so that you can do this. I still feel like the most likely, and I'm guessing you do too, is 1-1. Yep. You still think the most likely scenario, one Missouri, one Kansas?
Split it up.
Yep. I actually don't hate that from a, the
why
thing
put
we
it all
talked about.
on one county?
Well, you and I both agree that in a utopian society, I would prefer, and I don't think citizens should pay for these stadiums. All right, so we've established that. We've talked about that a bunch of times. But in a world in which they still do, and that's the world we actively live in, at least at the moment, the burden of spreading the money on either side, both sides of the state line, doesn't seem all that bad to me.
All right, let's get to it.
Trash of the day.
Trash of the day.
I wasn't sure. I should have looked at Drew.
Another half second.
Damn.
He
was looking down. I didn't know.
I'm podcasting.
You're good. A story from over the weekend in Springfield, where we're going to be going.
Wow. Okay.
In a couple weeks.
Is it a happy story?
Neither.
Okay.
A Missouri man crashed his truck into a come-and-go front window. He claimed his Crocs got caught on the pedal, causing him to accelerate into the business. Cops say security footage showed this gentleman named Dale, 60 years old, slamming his 2012 Dodge Ram
60 rockin' Crocs
into the convenience store on a Thursday evening. He immediately backed up and left the scene without providing any information. The crash resulted in damages of $3,700 to the Springfield Come and Go, which is about a half mile from where this gentleman lived. In the immediate aftermath of the crash, the story says this is from the Smoking Gun. It says, Hammett twice returned to the store driving the same truck and entered the business where he spoke with an employee and never claimed to be the driver. They even looked at the security footage of the original incident with the worker. When a cop arrived on scene, he denied being the driver and his truck being the one involved. However, security video linked him and the vehicle to the crash. If convicted, he faces between 1 and 4 years in custody, as well as a maximum fine of $10,000.
Okay, you don't have to put the guy in jail for a year.
The issue is he left, I think, is the bigger problem.
Let's get carried away. Yeah, don't leave the scene of a crime. Generally speaking, that's kind of
the
scene of an accident.
I laughed when I saw this story.
Scene of a crime, leave that.
I laughed when I saw the story because I found out within the last 2 weeks that I guess I didn't know this. My mom was telling me that when she was 18 years old, she drove through the front window of a 7-Eleven.
What?
As an 18-year-old.
At 18? Oh, my God.
Now, she did not leave the scene. She did not get a ticket or anything. Her insurance, I know.
I'm sorry, how do you not get a ticket?
I know. That's what I said,
Cody.
Cody.
Of a 7-Eleven.
That's what I said. She didn't get a ticket. I was like, what? Obviously, insurance had to pay for it, but yeah, I don't know. I was like, how did this happen? So, yeah, she went through the front window of a 7-Eleven. I'm like, man, what I would give to have the video of that from 30 or 50 years ago.
What are the odds that you ever wear a pair of Crocs in your life?
I've never worn any, so why would I now?
I guess what's the odds you pick it up?
5 or 10% chance.
It's a very popular piece of footwear.
5 or 10% chance. I've never worn it before.
Drew, do you own a pair of Crocs? I don't. My kids do.
My wife has multiple pairs. She loves Crocs. I don't care for Crocs. I don't have a pair. I used to have a pair, but I don't feel one way or another.
Okay, so
I'm
you've
more of
had
a slides
them.
guy, than a Crocs person. But yeah,
slide with socks. You're probably of that age, right? Man, when I was a kid,
Drew comes in with the slide with the Crocs, the gym shorts, and the retro T-shirt look all the time in the building.
I'd have been
all the time.
crucified as a teenager if I had dared to worn slides with socks.
From your
eviscerated by my peers.
Oh, okay.
It was the opposite. Everyone wore ankle socks. Nobody wore socks with sandals. That was a total no.
Yeah.
That was like
for sure.
that was like you were a
Fab Five
suburb
era
dad. That was like a whole like they just like that and when I was in high school, you would have been eviscerated for that.
Thanks to the Fab Five for opening things up, with the long black socks and the long, the Nike socks and everything. Oh, yeah.
I wonder how long that's going to last, though. Like, this how this works.
It's an age
cyclical,
thing, too, though. It's an age thing, too. Like, if Drew, when he's 40 years old, is just going to work with tall black socks and Crocs, that's going to be a weird look.
I'll just say,
correct.
because of, how this works, because of the way you are as a kid, I know that that's a popular style and nobody would say anything. I can't do it. I can't convince myself it is socially acceptable to wear socks with sandals. I can't do it. It's just like I can't get over the hurdle that is all of childhood telling me this is the opposite of what you should be doing.
Yeah.
Your text line says flip-flops are also dangerous to driving. As a cop, I've worked several accidents where they got stuck in the pedal.
I like to take my flip-flop. If I'm wearing a flip-flop, I'll barefoot while I drive.
I hate driving barefoot. That's awful.
And then I'll just put them back on when I get out of the car.
I can't do that. I hate that. It's an awful feeling.
I use cruise control
I feel like that's even more dangerous than the.
That's not more dangerous than the flip-flop getting stuck under the pedal.
Yeah, I can't. The driving the barefoot thing, I can't do it. Don't have a good feel of the pedal.
I don't mind it at all. If I'm on a long road trip, I like wearing shoes that can be removable and put back on.
Wait, so on a road trip, you'll just take your shoes off and just drive with socks on?
I try to wear something without socks, right?
Really?
Yeah.
Even
Socks,
if you're
just
on,
socks,
like
that's
you
no
said,
good. I'm not just driving socks. Just socks, that's crazy. Yeah,
you're on a road trip. If it's on cruise, then you can have your feet relaxed anyway a little bit.
Yeah, but I don't want my feet constricted in these shoes.
Well, don't wear the tightest shoes ever. I mean, you can have those shoes loosened up a little bit. That's the trash of the day. Up next, we'll get to the Chiefs Red Half Hour. The decision the Chiefs have at their first pick at 31, and I'm guessing we will check in on one of our 3-rounders that are out there now with the mock draft sounder next.
What's up, Kansas City? This is Bobby Witt Jr., and you're listening to Cody and Gold, weekdays starting at 10 on 96.5 The Fan.
Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
During the NBA play-in tournament, which begins tonight, FanDuel is giving all new customers a shot at $250 in bonus bets. Join FanDuel today, and you'll get started with $250 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. From three-pointers to steals to assists, FanDuel has so many ways to bet your favorite player props. Plus, after the game tips off, you can even combine live prop bets into a same-game parlay for a chance to win big. Just visit FanDuel.com/Alex to get in on all the NBA play-in tournament action. FanDuel, an official sports betting partner of the NBA, and 96.5 The Fan. 21 and President, Kansas. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expires 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under agreement with Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem? Getting help is your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700 or visit ksgamblinghelp.com.
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to
slow it down again. get it going slower.
Izervay is proven to slow GA progression.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Izervay or avacincaptad Pagel is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com.
GimmeTheVin.com, big cash giveaway. We're going to take all the cars that we buy and we're going to add $25,000 additional in the month of March. It might be a $1,000 car, it might be a $100,000 car, but you're going to get $25,000 more dollars if you're the winner. You can't afford not to shop us. Sell us your car at GimmeTheVin.com.
No purchase necessary. For official rules, go to GimmeTheVin.com.
Sell us your car. GimmeTheVin.com. So easy you can do it in your underwear.
If you've been tired of being out in the bad weather or you're just looking for a more stable industry, our friends over at Centric can offer that to you.
What's great is they allow you to work through your schedule. You still need to have the income coming in from your current job while looking ahead to your new career. They have in-person classes, virtual classes. They can get you trained when it's best for you.
Make it easy. Call our buddy Russ Mondry. He's been with Centric for over 16 years and will guide you through every step of the process. If you're looking for that new career, wait no longer. Go to Centric.com. Hey, it's Cody Tapp, and if you're in the same boat as me, you're looking at someone, you're like, I can't keep living like this. I want to get to my weight loss goal. I want to finally meet those things. Well, I did. 6 weeks, 30 pounds. That's what I did over at Awaken 180's at-home program. I worked with them over the phone. I got online. They got a great app. See what recipes they had available for me. See what things they had to make it easy to do this process with them. I know you want to find out more. Give them a call, 844-346-1800, or online at awaken180weightloss.com, and see how with no medications, no gym, and no calorie counting, just the support every week and free support for life. Look, summer's coming up. Maybe it's the pool, maybe it's vacation, maybe you just want more energy to play with your kids or be at those youth sports like I wanted. You can do all of that thanks to Awaken 180 Weight Loss. Find out more. Give them a call, 844-346-1800, or online at awaken180weightloss.com.
If you're like me and you're trying to break through that boring lunch routine, I've got the option for you. I discovered lunch at Hy-Vee Market Grill. Forget the after-lunch fast food coma. The Hy-Vee Market Grill offers fast and fresh options with made-to-order burgers, salads, sandwiches, and wraps, like the 3-cheese patty melt, the crispy chicken or Cobb salad, BLT or tenderloin sandwich, and my personal favorite, the peanut butter bacon burger. For high quality and great value, freshen up your lunch routine at the Hy-Vee Market Grill today.
Hop into Hy-Vee for all your Easter needs, like baskets, candy, chocolate bunnies, and more. Treat your family to Easter brunch at the Market Grill. Just $24.99 for adults, $7.99 for children, and kids 5 and under eat free. Staying home? Try Hy-Vee's Easter meal deal for just $30. Get all the fixins you need to feed your duckling spiral sliced ham, russet potatoes and gravy, green bean casserole, and bakery fresh rolls. Make this your most excellent Easter ever, only at Hy-Vee.
Thy ticket, Lady Jennifer of Coolidge.
Well, many thanks, good sir. Here'th my Discover card.
They accept Discover at Renaissance fairs?
Yeah, they do here. Discover is accepted at the places I love to shop. Getteth with the times.
With the times? You're playing the lute.
Yeah, and it sounds pretty good, right?
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Based on the February 2024 Nielsen report.
This is a story of the one. As a maintenance specialist for university housing, he knows college students can major in wear and tear. Plus, housing so many students doesn't leave a lot of room to house all the supplies he needs. That's where Grainger comes in. With over 1 million industrial-grade products and fast, dependable delivery, Grainger carries the quality products he needs so he doesn't have to. From a new door hinge to a whole new faucet. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Some people just know they could save hundreds on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Like, to check you have your phone first, before the cab pulls away.
Hey, thanks, man. No, wait, my phone! Come back! It's my boarding pass, credit cards, phone numbers, my life! Come back!
Checking first is smart. So check Allstate first for a quote that could save you hundreds. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Savings vary. Subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
This hour on 96.5 The Fan is presented by Awaken 180 Weight Loss. Results every week and then receive free support for life. Online at awaken180weightloss.com.
Lowe's is the destination for Ego outdoor power equipment this spring. See what's new and exclusive, like the 17-inch string trimmer with Line IQ technology that auto-feeds to save you time. And the 22-inch Select Cut self-propelled mowers with a multi-blade system for precise cutting. Shop Ego Days, happening now during Spring Fest at Lowe's. We help, you save. Selection varies by location while supplies last.
You ever try fixing your car and realize you're missing that one part? Yeah, been there. That's why eBay's my go-to. They've got millions of parts, guaranteed to fit. I'm talking brake pads for when yours have seen one too many miles of stop and go. Oil filters, because you don't mess around with your engine care. Even got this cold air intake on my watch list. I might just go for it. To keep the ride cool and your DIY streak hot. Find all the parts you need at prices you love. Guaranteed to fit every time. eBay. Things. People. Love. Eligible items only. Excluding supply.
The technicians you can trust with your house keys. Anthony Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electric.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios. Welcome in to the Chiefs Red Half Hour. Every day at 11:30 with Cody and Gold on your new home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
That's right. It is the Chiefs Red Half Hour here on Cody and Gold. Thanks for hanging out, as always. You guys can watch the show on Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, Twitter, X. Make sure you subscribe. That way you don't miss any of the shows here on 96.5 The Fan.
You guys all file your taxes?
Yeah, a long time ago. Way
It's tax day.
ago.
I filed like 2 months ago.
This is how you know.
2 months ago? I don't know. February?
Yeah, I
As soon as I got my
I do mine very
returns.
quickly. Yeah, I do mine pretty quickly. Mine were wrapped up before middle of February. Yeah, I usually don't wait. And
As soon as I get the
everybody has
papers.
different. Everybody has different reasons. Like especially if you know you're getting money back, people are filing that thing early. But yeah, no, today is tax day. That's right.
I just didn't know. Didn't know if everyone in this who do you think files who's the most likely to file today?
In the building?
Uh-huh.
Our
Well, let's say
station-
96.5 the fan.
Yeah.
Let's not
for
limit
our
it to everybody.
station. Let me ask you that. Do you think everybody has filed?
God, I hope so.
I would think so, yes.
We're calling people dodging the
Well, it's
taxes.
not, the deadline's today, as in they could still get it done.
Do we all file our own, or do you guys use
No,
like?
I just go online and do it.
I
through
file
it.
my own.
I do
Do
my
you
own.
file your own?
I mean, yes, I file my own. I use.
Well, yeah, everyone has to use a service. I mean, I don't like.
Yes,
I don't go to the library and get the forms and
I do
hand fill them out.
That's
crazy.
I do file it. On
No,
my own,
I
yes.
do my own. I do my parents' taxes as well. But yeah, I've been doing that for a while.
I don't know anybody else's taxes but my own. Like, I'm not trying to.
Just remember, I'll tell you this though. Warning to those of you that do bet on sports: make sure you got your ducks in a row. Just say if you won some money this past year, make sure you got your ducks in a row.
Yeah, that's smart. I mean, they'll send you the form
through the apps in particular.
They will.
Some of those apps will automatically trigger. Otherwise, you still have to technically, report.
Supposed to go look for that.
Go seek a tax professional for tax advice.
From the 913, someone said Jay Binkley seems like the person who would wait the longest.
No, I actually think
I don't
think he gets it done quick. He's on top of that stuff.
I think Jay stays on top of it. Trying to think,
I mean,
Fesco seems too organized.
It's not, the answer
is probably Carrington.
I was gonna say Carrington. I was gonna say
We're all
CDOT
thinking
as
it.
well.
We're all thinking it.
Carrington.
As he's staring through the window, we're all thinking it.
Yeah. I think he's filed before, but I want to make it clear. I do think he is already filed.
I think everybody's filed. Yes. I think everybody has.
Man. Someone says I took your betting advice. I owe $20,000 in taxes. Well, that means you won a lot of money. If that's the case, good for
Over
you.
on
Crazy.
Twitch, somebody's like, "What? You think Dusty pays taxes? Come on." I'm assuming Dusty. Now, look, I think anybody who worked in the service industry never,
Oh,
and I
tips, yeah, that's different.
never claimed the amount of tips that you could have claimed.
Yes, I hear you.
know,
I understand.
I'm just telling you right now, there's a lot of skirting of the rules in
for
that
sure.
scenario, and I wouldn't blame Dusty for that. I certainly would never.
We don't
I paid all
advocate.
of
We
it.
don't advocate tax evasion on this show. That's for sure.
No, I've always paid my taxes.
Never
That's true. I
advocate.
actually have always paid
Well,
my
yeah,
taxes.
yeah, I would hope. Yeah.
I would hope.
Some people don't pay him.
Congratulations.
Some people don't pay him. I mean, I take it back. Just as long as, what's it, 10 years? We're safe? I told you when I was a teenager, they paid me $10 an hour cash. I never filled out a single W-2.
I think you're good. Yeah.
$10 an hour cash for 4 straight years, and I worked 45 hours a week. I didn't pay a nickel in taxes during that time, I don't think. So, guess don't come find me for that.
Yeah, audits don't come back more than like 6-7 years usually.
Great, perfect.
So you're in the
They're
clear.
not going to audit me from when I was 16 years old.
I think you're good, man.
24 years
For
ago.
the record, Rob says Dusty. He thinks would be
Dusty.
You went in as Rob.
I know.
He's not going to say his guy.
Well, no, I did say. I said.
That's
I said.
also true.
I said the consensus is Dusty or Carrington. He goes, yeah, those are probably the two that people think of.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's about right. I bet you Dusty got his done right away.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like Dusty. He seems like a person who would love to be like. He feels like he's got some of the energy. Like he wouldn't mind settling into just being like what we joke about being like a suburban dad. Take care of his lawn. He loves grilling. I kind of feel like he's got like the green visor hat and like the big giant button tax machine, just cranking the thing down. I feel like he'd actually kind of enjoy it.
Oh yeah.
Gold also enjoys it. He's openly said he kind of likes doing the taxes.
Yeah.
So
He liked it.
I don't mind doing it. It's easy.
no, I don't like it. I'll do it, but
Yeah,
I don't mind
doing
I take
it.
no pleasure in
I
it.
don't mind doing it. It's so easy now too. I mean, it's like honestly, it's even now. Like after a while, when you do it, depending on your tax situation, like it doesn't take that long to do. For others, it can. Depends how.
Someone just said, let's hear some more possibly incriminating things.
Yeah. What
Cody.
else? What else?
No,
What else have you
I'm
done?
going to limit the number of crimes I admit to on the air today. I'll save that for other times. Like, we're already being warned not to admit to crimes on 420, I got to make sure that we
did
play
get
it
we got a
straight.
warning email today about things we can and cannot do on April 20th. Sorry, Drew, you can't smoke in the studio, man. Sorry.
Be cool, man. We work for a company. It's still federally illegal.
I've never smoked a day in
even
my
though
life,
you could just
believe
go
it
to
or not.
Missouri.
He says, "Believe it or not."
Believe it or not. That's true.
With the hat you're wearing, people aren't so sure.
Yeah,
people
I
aren't
probably
so
wouldn't have believed it.
I know this.
I would have just assumed you had. I apologize. I do
It's
think
got
before.
some palm leaves. Okay, it's palm leaves. It's not.
from far away, it doesn't look like palm leaves, so I'll just say that.
Before we get to another mock draft sounder, which I'm sure we'll do here in a moment, I think that this draft is really important for kind of deciding how you go about this draft. As in, I think you should take one path, the left or the right. The left being, let's keep this party going. Let's get players that help us team immediately. Let's get a defensive lineman in the first round, a tackle that helps us immediately. Let's take a running back in the third round, helps us immediately. Let's take those positions of need, corner, immediately, where you can help those guys now that get playing time right away. They're not the developmental player that we're stashing down the road. Or you take the right path, which is you take a tackle in the first round and you end up taking a defensive edge player who can't get out past Karlaftis and Aminihu now, but will eventually and will get those. I know they'll get some rotation, but you take them later, they're more of a developmental guy. Or you just take the developmental guy, similar to that of FAU. I think you kind of have to decide. I would prefer they choose keep the party going. I know the long-term part of this thing is important, and the roster is going to look a lot different in a year from now. But I think there's value in, and there's nothing that indicates that they can't just keep going to Super Bowls today. And I feel like you rob yourself by being like, let's just take a bunch of developmental guys and see where it gets us.
While Matt Verderame mentioned this as well, this is a starter type of draft, not as star-studded. It's just about getting 3 or 4 starters out of this draft and things like that. I still think it's a combination of both. I don't think the theme of the entire draft has to be, we're taking all guys that are only helping us in 2026 and beyond and not helping in 2025. I don't think that's how it goes. Now, there's some positions, we go position by position, that naturally are going to be more long-term picks than the immediate.
Yeah.
Like if they did take an offensive tackle in the first round or any round, frankly, that's probably more of a 2026 and beyond pick. Doesn't mean it's a bad pick, but it's 2026 and beyond. They take a running back, that can be an immediate and a long-term pick. They take a wide receiver, probably a bit more of a long-term pick. They draft a corner, probably a little bit more of a long-term pick. Defensive tackle, immediate and long-term. Edge, immediate and long-term. And that's kind of how I'm viewing it. So it's not so much that that if they draft one guy that's more of a future pick, it means all their other picks have to be about that. I think that'll be dictated by the positions they draft. And that'll be ultimately how we can view every draft does have a theme, but I think the positions will tell us that. There's some positions that just by nature, in the way that it's set up, will automatically be viewed more as the long-term pick.
Yeah, depending on where they're taken, I guess. Like running back, you're right. Taken in the third round, it is kind of the middle, right? They will likely get some snaps now, but if you take them in the third round, they're still clearly behind Pacheco, probably, and Kareem Hunt, barring some sort of injury. If they take them in the first round, Gold, we're talking about win now. We are in. That man's playing. And I understand, like, it depends on the position. And defensive line is easily going to be the toughest one to diagnose. They take a defensive lineman at 31. It is solely dependent on the player, not the position. It is not the position. The position is both now and later. They need both. They need defensive linemen for the future, and they need them for now. But the player will dictate which way they have chosen their path. Because you and I both know that there are players every year that they're like, we love the talent. If I start hearing those words, I know that this is a player that they're not planning on getting on the football field right away. They didn't say that about Karlaftis. They said, high motor guy, will be productive now. Ceiling might be limited, but that man plays, and he played immediately for the team.
Once week 7 or week 7 or week 8 hit is when he, in his rookie year, is when all of a sudden the switch flipped for him, and he turned it on, and obviously the kind of the rest is history with what George Karlaftis has turned out to be already in his career. So yeah, I just think the you say player, and I agree. I think the position too will automatically, like running back, whether it's a first rounder or a fourth rounder, to me has a chance to be both immediate and long term. Because if we both agree that Pacheco is still the number one back, no matter where they draft the running back, I feel that guy is going to clearly get some split.
I guess the question is how much. The later they go, the less likely I think he is to get more than 5 touches a game.
Because if they draft a running back, that guy's playing this year.
Some, yes. And maybe they just fully send Kareem Hunt to you're the third down back, welcome Samaje Perine role, and you just it varies a little bit.
Somebody's getting cut or traded in camp. Like
Steele.
Pacheco's not. He's on the team. But Pacheco, Hunt, Elijah Mitchell, this rookie, Kareem Hunt.
I forgot
you go
Mitchell and Steele.
I forgot all about
somebody's obviously not making the team.
Steele's going to the practice squad.
Somebody's not making the team. So that's a training camp convo, but
let's find out which way they're going.
All right, here we go. 9 days away.
All right, so we're going to do a 3-rounder. This, I believe, is actually Mel Kiper's final mock. For whatever reason,
his final
mock came out yesterday.
Wait, I thought his final mock.
Okay.
Oh, it's because it's not, I see. It's not just his mock.
It's not just Mel Kiper. It's him and Field Yates combining together their alternating picks in this mock draft.
Okay.
It is a 3-rounder. No trade up for the Chiefs at 31, no trade down. They're Field Yates is the one who made this pick, by the way.
Right.
At 31, he has him taking Josh Connerly Jr., offensive tackle from Oregon.
Well, there's a name I've heard.
His description would be, or the first sentence, what a coup this would be for Kansas City.
Coup?
C-O-U-P, as in...
Yeah, no, I know what you meant, but I was like... I'm just trying to figure out...
I just want to make sure, Cody.
I'm just... In what way is this a coup? Who are they? I don't know, militarizing against to get a coup against Moore?
The thought
Who's this a coup against?
The rest of the league, because they passed on him.
The thought would be that he's probably not there at 31, and if he's there at 31, it seems like a hell of a pick.
I don't think coup is the word he should have gone with. That's all.
No, you've heard that phrase before in this context, haven't you?
For a draft?
No, but it's quite a if that team quite a cue. You've
steal maybe. I don't feel like
people
have used it in this context. You've heard
they
it.
Should stop using it. They should. It doesn't make sense. I think they just like the word coup.
So his reasoning is he was outstanding last year at Oregon, only allowed 1 sack all season. He's always in control and dependable. Obviously, something that sounds nice when protecting
7th most
Patrick Mahomes.
athletic offensive tackle in the draft, according to the Next Gen Stat athleticism score that they use.
Okay.
Lance
they got in the
Erline
second round?
Throws a sudden punch with good pop.
People seem to like him, but he is definitely in the camp of people think he might end up as a guard or a right tackle or not. There are a lot of people who are not convinced Connerly Jr. is going to end up as a starting left tackle.
That's a name that we've seen, but not as much as Simmons or even Ursary.
Yeah.
Another name that we've had once or twice, haven't spent much time talking about him, is Landon Jackson, edge rusher from Arkansas. That's who Field Yates, making the pick again in this mock, has going to the Chiefs at 63. So he references the Chiefs tying for 18th in sacks last year. Always in the business of adding pass rushers, of course. He's got terrific length and plays with one of the best motors in the class.
There it is. Got to get the motor mentioned.
Oh, I do like a guy with a high motor.
Got to get
a few picks later. This is a new name. Mel Kiper picks this one in the 3rd round. Of course, 2 picks for the Chiefs at 66. Harold Fannin Jr.
Oh, we've heard
from
that,
Bowling Green. Tight end / H-back is what he's got him listed as. He led the nation in receiving last year, over 1,500 yards. Could utilize him in a multitude of different ways as part of the intrigue of taking him
That's
in
Bink's
the third
guy,
round.
too, I think. That's one of the guys that
Bink and I are really in line this year.
I think at one point Bink liked him.
The interesting thing about him is he's a little bit undersized for being a tight end. In college, at least he was. And his 40 speed wasn't that of one you'd like from a guy that is smaller in size in terms of like lighter weight.
Look, in the third round, I'm not going to be upset about a tight end pick. I don't think they need to do it in the first round, but I'm not going to be mad about it in the third round. Going back to Landon Jackson, that is a different name. You're right. We haven't heard the second round pick in this mock.
So it's 66.
The few notes on him from Lance Erdline, he said, puts blockers at the end of his reach when he lands first. Too tight-hipped to dip and corner. Yeah. Quote from a national scout in the NFC. He's tough, but I don't see enough contact balance to play down an odd front. Let him be a big, even front based end. He's got a chance to become a good starter, but it will not happen early on.
I was going to say, it sounds like he's more of a just a bull rusher. Like he's strong.
6'6".
He's a big
264.
Boy. Tall.
Yeah, 6'6". Landon Jackson out of Arkansas. Started his career at LSU, looks like.
So again, at 66, Harold Fannin, and then the third round pick later on. This is a new name.
Yeah. I mean, that definitely is slightly different than they've done. No running back yet, so I assume that maybe that would come in the fourth round. Textime, by the way, pointing out maybe they mean coup de grace, which means death blow. Maybe they are going that versus coup d'etat, which is what I was going with, like an overthrowing of the government.
Yeah, the Chiefs are not overthrowing anything.
Coup de grace. They're death blowing their competition. I just feel like you got to put coup de grace if that's what you're going with.
That's quite a coup, man. That's quite a coup.
The final third round pick for the Chiefs. Field Yates making this one.
Sorry.
Dylan Fairchild, guard out of Georgia. They say he's pro ready.
Guard in the third? I just don't. Why are we wasting third round picks on guard? Not wasting, but like it just. I want it like fourth round or later. No earlier than that. Those first four picks need to be.
I think his reasoning is he played
more premium.
He played left guard in college, pro ready, 5 pressures and 0 sacks over his whole career.
They don't want to probably just hand the job to Kingsley. They want to have some competition.
I mean, also it sounds nice for a guy that played 36 college or 35 college career games and didn't allow a single sack. I mean, that sounds nice. I would assume. And he's also born in the position. He's born, bred, played the position his entire college career at guard. So he's not that Kingsley can't transition, of course, but he's played it in the SEC against the best competition, against guys like Landon Jackson and all the others from A&M who are going to go in the first round, or Walter Nolan. So it's appealing.
Yeah, for me, and this might be because I'm in Kansas City, and maybe we just view it. I think we clearly view it differently than the national publications. I just think their left guard is Kingsley. Like, I don't think they have a question about who their starting left guard is. I think their starting left guard is Kingsley Suamataia. And maybe that's just blindly gold because, like we've heard Veach say, they like the way he looks at guard, or because this is a very standard transition for a player who fails at tackle to go play guard. It's like starting pitchers becoming relievers. It is like the next logical transition for a high pick tackle to eventually go to guard. It's an easier position to be successful at. All the other normal stuff. I'm just convinced their guard is Kingsley. I don't know. You do too, I think.
Yeah, I think that'll be the plan.
I mean, so let's
Norzad, Caliendo, Kingsley.
I mean, if they do take one though in the third round, that means they're getting rid of. Are they getting rid of?
I just think he's in an open competition with Kingsley.
Of Caliendo? Or
no, they'll keep Caliendo. He's a swing guard. They'll just put Kingsley and those two guys. They'll keep one extra offensive lineman, which they do sometimes, and they'll pit Kingsley and the third round guard against each other for the spot. Caliendo, I think they view as a backup. I don't think that they're like gung ho on him being the starter.
The only way that I can think that it makes sense, and I don't know if this is just you're almost drafting you're not drafting scared in a way, but let's say that it's Kingsley at guard and he stinks again. And you got Caliendo. You're running into the exact same problem that you ran into last year in a different set of circumstances.
But guard, not tackle, so I feel way better about it.
But you're still concerned about are we? Because there's a lot of unknowns technically with Jalen Moore as well. Like
you'd rather have more
unknown again.
Yeah, I think Cody's just saying that if they feel like Jalen Moore is the starting left tackle, and you're hypothetically, you're saying like it's 4 weeks in, he's playing fine, but Kingsley's awful. And
I'm saying you won't notice it
He's
as
saying
much.
that like it'd be easier to replace Kingsley midseason than trying to replace a guard or a tackle again. I think that's all he was. But I hear you. Like right now, Jalen Moore is a question mark. We don't know. You're right. But in the hypothetical of it's a month into the season, he's playing fine, and it's the guard that has an issue. That's an easier one to pivot
That's just
from.
the only explanation I could see for them picking guard is, you know what? We are gonna make for damn sure that we have somebody who can play that guard position. And we're not going to have any problems.
Our Arkansas fans, both on the text line and over on Twitch, saying look, as your University of Arkansas source, great pick, 10-year pro.
Oh, Landon Jackson.
They're
saying Landon Jackson be quite the coup.
That's right.
On who?
All other 31 teams that didn't draft him, I guess the Chiefs technically as well, if they pick him in the second round, they all passed on him.
Yeah, see, someone says, is it an unexpected result used all the time? And that's what I'm saying. We've seen it and heard it in sports reference all the time.
I do think it was funny, speaking of the you all passed on me thing, Will Howard recently came out and said, teams are going to regret passing on me who don't draft me.
Classic line. Got to get that one out if you're going to be like a third-round pick. Or Randy Moss. And
I'm going to be more motivated than ever. I mean, it's going to fuel me. It's going to fuel me.
I mean, you got to say it because if you're right, then you get to own it the entire time.
Sure.
Like Randy Moss told teams that, and they probably regretted it. But I'm sure that there's a lot of other guys you've never heard of that also told teams they'd regret it.
Oh, yeah.
And nobody does.
They're going to regret on passing me. It's like, bro, you're picked in the 5th round. Come on now.
This now is going to become a show moment. We get texts on all the time. Coup de grace. We're going to get all the time.
So many different coups. So many possibilities.
Which one's your favorite one?
What's my favorite?
Do you have a favorite?
Birds. I like the way a bird coos. That's probably my top one.
Your favorite?
It is a draft particular phrase.
No, I think it's just in sports. Like that was like, even if they hired a head coach in college football, hired a young coach, and like 2 years in, you're like, wow, that turned out to be quite a coup. You not heard that phrase?
Not in this context.
Really? You haven't?
You know what I'm talking about, Drew? You've heard it.
100%. Especially around the draft, it always happens. It always happens.
This is not.
This
is new to me.
Like Drake hiring their head coach in basketball this past year, that would be like, wow, that's quite a coup. They got him from North. It turned out to be quite a.
The Chiefs getting Trey Smith in the 6th round was a coup, even though we know
no
there
one
was
said
some
that.
reason.
You guys can say.
I can't wait for Friday after the draft, man. I can't wait.
Jalen Carter at 9 was a coup.
No one said that when that happened.
So
I'm saying.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
You guys are just saying.
I don't know.
Someone said cougars are their favorite.
Someone said Coupe de Ville. That's with the E at the end.
All right. Up next, we'll get to what's trending, back into what the date might be where you're all in or out when it comes to the Royals offense. That's next.
This is Cody and Gold on your new home for Royals baseball. 96.5 The Fan. Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Missouri sports fans, I've got good news. Underdog is available in your state. You know that's good news because it means you can do it from the Missouri side. And for playoff time, it's one of the best places to make entries during the basketball playoffs with their extender program. With the extender, you can play your way to increasingly bigger boost each round of the playoffs. Start the playoff series by using your Game 1 boost and continue boosting each subsequent game to unlock the next one. The longer the series, the bigger the boost. Millions of fans have already won billions making plays at Underdog, so why not be next? Their app has over 100,000 5-star reviews, millions of players. Take a look for yourself. It's pretty simple, by the way. You'll just choose things like higher or lower on points, assists, and so much more. The picks are easy over at Underdog. Download the app today. Sign up with promo code TAP to unlock a special offer for up to $1,000 in bonus cash when you make your first deposit. That's promo code TAP. Must be 18 plus and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.slash/web/extend.html for details. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Visit www.ncpgambling.org.
As men get older, our bodies change. We all know that, and often we just accept the changes as the way it is. But some of those changes, such as bad sleep patterns, low sex drive, brain fog, no energy, and reduced gains in the gym, could be due to low testosterone. And that is something you can change. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health. And even if you're in your 30s, if you're experiencing some or all of the symptoms I just noted, you very well may need low testosterone treatment. With our treatment protocols, if you're like most men, you'll be amazed at the change. You'll have more energy, improved mental clarity, your sleep will be better, so will your workouts, and you'll likely find that your sex drive increases too. So give us a call today and make the change for good. Your initial visit is just $99 and includes blood work and a medical consult. And if you start on treatment the day of your appointment, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600. That's 844-447-6600. Or go to heartlandmenshealth.com. We have 3 offices to serve you. Heartland Men's Health, a Promenic restorative health practice.
Some things just go together, like peanut butter and jelly, or a Casey's spicy chicken sandwich and a 49-cent medium fountain drink, or a Casey's breakfast sandwich and a 49-cent fountain drink, or even Casey's limited time Italian deli sliders and a 49-cent fountain drink. You get the idea. It's not crazy. It's Casey's. See store for details.
Honey, it's me, your wife. Spring is here, and our house desperately needs the experts at Powell Exteriors Casey for siding, windows, entry doors, beautiful decks, patio covers, roofs, and more. Get ready for summer at PowellCasey.com.
Man, are you over 40 and struggling with low energy, not feeling like yourself? Low T Center's testosterone replacement therapy is the solution. Get started today by visiting one of our conveniently located clinics. Meet a medical provider and get back to feeling your best. This April only, the consultation is free. Treatment is tailor-made just for you and is covered by most major insurance. Get treated at our centers or from home. Why wait? Book your appointment now at lowtcenter.com. That's lowtcenter.com.
You know what's better than a limited time deal? An unlimited time deal. That's why the Wendy's $5 biggie bag with a junior bacon cheeseburger, 4-piece nugs, junior hot and crispy fries, and small soft drink is available all the time. Because the best time for fresh, never frozen beef and Applewood smoked bacon is all the time. Duh. I feel like I'm repeating myself a lot. For the best deal of all time, gotta be Wendy's.
Unlimited time does not mean forever. U.S. price and participation may vary. Prices may be higher in Alaska, Hawaii, and California and via third-party delivery. Fresh beef available in the contiguous U.S., Alaska, and Canada.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm. An important message about your timeshare from Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group.
If you receive an unsolicited phone call or mail piece to discuss selling, renting, or especially canceling your timeshare, don't fall for it. Contact your timeshare resort or Wesley Financial Group for assistance, and I'll send you our timeshare exit information kit free with the straight facts about timeshare cancellation.
Call 800-858-1199. That's 800-858-1199.
This is a story of the one. As a maintenance specialist for university housing, he knows college students can major in wear and tear. Plus, housing so many students doesn't leave a lot of room to house all the supplies he needs. That's where Grainger comes in. With over 1 million industrial-grade products and fast, dependable delivery, Grainger carries the quality products he needs so he doesn't have to. From a new door hinge to a whole new faucet. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Lowe's is the destination for Ego outdoor power equipment this spring. See what's new and exclusive, like the 17-inch string trimmer with Line IQ technology that auto-feeds to save you time, and the 22-inch Select Cut self-propelled mowers with a multi-blade system for precise cutting. Shop Ego Days, happening now during Spring Fest at Lowe's. We help, you save. Selection varies by location while supplies last.
Good morning, Doctor.
Doctor?
Hi, Doctor. Doctor?
Dr. Jackson's practice is growing.
What do you mean we're still short-staffed?
He needs a good patient doctor.
How do we not have enough doctors to doctor all these patients?
And he doesn't have the patience to sift through hundreds of resumes.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, it's easier for talented candidates to find it, which makes it easier for you to hire them. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Spring cleaning is upon us, but there's one meaningful box that you don't throw away when cleaning out your closet. It's the box filled with your family's important videotapes, film reels, and photos. Hi, I'm Adam Baselogger.
And I'm Nick Mako. We started Legacy Box over a decade ago to help families organize and update their analog media to digital.
Legacy Box is simple and easy. It works and is safe. Over 1 million families have trusted Legacy Box.
And Legacy Box has been featured in Good Housekeeping, The Today Show, and Rachel Ray.
Legacy Box is like magic, converting your shoebox of memories to the cloud or thumb drive, ready to watch and share.
Declutter your closet by digitizing your media. Become more organized and accomplished, knowing your family's recorded past is safe forever. Take advantage of our spring cleaning sale going on now. It's the easiest task to check off your to-do list.
For a limited time, you can get started for just $9 a tape. Visit legacybox.com/value to get our $9 sale. That's legacybox.com/value to get our $9 offer. legacybox.com/value.
Lowe's is the destination for Ego outdoor power equipment this spring. See what's new and exclusive, like the 17-inch string trimmer with Line IQ technology that auto-feeds to save you time. And the 22-inch Select Cut self-propelled mowers with a multi-blade system for precise cutting. Shop Ego Days, happening now during Spring Fest at Lowe's. We help, you save. Selection varies by location while supplies last.
You ever try fixing your car and realize you're missing that one part? Yeah, been there. That's why eBay's my go-to. They've got millions of parts, guaranteed to fit. I'm talking brake pads for when yours have seen one too many miles of stop and go. Oil filters, cause you don't mess around with your engine care. Even got this cold air intake on my watch list. I might just go for it. To keep the ride cool and your DIY streak hot. Find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. eBay. Things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
What's up, KC? This is Matt Quattrero. On your way home from the ballpark, make sure to listen to Vern's postgame show right here on 96.5 The Fan. I will not be listening.
96.5 The Fan, KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station. What's trending?
What's Trending is presented by Baker University, where graduates earn higher salaries and land jobs faster than any other university in Kansas. Apply today at bakeru.edu. We start with the Royals, who did drop Game 1 yesterday to the New York Yankees in the Bronx, 4-1. It was just Bobby Wood Jr. getting hits. That was it. Awful offensive performance. Waka versus Fried tonight right here on 96.5 The Fan. Vern's on Deck show starts at 5 o'clock.
Hopefully get a win. That way stop their longest losing streak of the season. 2 games. That's the most they've lost at any particular point. It's why they're 500, is they've prevented it from being anything longer than that. Next up on What's Trending, the Dolphins will reportedly give Jalen Ramsey permission to seek a trade. This less than a full calendar year after they made him a market value paid cornerback. I do not understand their plan. We'll talk more about it in all 32 in a minute. They went with the veteran option and the high-priced option to try to win now. Now it seems like they're going to let go of a player. By the way, Jalen Ramsey is still playing at a high level in the NFL. They're going to let him seek a trade. There are plenty of teams who need corner, so I imagine someone will come calling. But the Dolphins apparently will attempt to trade Jalen Ramsey before the draft.
Next on What's Trending, the Masters TV ratings are at the final round. Averaged 12.7 million viewers on CBS. That makes it the most watched golf telecast on any network in 7 years.
That's not surprising.
No.
I mean, it was an
As we
incredible
said
moment.
yesterday, other than Tiger winning it.
Is that the 7 years ago one?
Oh, or 2025, that was 19 or 18? Yeah.
Depends on how they view the year to
I
year,
think the
but it
answer is
probably
yes, since Tiger.
Probably since Tiger was winning his Masters for the first time in a decade. Still an incredible moment. Still like seeing all the photos and stuff that are coming out of it. Really cool moment for Rory. Next up on What's Trending, your Kansas Jayhawks will host top player in the 2026 class, Tyron Stokes, on a visit this weekend in Lawrence. That according to the Field of 68. They obviously currently have the number 1 recruit in the country coming to Kansas this year, and maybe have at least a chance with the number 1 player in next year's class as well, as he's going to visit Lawrence this weekend.
All right.
Show him a good time, I guess, on Mass Street.
That's right.
If you see him around, buy him a shot. I don't think that's how it works, but
I think he'll have a good time. I think he'll have a good time. Lastly, don't forget our Cody and Gold road trip. We announced it yesterday. Going to go see Cags in Springfield Saturday, May 3rd. A lot of you have already purchased tickets. Thank you so much.
Over 50 of us already.
Yeah, over 50 of us already making the trip. If you want to buy tickets, we have a special $10 ticket deal to go watch Cags play. Just go to our website, 965thefan.com. You'll see the link and the logo right there on the front page. Go ahead and purchase your tickets. Sit with all of us. Also, if you are still looking for the shirt to go with the trip, you have to go on the trip. But if you're looking for the Cags shirt, just send us a text. We'll get you the T-shirt order form. Those are only available for pickup in Springfield. So I know some of you like the shirt, which is awesome. But as of now, those are only available if you're on the road trip. So just a heads up.
Yeah, but if you want the information so you can make sure you match the rest of us, shoot us a text, shoot us a DM, do what you got to do. We'll make sure to get you that order form so that you can get your sizing correct on the Cags shirt. And don't forget, if you go on the trip, one lucky listener gets to throw out the first pitch,
How about
too.
that? No
So
pressure.
you could show off for Cags if you want before we hit that, he hits that 450-foot home run or whatever while we're down there in Springfield.
No pressure,
That's what's trending here on Cody and Gold. For those who are going on the trip, as a reminder, and we'll continue to remind you close to it. We'll be meeting to hand out those shirts at Harbell's before. So
I'm told the best chicken wings.
That's what somebody said yesterday.
Some of the best.
We randomly chose it based on one very important factor. It is very close to the stadium. Felt like it'd be a good spot to meet up, so we can hand you your shirts before we head into Hammond Field, Hammond's Field, is that what it is? Which has got a pretty good reputation. Yeah. I've heard it's a pretty good. I heard it's a nice minor league park.
Yeah, it's obviously the St. Louis Cardinals AA affiliate taking on the Royals AA affiliate. So not quite as far of a drive by doing Springfield instead of Arkansas. Plus, we frankly didn't want to wait till June because by then. CAGS probably is in AAA, so we decided to do Saturday, May 3rd, and looking forward to seeing all of you. Sounds like we make sure our seats are next to each other. Yeah, if you go to the landing page, which is on our website.
It takes you to the same sections.
Yep. Everybody, it's 3 sections that tickets are available. Most people are buying tickets in Section J, if you were wondering, but
J and K have been most popular so far.
Yep, everybody's going to be right there together, so looking forward to seeing everybody. We'll get to all 32 in about 8 minutes or so, but let's talk about the big league club. The Royals, as we said in What's Trending, lost yesterday. And I don't know how you feel about the offense. We all understand it is struggling, to say the least. But yesterday, when you literally don't have anything else going but Bobby Witt Jr., it's almost easier to wash away. What I mean by that is they're not going to have 8 of the 9 guys not hit every single night. So, the offense is bad right now.
I don't think.
The offense is bad right now.
Starting to feel that way.
Yeah, the offense is a problem. But last night is an unrealistic problem. Does that make sense? In a normal night where they have 4 or 5 hits and Bobby gets a hit and Salvi gets a hit, but they keep coming up empty, whatever, those are more concerning nights. A night where Bobby literally is the only guy that got a hit, that's not happening throughout the season. I know, what do you mean? Because they're not going to be the worst offense in MLB
Currently,
history.
They're the second worst team in runs per game to start the year.
That's right.
Which is pretty bad. I'm not trying to sugarcoat it. I'm not here to come in the air. Really, I think it's just you got to ask yourself a question is, if this continued for 2 more weeks, 4 more weeks, 6 more weeks, what is the number of weeks before you're like, oh, no, it's not just a cold start, which it could easily be now. We are 17 games into the season. It could easily just be they have started poorly on offense, and things will regulate here soon. But there is a drop-dead date before I've just decided it is not a good offense.
Yeah, it's a month away, though,
and there's
for
a
me.
limitation before we have to have this conversation. That's fair. I don't think that's out of the question.
Middle of May. It's a month from now because as much this is the sample size we have. I get it. It's all we have to watch. Look, the expectation of the offense improving. Maybe it's not going to improve from last year, but I don't think from last year's offense they're now going to slide and be the 3rd or 2nd worst offense in baseball, and that's what they are currently.
I do think it's probably safe to say the text line asked this earlier, and I do think that this is probably safe to say. I leave a little doubt in my brain because again, the earliness that it is in the season and the fact that they've been able to at this point somewhat overcome the bad offense because all the other really bad offenses in the league are way worse in the record department than them right now. So the pitching is keeping them afloat. It's probably safe to say that they did not improve last year's offense. They tried. They brought in India. You were hoping Renfroe would bounce back or MJ's swing changes would do something and that, India would make enough of a difference. I think it's almost safe to say we're probably only a week and a half or 2 weeks away from saying they're not better on offense. They're not going to be better on offense based on the current roster construction as it sits. Unless somebody comes up from AAA or AA, Jack Caglione, later in the year, August, I don't know, whenever the hell he comes up, then they're probably no better on offense. But they're also apparently no worse on pitching, except for they're way better in the bullpen. They're no worse in the starting rotation right now.
They're brutal to watch, though, on these nights here recently when the offense is just, it's like that. That was an awful game to even try to keep an eye on and watch. And the one thing I'll say about bigger picture with the road trip, they're on a 10-game road trip. They're 1-3. If you thought you said, hey, just go 500 on the road and come back home. Or you were saying, I think you even said you'd take 4-6.
I would. For a 10-game road trip against 3 potential playoff teams, yeah.
And so if they win tonight, they're on pace for that very thing. So that's where I'm pump the brakes on the doom and gloom and oh my gosh, they're buried. If they do find a way to win tonight, then they're on pace for your 4-6. They still have 4 against the Tigers, too, coming up this weekend, who are the first place team in the American League Central. I think it's middle of next month. So a month from now, someone on the text line said it's Memorial Day. We've always heard about that, right? That weekend being post-Memorial Day is when you can really get a good judge. Anybody thinking by April 15th, they have figured out the offense and figured out the entire team. They know exactly how it's going to go. is crazy. And I mean, even on the positive end, like I'm not sitting here telling you that I'm guaranteeing the offense is going to be fine, but I feel confident saying on April 15th, we do not know, and they are not going to end up being the second worst offense in baseball. Come on now.
No, I mean, and that
could they be 21st? Yeah, they could be 21st.
21st, that's definitely in the end, like where they might rank. It'd be a fun game to be like, all right, let's guess right now based on April 15th. Where do you think the Royals offense will rank in runs per game when the season ends? And you made me guess, I'd probably guess like 20.
Yeah, and for like someone said, the offense has struggled for 50 games. Not just here. Why aren't you guys talking about that? Because each season is a brand new season. I'm not gonna go in for an individual player. You can, sure. You want to pull up a 50-game stretch going back to last year for an individual player. I don't count how the offense performed in September last year and carry that over into April and say, well, that means it's a 50-game stretch
without Vinny Pasquantino, like without their middle of the order bat. We all know what happened to the offense last year. After Vinny went down, they became one of the league's worst offenses.
Now, if you
that's
want
also part of the reason why they're one of the league's worst now.
If you want to point out
Vinny's not
individual
hitting
players, like that's fine. If you want to say, hey, MJ hasn't hit in 70 games or something, and go back to last year, I'll hear you on individual players. As a team, though, acting like this offense has now been a 60-game problem, and we can just add the games from last year to this one. I guess I just disagree with that. Each season's a new year.
Yeah, I completely agree with that generally, especially for like where you're going to rank. But a lot of these players are the same ones as last year. Some of this goes back to simple math. I do not think that Salvador Perez, Vinny Pasquantino, and Jonathan India are going to hit a combined 212 the rest of the year, Gold. I don't even know if that's their average. I think about half their lineup's probably hitting under 220, 215.
No, it's terrible.
I assume that there will be some upward mobility in those numbers. And if not, I would expect them to be earlier to the trade market to try to solve some of those problems based on where they are. I don't think they're going to finish 29th. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe we're all wrong. And then I don't know, like some of the texters are crazy. This one's obviously a joke, but like one earlier was just like asking a very serious question. They said, hey, this is how they phrase it. Hey, serious question. Wouldn't this team be better right now since they have options to just send Vinny Pasquantino down and call up Jack Caglione and see where that went? And I was like,
crazy.
No, they absolutely would not be better in that scenario. They'd be infinitely worse. And I know Vinny's off to a bad start. It looked like the first week was going to go pretty well. Cooled off since then. We'll see if he can kind of catch. He was cold last year too to start the season, and then it seemed like it went fine after that. And so I just still feel like some big months are coming for the middle of the order. India, Salvi, Bobby is. That's the one thing. It's like, if I were Bobby, I'd be like, hey guys, just real quick, can't do this all on my own today offensively. So if somebody else doesn't mind getting on base, that could make a bit of a difference here. Have his MVP odds slipped at all? Aaron Judge is leading the league.
I think
they
have, and it's mainly because of Judge. And
once again,
that the home run numbers are always going to skew this thing, fair or not, for how people view the MVP award. That's just the reality of the situation.
Now, the good news is, that'd be crazy.
The good news is that Bobby obviously, based on the year he had a year ago, put him in a better spot to be in the national conversation. Aaron Judge is minus 185 now to win MVP. Bobby's got the second best odds at 6-1. Then there's a huge gap. It's weird to even say. On April 15th, it's a 2-horse race for MVP.
Bobby's
Mike
hitting
Trout
less,
has the
but
third.
walking
How about
more.
Mike Trout staying healthy so far? He's got the third best odds, 18-1. Is there such thing as Major League Baseball comeback player of the year? Because there is actually. I'm sorry, there is. Well, then that's Mike Trout. Yeah, he's plus 180. Go ahead and put your money in on that one right now.
Can you even get good odds on
Plus
it?
180.
He played. How many games did he play last year?
Yeah. AL comeback player of the year, Mike Trout.
I mean, yeah, sure.
For him, staying healthy for the first 2.5, 3 weeks is like staying healthy for a whole season for a lot of guys. I mean, it's pretty impressive so far.
Yeah, but you got to fear that just like 2 weeks from now, his like hamstring will snap. I mean, God, he is hitting. Well, no, his batting average is not as high as I thought. He's got the third best odds. He's hitting 196 with a 299 on base percentage. How the hell's he got the third best odds to win? Oh, he's got 6 homers. Okay. That explains it. You just mentioned it was a home run award. He's tied for the Major League lead in homers, so that probably has something to do with it. Mike Trout's a pretty good baseball player when he plays. Bobby Jr. is also a great baseball player. But yeah, I'm not going to send myself into panic mode just yet, I guess, on that end. Let's look at some of the other teams in the NFL as it sits right now. The all 32.
Yeah.
9 days before the draft. This is a perfect time. Look, Miami's in a tough spot. They, for the last 2 years, have done what a lot of teams do when you got like a good quarterback, but you're not really sure, and you got to have some aging talent, you're not really sure, so you go all the way in. You trade for guys like Tyreek Hill a few years ago. You sign Jalen Ramsey. You give him a market-level deal. You get veteran talent that's aging, and you put them together, and you try to make it happen. They got hurt last year, so as a result of that, they came up far short of what their original expectations were. Nothing to show for it. Now they're shopping Jalen Ramsey. What's their plan to get out of this? They owe Tua a ton of money anyway. The roster's already old, and they're not even going to keep the old roster together and hope they just stay healthy this year. They're in one of the worst spots. They're not as bad as the Saints or those things, but they're kind of stuck in no man's land where they can't really solve their problems easily financially, Gold, and they already seem to be shipping a little bit on the aging player stance, but don't have the cap space to get younger, or they don't have like an incredible amount of draft picks to get younger. They feel like a team stuck in no man's land, which I honestly think is the worst place to be in the NFL.
Their head coach, I mean, he's acknowledged it, the being on the hot seat and everything. I think he made the comparisons to Nick Sirianni a lot at the coaches meeting, owner meeting, and everything, just kind of where he's at. So yeah, I think they're clearly going to pivot, but they're a team I can't figure out for this year. Are they just going to be like a 9-win team again, or are they going to really fall off? Or is it going to be Nick Sirianni again, where everybody's going to be criticizing them, and all of a sudden the Dolphins surprise everybody? But that division that they're in, we know the Bills are a problem. The Patriots will be better this year. The Jets, I have no idea what they're going to be with Justin Fields as their quarterback. But I hear you. They did go all in, and it seems like there's a chance that the window is closed. For me, I want to go to the NFC South for a second. There are 3 options left for Kirk Cousins in terms of teams. 4 if you include his own team. But the Saints, the Vikings, or Steelers feel like that's it. And the Steelers are only if Aaron Rodgers flip-flops on the Steelers and decides not to play football. Unless he redoes his contract, is Kirk Cousins just going to be stuck in Atlanta as the backup all year? Because Cleveland balked at the contract, so they didn't trade for him. They signed Joe Flacco instead. You're running out of options if you're Kirk Cousins, unless you were going to completely agree to eat a bunch of the money and lose a bunch of money. Nobody's trading for that contract.
No.
Now, if I'm Atlanta, I don't want him as the backup behind Michael Penix Jr. all year. It's awkward.
If he
it's
starts
weird.
bad, then it's like, do you get tempted?
Well, it's just awkward and it's weird. Like, you just don't have the guy that the rookie replacing the old vet doesn't usually just hang around in the locker room. It's just not that Kirk is being a terrible teammate.
It'd be like Alex Smith just still being there even after they had switched to Patrick Mahomes. Do you know how strange that would have felt?
Yeah.
Weird.
So I think there's 3 teams left. The Saints scenario, but they're in the division. The Vikings as a backup kind of there, unless J.J. McCarthy looks terrible in spring. And then the Steelers with Rodgers maybe deciding not to play.
I am going to go to the Dallas Cowboys, believe it or not. So they had their off-season voluntary minicamp thing. Micah Parsons showed up for it. Not that that's a surprise necessarily, but for...
Must not have had a podcast to record that day.
I wonder if this is in a way it's weird to say it, I guess, but a make it or break it year for the Cowboys in terms of their roster setup, where obviously Brian Schottenheimer, the head coach, that we don't really know.
I can't believe Brian Schottenheimer is the head coach of the Cowboys.
It's weird. It's unserious, but if they don't make, let's say they go 7-10 this year, I think they might blow this whole thing up where they actually trade Micah Parsons. They look to potentially trade CeeDee Lamb, and they blow the entire thing up. Or if they make the playoffs, they're back in. All of a sudden, Brian Schottenheimer maybe solidifies his job as a head coach, and things look a little bit more up. It just feels like it's either one or the other for the Cowboys this year. It's not a in between. Well, they went 9-8 and they're fine, or they may,
That was what they're paying Dak.
It's either a make it or break it year for them.
I think if they go bad, if it goes bad, Drew, to your point, I think they would be looking to move Dak Prescott and
revamp. Yeah.
The only problem is
keep
like
CD and then get a quarterback. Then
the only problem there is like trying to restart when you're the Dallas Cowboys. When we all know that their owner wants them to win something before he's dead.
He doesn't restart.
He might not want to restart, dude. He wants to be alive when they're good again. Like, I don't know how old Jerry Jones is, but he's got to be in his 80s, isn't he? Or late 70s?
Yes.
80s?
Yes.
I mean, yeah, but what?
Smiles and glory holes.
82, dude. He can't be risking a rebuild year. He might die by the time they get it.
In all honesty, what they should, if they want, I really wonder if the Cowboys trading Dak, that whole thing, and drafting Shedeur, if that's an opportunity or that's available, that actually makes more sense to give him a better shot to win. Because right now with Dak, we don't know if he's good enough to win. And with Brian Schottenheimer as head coach, are we sure that the Cowboys even can do it with who they have right now?
It do. It really do.
Yeah, I mean, it do. To Cody's point, Jerry Jones, he's never going to just completely tear it down. He thinks he has a chance to win a Super Bowl every single year, and they're going to make sometimes terrible decisions because of that.
I mean, hey, I know he believes in Brian Schottenheimer, but
does he? Do you actually, in your deep like
Gold just said he thinks he can win the Super Bowl? There is no way conceivably that he thinks I'm going to win a Super Bowl with Brian Schottenheimer.
Well, then take his driver's license away. He's senile. If that's what he thinks.
Can turn into
Get out
good
of here.
decisions.
That's right, Jerry. Idiot.
Idiot things can turn into good
They
decisions.
can, Jerry.
That actually
They
is
can.
that's the perfect. That's
Look,
the perfect
I
line.
mean,
I'll get somebody else to ask these questions, man.
That's perfect.
I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding.
He's threatening that man's life.
That's right. That was Sean Sharif down there in Dallas. But
What
yeah.
a time that was! That was a few drops in a matter of a week from Jerry.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he was on a heater.
They fit in very nicely there, you know?
I don't think in the depth of his soul he actually thinks Schottenheimer's going to work. Or he is.
Does he think Dak's going to work?
He is a special kind of delusional. I think it'd be easy enough to talk yourself into Dak. 2 years ago, Alex and I both would have said Dak Prescott was a top 5 quarterback in the NFL.
I think he's still in the realm of top 10. I think he's in the realm of top 10 when he's healthy.
Yeah, I would have said top 5, top 6, something like that. Two years ago.
When we did our quarterback rankings, I think before the season started last year, I think Gold, you had him at 5 or 6. I think he was
I always
there.
have we did this. I go back. I have in my notes somewhere from like June of last year when we did this exercise. And I had him as a top 5. Yeah,
It's because he's a Cowboys quarterback. He is going to be criticized a little bit more, obviously.
No, that's true.
He's just also been injured lately. I'd like to see what
like quarterbacks.
Right, and now that you're paying him, yeah.
I had Mahomes 1, Allen 2, Burrow 3, Lamar 4, Dak 5, Stroud 6, Stafford 7, Hurts was 8 heading into last season.
That's not.
Where'd you have
most of your list is not
I had
crazy.
Herbert. I had Herbert heading into last year at 9. I obviously won't put him there now. I had Rodgers at 10, and then Trevor Lawrence was 11. Kirk Cousins was 12. Brock Purdy was 13.
Lower.
Goff was 14.
Goff's higher.
Love was 15 heading into the season, and Tua was 16.
That's still probably right. Honestly, Tua might still be the most accurate one on there other than Mahomes. 16.
I mean, Allen too.
Perfect. Perfect for Tua. Perfectly average quarterback. Right dead in the middle.
That is all 32. Coming up next, though, the Chiefs were listed as a trade-up candidate. Who could they be trading up for? Plus, the random question of the day right here on Cody and Gold.
What's up, Kansas City? This is Vinny Pasquantino, and you're listening to Cody and Gold, weekdays starting at 10 on 96.5 The Fan.
Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
What's up, guys? It's Drew. All right, let's talk about sex. Whether you're dealing with erectile dysfunction or you simply want to have a little bit more confidence in the bedroom, look to Blue Chew. Your partner wants you to do whatever it takes to make your sex life better, and Blue Chew is that secret weapon for the bedroom or wherever you decide to get it on. Turn oh no into oh yes with Blue Chew. You know, pro athletes train every single day. We got the NHL and NBA playoffs coming up. Those athletes are in peak condition and in peak form so that they can perform with confidence. What if you didn't have to train or anything like that to be able to perform at the highest level? That's where Blue Chew comes in. They're an online prescription service, no visits to the doctor's office, no awkward conversations, and no waiting in line at the pharmacy. It ships right to your door in a discreet package, and their licensed medical providers work with you individually to find the right ingredient and strength for your prescription. If you could benefit from extra confidence when it's time to perform, visit BlueChew.com, where we have a great offer for you there. Get your first month free when you use our promo code KFNZ at checkout and just pay $5 in shipping. That's BlueChew.com, promo code KFNZ to receive your first month free. Then you'll be ready to chew it and do it.
The Other Place, Shawnee, Olathe, downtown Overland Park, Mission, and Belton have lots of big screens, great food, and beer specials. Plus, patio season is coming up soon. The Other Place is your home for baseball this spring. The Other Place and theotherplace.com.
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to
slow it down and get it going slower.
Izervay is proven to slow GA progression.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Izervay or avacincaptad pagel is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com.
BetMGM is making your next golf tournament winner bets more exciting with Second Chance. What's Second Chance? Ever bet on your favorite golfer to win a tournament only to see them miss the green? Well, with BetMGM's Second Chance promotion, you'll get your stake back in cash if your tournament winner bet finishes in second instead. That's right. Simply bet on any player to win a scheduled golf tournament during a promotional week. If you're right, you win. But if your pick finishes in second instead of first, you get your stake back in cash. Watch your favorite players go for the win all season long and bet knowing you'll get your stake back if they finish second. Log in today and make your picks with confidence with BetMGM. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 plus only. Kansas only. Existing customer offer. Subject to eligibility requirements. Rewards paid back in unrestricted withdrawable funds. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel.
Hey guys, it's Cody Tapp, and I want to keep telling you about my progress over at Awaken 180 Weight Loss. I've lost 30 pounds, which was my goal, thanks to Awaken 180 Weight Loss. Look, maybe you got the pool, vacations, life got busy on you. It did for me. I wanted to make a change so I had more energy for my kids, so that the superbone foot didn't hurt anymore. And I'm feeling so much better. The pressure off my knees, and I've had 3 surgeries, so I needed that. And everything else in between has made me feel so much better over at Awaken 180 Weight Loss. 6 weeks, 30 pounds. That's what I did, and you can do as well. I did it with no medications, no extra working out, no calorie counting, just the help with the people over at the Awaken 180 at-home program. At home, meaning you don't have to leave your house in order to talk to Awaken 180. Make sure your summer is everything you want it to be and give them a call. 844-346-1800 or find out even more online at awaken180weightloss.com. That's awaken180weightloss.com.
Call Aspen Lawn and Pest Control. Our iconic blue trucks and expert team get it right the first time. Award-winning full-service lawn care and pest control since 1985. Call today for a free estimate. Visit aspenlawn.com.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation, an irregular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduce stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop taking prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. It may increase your stroke risk. Eliquis can cause serious and in rare cases fatal bleeding. Don't take Eliquis if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or take longer for bleeding to stop. A spinal injection while on Eliquis increases risk of blood clots, which may cause paralysis, the inability to move. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding, unusual bruising, or tingling, numbness, or muscle weakness. Medications such as aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners may increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about all planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
All power, zero compromise. Ego cordless outdoor power equipment features advanced lithium battery technology that exceeds the power and performance of gas without the noise, fuss, or fumes. From blowers and trimmers to mowers and pressure washers, one battery powers over 90 tools. No wonder it is the #1 rated brand in cordless outdoor power. Power beyond belief. Visit egopowerplus.com to learn more or to find an Ego retailer near you. That's egopowerplus.com.
I'm at a smoothie bar asking people if they'd switch smoothies with me for $574.
Oh, I'll switch.
So what about $574 if you switch your home insurance to Allstate?
That's a headache.
Nope, it's painless.
Oh, so it's easy money.
Yep, check Allstate first and you could save hundreds on quality home insurance today. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Not available in every state. Based on the national average annual savings for new home insurance customers surveyed in 2023 who switched to Allstate and reported savings. Savings vary.
Still getting around to that fix on your car? You got this. On eBay, you'll find millions of parts guaranteed to fit. Doesn't matter if it's a major engine repair or your first time swapping your windshield wipers. eBay has that part you need, ready to click perfectly into place. For changes big and small, loud or quiet. Find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. But you already know that. eBay. Things, people, love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Hey, weekend warriors. How's a little trail therapy sound right now? Hop in. Let's go for a ride in the all-new Nissan Armada Pro 4X. Tune out all those work emails and turn up that twin-turbo V6 engine. Instead of letting the kids play online, show them some epic inclines. Turn your 8-person family dinner into an exhilarating off-road adventure. The all-new Nissan Armada is here. Intelligent four-wheel drive cannot prevent collisions or provide enhanced traction in all conditions. Always monitor traffic and weather conditions.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios.
Random question of the day coming up in 12 minutes. 913-586-7965 is the Jay's Southland Tow Service text line. So there's going to be more and more rumors as we get closer to the draft, and we're now 9 days away. And last night there was a report from Minnesota in that area from Alec Lewis, if that name sounds familiar. He used to cover the Royals here in Kansas City. He now works for The Athletic and covers the Minnesota Vikings, and he was listing teams to watch to trade up into the Vikings spot at 24. We just had Matt Verderame on in the 11 o'clock hour, and he also mentioned pick 24, that the Vikings only have 4 picks, that they would really like to stockpile some picks, so they're looking to trade out. And so the Chiefs are listed as a team to watch to trade into pick 24. And is that a likely scenario? What's the position? And I think Matt's answer is kind of where we were at, which is if they trade up, there's got to be 1, maybe 2 positions only that you could see them actually trading up for. And there's probably, we don't know the name, there's probably 1 or 2 players only.
Defensive line,
he said
offensive tackle.
Matt said defensive line. I'm with him. And I think it would be offensive tackle, even if we're both skeptical that they're going to actually do that. But I don't think they're trading up to get a wide receiver again at 24.
In a weird way, I'd almost rather it be that. Like,
really?
that feels more like intentional
receiver?
To making, well, let's just say like, Burden or McMillan, a guy that you view as the number 1 guy in the draft. I told you for some reason, even though I think there's like a 0% chance it's going to happen, Ty Warren sank or who was the running back he'd mentioned maybe at 31?
Sampson, right? Or no.
It was Amari and Hampton.
Amari and Hampton. Like, in a way, it would make more sense to me. Like, you know what? Screw it. Cost is low to go up this year, and by all accounts, it will be. Cost is low to go up this year, so let's just go up. And let's make sure that we have one of the league's best offenses again. The only problem is that I don't think the league's best offense for them is limited based on their current weapons. It's limited based on whether or not they can block for Patrick Mahomes and if they stay healthy. Last year's offense, I think, would have been significantly better had Rashee Rice and Hollywood Brown been available to them a huge chunk of the year versus, 4 games for Rice and 2 for Hollywood in the regular season? How many did he get in the regular season?
At the very end of the season, he came back. Obviously, the Texans game, I think, was one of the first, or the Steelers game, something like that. But yeah, I just the trading up is definitely there. Like you can trade up because plenty of teams want to stockpile picks. It is easy to trade up. You have to give up a lot, but it's easy to trade up, especially in the 20s. You can do it if you really feel like it. There has to be a player that slides to 24 that you didn't think would be there, and you laid out maybe a couple names for you. I just, if they traded up, I would be almost concerned that that's because they're taking a offensive tackle. But if you told me they traded up, if they traded up and got a Pierce or a Walter Nolan, okay, I'm on board with that.
Like just securing the defensive lineman, like I like Derek Carpenter, just securing the defensive lineman you love. That seems to me, but this goes back to the same thing. I still think, and I don't know what the betting markets say. I'd be kind of, I guess, if you want to pull them up.
Yep.
I still think the most likely position they're drafting is defensive line. I honestly think it doesn't make it.
It does make a lot of sense.
They need it. They need it right now. They need defensive line help immediately. Yeah. They busted on one maybe in a couple of years ago in the first round, so they don't have any long-term answers. Karlaftis doesn't have a deal yet. Chris Jones is getting older. Dana's deal is expiring. Like Amanda Hughes on a 1 year. They have no long-term answers at defensive line. How is that not the first-round pick? Like, and especially at 31 in a deep defensive line draft, you might get a guy that normally would cost you pick 12 overall at pick 31, or a guy that might cost you pick 17 overall at pick 31. Like, if you're trading up to 24, or in this 23 or whatever it was for Minnesota, it feels like it should be for a defensive lineman. Is it the favorite?
I was looking. They have it down right now. Oh, here we go. Only a couple teams are. DraftKings had it, but AFC West. Here we go. I got it. Offensive lineman is even money to be drafted by the Chiefs.
So what's the favorite?
Yep.
I don't know, man.
Even money. Defensive line, plus 150.
When you do your betting show on Saturday, will you tell people that the way better value is on defensive line?
I agree.
Way better value at the very least, whether you think it's likely or not.
BetMGM Network, there's been a few other people on that network. that have been mentioning offensive line, and I'm with you where it's like it's because every single mock has them taking an offensive lineman, so people are thinking at even money it's still a good number. But I do think plus 150 is obviously a little bit better. Corner is 9-1, running backs 13-1, safety 15-1, receiver 16-1, tight end is 22-1. In terms of what position of the Chiefs' first-round pick, whether player taken, whether it's a first-round pick or a second-round pick. I want to be clear. That's the one thing you have to watch out for in that market. It is not their first-round pick. It is the first position drafted. So it could be 31. It could be trading up to 24. It could be at pick 45 if they trade out of the first round or whatever. So that's something to watch.
Like
the Raiders, by the way,
like,
they think running back is minus 150 is who the Raiders are taking.
Like, I'm just trying to decide, like, a lot of this is asking the question is, like, what emotion would you feel if they traded up for, let's say, safety, Eamon Worry. They trade up to pick 24, and they just love the raw athleticism of the kid. They don't have any super long-term answers at safety. Depends on how they feel about Jaden Hicks going into this year. But let's say they traded up to safety for Eamon Worry. Some of this is price dependent. If Matt Verderame is right, and because he thinks, because of the depth of the draft, way more teams are willing to go down this year. If it's cost effective to go up, I don't mind you securing your guy. But outside of, honest to God, defensive line, or what I said, an elite, what they view as an elite offensive weapon, I don't like it. I'm not going to feel good about it. Tackle, guard, all those would make me feel really weird. I don't even think they're taking those in the first round anyway. Would feel really weird. Corner, I'm like, you already got Trent McDuffie is going to be the highest paid corner in the NFL here pretty soon. You've taken other guys at corner.
It was 9-1 for them to do that in the first round.
Yeah, you just gave Fulton the money. Like, I'm just trying, as I go through the options, it doesn't really make sense unless you're just like, we think Shamar, isn't he like kind of bouncing up and down? Some people think he may go way higher. So like we just love him. So we're going to go up to 24.
Stewart?
Yeah.
Shamar Stewart? Yeah, he's been mocked to the Chiefs. He's been earlier. He's been much earlier. I mean, he's been as early as the teens, Shamar Stewart. And then he's also been at the Chiefs at 31.
I saw Schrager, who's honestly, I think sometimes because he plays like kind of a goofy character a little bit on TV. I think sometimes people forget that he's pretty dialed in. Like he's really dialed in.
The Chiefs stuff.
A lot of times, yeah, especially with the Chiefs stuff. He listed the players he thought were the biggest swing players on the list, like for the upcoming draft. And you're like, okay, Matt Miller added Luther Burden, Kelvin Banks, and Shamar Stewart as the guys who go on this list. And you're like, well, who are? Because like it is kind of tough to know who the wild cards are. But Milroe, Fannin Jr., the tight end who we just mentioned was in a mock earlier, McMillan, because people don't know if he's better than like McMillan is like, is he better or is it Burden? And nobody seems to know which guy is on that list. And so there's more movement in this draft because I think of the equality of the players. We might all be way off when we make our picks at the Landing. Coming up 2 weeks from Thursday, you can meet us at the Landing in Liberty for our draft party. Your chance to win $965 and an autographed Chiefs helmet. So you get a lot of opportunity there. It's always a packed house. Come out and join us. Jay Binkley and Christian O'Sara will be doing a live broadcast as well. Everyone from the station. It's going to be a great time out there at the Landing in Liberty, but might be a particularly tough year because you're kind of splitting hairs, picks 10 through 35, it sounds like.
Yeah, I mean, anytime with these prediction things, anytime after pick 10, it gets really challenging. Yeah. The key is, can you find a way to nail the top 10? Can you find a way? And there's last year, I don't think anybody had Michael Penix necessarily going to the Falcons. I don't know. But if you could somehow find a way to predict the top 10 correct, then you're in business because it is very tricky once you get to the late teens and all of a sudden it's pick 18 and a team trades out. So then you had the right player, you still get a point, but all of a sudden there was no reason for you to believe that team was picking there. So then you lose an opportunity. So that's what makes it tough. But somebody's going to win $965 and get a Juwan Taylor autographed helmet.
It's not going to be you. You're not eligible.
That's what I'm told. I'm not eligible.
I would like $900 in trade from our station if I win now.
It's not 2 weeks.
It's a week from this coming Thursday.
It's not 2 weeks.
Yeah,
a week. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
A week from Thursday. That would be April 24th.
2 weeks till the road trip, April 24th, the first round of the draft. I will not ask you to go out to the Landing in Liberty and predict picks a full week after the NFL draft is complete. So, yeah, sorry, 1 week.
Yeah, you actually come out and predict the 2026 draft a year ahead of time. You could do that.
That would be
2026 draft, and you won't know.
What would win? Getting 6 right?
Yeah, well, you wouldn't know what teams draft. You don't know any team. What on the players? You wouldn't know what teams drafting where. Try to guess the exact order of finish in the NFL in 2026. Good luck. Good luck doing that. All right, let's get to it.
Random question.
For you Cody Gold for you, Drew, over in the text line 913-586-7965. Of course, the random question of the day brought to you by Awaken 180 Weight Loss. Results every week, and then receive free support for life online at awaken180weightloss.com. You can always hit us up on Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, live stream the show all 4 hours. Give you a chance to never miss the show if you'd like to do it. Today's question came up from a conversation we were having before the show yesterday, before I ended up doing worst days at your job based on the based on the trash of the day. This came up in a conversation yesterday, so I want to know your answer to this question, then I'll describe why this came up. The question I have for you is, what do you believe to be a universal experience for every kid, let's say, in either the Kansas City area or just as a kid of around our age? We rank between pretty much 28 and 40 years old. This came up yesterday because before the show, Alex had briefly described rolling over your fingers with one of those carts in elementary school. And every single person immediately was like, they could remember, like it hit them in the nostalgia point in the worst way. So what I want to know is, what do you think are the universal experiences every kid eventually goes through? This being obviously one of them.
Yeah, you guys know what I'm talking about. In PE class, you had those. They usually were yellow or blue.
Scooter, yeah.
Yellow or blue, flat scooter, and you had your hand, and you could move, you could scoot on those things, but your finger would get pinched under there, and we've all been there. So that was my answer. That's what prompted, as you said. So I'll stick with that answer. Those things were so much fun, but man, because you'd bounce off the wall, you'd kick off the wall and everything.
Oh yeah.
But you knew you had to be very careful. That wheel, that little flimsy wheel, would flip around and pinch your finger. It was awful.
Oh man, I mean, it really is the worst feeling on the planet. And I just I knew that everyone had at some point. Everyone knew what we were talking about. Drew's a little bit younger than you, more than a decade younger than me. It's just one of those absolutely.
Wow, how old are you, man? More than a decade, man. Just how old are you? Wow.
I mean, I'm more than a decade older than
Said
you.
it like that. I mean, it makes you seem ancient.
Does that sound bad? I'm more than a decade older than him, man.
What's your answer, Drew?
I was gonna say something like PE related as well. The whole dodgeball experience of you just getting killed with dodgeballs.
That's common.
Stole it from the text
line. A lot
line.
of PE ones. Somebody mentioned finding a Nerf football, with a bite out of it. Why did those Nerf footballs always look like a human being took a bite out of it?
That is true. Yeah, people. Yeah,
I think it's because your fingers, if you used it enough, it would just.
Is that what it is?
The imprint of your fingers would go into the Nerf ball.
Two that are mentioned over by Why Not on Twitch. Exchange City. Did you guys do that? That was more of a.
You started. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
You would go to a little town.
Exchange City. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. You guys got that in Indy too?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so
I think
Exchange
that's probably,
City, that was coming, and then they mentioned the Pacer test, which was not on the Missouri side, so I never did
that.
that.
You didn't do the Pacer.
I
can hear that beep. I can hear that beep.
I just assumed we didn't do that, or at least where I went to school, we didn't do that. I do feel like the presidential fitness test is
Level
a universal. 5. Did you guys do that?
Yes.
The presidential fitness test?
That should have been my answer.
I don't think we did we did the Pacer, but I don't think we did a presidential fitness test.
We did both.
The Pacer was just, I can picture that whole thing right now. I can hear it. I can hear the lady's voice and everything. Level 5.
Did you guys I guess in Indy and on the Kansas side, did you guys do line dancing?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Did you guys have
the
to
Cotton Eye Joe, all that? We did that in PE class. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Of course.
In middle school, I've told this story on the air before, but for 3 straight years, they partnered me up with a pair of deaf girls. So we had to try to do the dance after they had given them the signs. So we were 5 seconds behind the music. It was tough, really tough in middle school. But also, it was better. Being automatically paired was a better situation than, because that's a nerve-wracking moment the way they did in middle school, which is you're trying to count the number of people down the line. They would just have 2 giant lines in ours, boys and girls, and then they would just randomly pair you off. They'd make you mix up, and you're trying to count who you're gonna dance with. I mean, that's a nerve-wracking experience.
A lot of people mentioning the sit and reach test and everything that you had to do.
That was the worst.
Yeah. Sit and reach.
No,
man.
that was.
Somebody said Missouri definitely did the Pacer test. I'm just saying they didn't do it in my school. That was not a thing that I experienced.
I did it was like line dancing, but we also did the cha-cha slide and stuff.
Sure. I think that was all. We did
Jim.
We did 4 or 5. It was 4 or 5 things we did.
No. Ours was just like old
we had a whole
country records doing line dancing. That was it.
We had a whole performance in front of parents had to come in.
Oh no, wasn't even that. We didn't have to do that either.
We had one where I'm pretty sure in elementary school we had 3 or 4, and you had a partner for one of them or whatever. But it became like a
play?
Not a play, but it was a night like your
whatever?
parents had to come in and like watch, knowing that you were going to do like 4 or 5 of these.
Somebody said universal experience, getting in. They said internet AOL screen name, more like getting in the chat rooms, right?
Oh, AIM.
If you saw ASL, you immediately you don't think American Sign Language, you immediately think age, sex, location.
Of course.
Okay,
Yeah.
Yeah,
for sure.
It immediately hits
No,
like
I remember, AOL,
internet
Instant
trigger.
Messenger, man.
Did you get chat rooms, Drew?
Oh yeah,
That is common. You didn't have to put the CD in though. He didn't have to hear that.
Oh no!
Wait, you had to put the disc?
You put in the disc.
Hey, maybe we're not that far apart in age after all.
Yeah, you kept getting those. What was it like? What was it 20 hours or whatever it was? Free trial disc. Oh my goodness! Dial up internet.
Oh
Yeah.
man, I'll hear that sound
Yeah.
for the rest of my life. I'll hear that sound.
Oh yeah. Whenever I turned on the computer to play computer games growing up.
From
Always
903,
AOL?
I set the all-time low record on the sit and reach. Hamstrings
yeah.
are tight.
Sometimes I would kill to do the pacer test again. You just want to go.
Oh
you
my
can
gosh.
I'm sure you
Oh,
can
you're
find
really-
the.
You guys want to see how this show does on the pacer
Oh
test?
my goodness! It'd be embarrassing at this point, probably.
Man, that would be pretty bad. Somebody just said stepping on Legos, some of the other normal stuff, because there's always like the kid stuff that comes into play. Jump rope. For a
Somebody
heart
mentioned like falling off your bike and skinning your knee up.
Sure.
Real bad.
Sure.
Common, yeah.
Desmond did that like a week ago. We were out riding his bike, and he went over like the front of his handlebars because he was getting going too quick, man.
Yeah.
He was just zooming because he
Handle
finally got a little confidence. Like last year, he didn't have a lot of confidence, so he was pretty careful with it. And he started to zoom, and I'm like, oh man, I would have to be in a full sprint to keep up with him. So like, it's like, well, he was kind of waiting. He was like, he dusted himself off, but he was pretty sad at first.
What's the one thing like out of we've mentioned like these activities at school and stuff, but what's the one thing as a kid that you just hated the most? For me, people are mentioning jump rope for what they liked. I couldn't stand whenever in PE class. It was
I love
honestly
the
my
jump rope.
least favorite day. In PE class,
Jump rope,
had to do the jump rope. I was terrible at it, and I just hated the whole concept, and I couldn't get
We
the
used to do, like,
cross
double dutch?
stuff.
Oh, yeah.
I
Double
hated
jumps?
the jump rope. That
I
was
didn't
my
mind- I
least
didn't-
favorite day.
I didn't mind jump rope.
Least favorite day.
It was okay. And we had the rope climb test. Did you guys do that? I'd have to climb. I'd climb all the way up to the ceiling of the
I don't
gym,
think we
dude.
had that.
It's like 2 stories. It was wild. How did they not
we
think kids
did.
were going to die? I mean, really think
I don't
about that.
think
I
we
climbed
ever had
all the way
that.
to the top of the gym ceiling on a rope.
I think we did that too.
I didn't have that. Someone said the one it was the damn puberty videos in health class or PE class.
Classic
yeah.
one.
Yeah.
I mean,
I
That is a universal experience.
Yeah.
In 5th grade, I think they first started showing us maybe 5th grade, and they separated the boys and the girls
Yep.
in 2
Yes.
different rooms.
Yep.
And we all had to just watch hours. Did everyone watch Roots in 5th grade too, or 6th grade? That was a really common one. I think it was
Probably. Roots sounds.
Maybe.
It
I'm not
sounds
sure.
familiar.
Kunta Kinte, the whole thing. I mean,
Someone said the cup stacking thing too.
Oh, someone said field day, of course. Oh, I mean, that was everybody has.
yeah, those are
field
like.
day,
I think we all universally agree that like trying to move the bucket with holes in it down is the best game.
Yeah.
I don't know if we universally agree, but that's one of the best games.
Tetherball. There's a lot of They still have tetherball on the on the playground. Is tetherball a thing, or that people deem that too dangerous?
No, too dangerous probably. My kids play a game
Yeah,
called
knock some kid out.
My kids play a game at recess called Gaga Ball, which is like lame ass dodgeball. The ball's on the ground and you just
it's
kind of
called
like
Gaga
bitch slap.
Ball, so
It's
We
kinda dumb.
we played kickball basketball in the gym, which was an all-time game. Kickball basketball was great.
there you go. It's a random question of the day.
Just universal
A
questions.
lot of
Throw
good
it out.
memories, you know.
Just me. Somebody mentioned Oregon Trail. No, I'm not too
the
old for that.
parachute was fun. You're right, it was. The parachute was the best thing ever. Who didn't like the parachute? Everybody go, oh, the parachute was incredible.
Still a good one.
I'm assuming they still do that.
What is?
Yeah, that's pretty-
Hang on. What is the?
You don't remember in PE class
The
or
big
elementary
rainbow
school?
parachute.
Giant
Oh,
parachute,
oh,
and
yeah,
like you'd
yeah,
have to
yeah.
let
Oh,
everybody you'd get under. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know what it was. I don't know the
I thought it was
official
the
name.
parachute.
I thought you were relating it to Oregon Trail. I was like,
no,
I don't
no.
know.
Somebody said bowling day was the best. You
Bowling
know,
day was
when
fun.
I went
we
once a
had
week
the-
for a gym class.
We didn't
You went
go
to
to
a
Freshman
bowling
gym,
alley?
we went to.
we didn't go
No,
to
no.
an alley.
So freshman gym and then like a later one. You went bowling once a week, and I guess part of the lesson was like you hand keep your score. Like I can still hand keep score.
Oh,
I
so
guess,
we
from-
we didn't go to a bowling alley.
No
They
reason
they
to.
set up pins in the PE class, like on the gym floor.
Oh no,
That-
we went
that's what happened with us.
went to the AMF bowling alley off of like Vivian and Antioch
wow.
in the Northland. We drove over there and
Wow.
would bowl once a week. Oh, kids loved it because they'd let you go to the concession stand too, so you
Sure,
could get like French
sure.
fries or whatever.
I
like,
bet
from the thing.
that would have been great.
It was a whole. I don't know if every school did that. Just the one I went to. Good old Winnetonka, you know. Got a real bad rap on the text line, I'll say.
Well, you know, there's been some things said about Winnetonka on this show. By you.
It does have a bad
I didn't
perception.
say negative thing about it. I came out, look, I'm a relatively successful person. I'm not like the most successful, but I'm pretty successful. Like, I got to my career chosen path. And I know like real actual successful people that came at it, like doctors and stuff.
Doctors and stuff. Well,
I graduated with two people who, like, one's a doctor. She still lives in town. We've known each other since like first grade.
Did you say you were friends with the murderer from your class?
There's only two of those, and those weren't in my class.
Only two.
They went to my school. They weren't in my class. They were both. Well, no, one was in my class. One was a year ahead. I want to make that note important. A year or two ahead. So close.
It does.
You don't think there's a single murderer you went to high school with?
I feel like I would have known.
I don't think there were any.
Not that I know.
Zero.
Now that we know of. I don't know. Drew, what about you?
I guess in that case, not that I know of.
Yeah.
We did have one infamous incident, though, when I was in high school that I think it made national news.
National
What is this?
Pepper spray was sprayed
On
all
senior,
throughout.
like on a senior prank thing, or what?
No. I mean, it was. I don't know if it was a senior prank or if it was just simple in general, just a pranking that happened. But pepper spray sprayed every single hallway, all throughout the school. We all went to the gym, and of course, me being a person who had friends that had cars, I'd be like, "Yo, I'm trying to go home. You want to go home?" And a bunch of we'd have like 30 people just go to IHOP and skip out on the rest of school. But they shut down school for the rest of the day at like 11 a.m.
I always remember
because pepper spray. It was really bad.
It's such like an individual experience. I remember a big deal when we were freshman in high school was everyone remembers Channel 1.
Oh, yeah.
A kid we went to high school with on Channel 1 was interviewed by Lisa Ling because a laser pointer got pointed at his eye. Caused some problems for a little bit.
Laser pointers were very popular in like that late junior high, early high school.
But he was like interviewed by like laser pointers in school. A problem? And he was being interviewed about how I can't remember the kid's
Channel
name.
1 News.
Cole, maybe? I can't remember his name now. It's been way too long. My freshman year of high school, if anyone remembers.
Do you still think they do
99, 2000, something like that.
I have no idea.
What's that?
Do they still do Channel 1 News? I have no idea.
No, everyone does their own in like
Yeah.
by the time I was
went,
gone, Channel 1 was gone, and we did this.
Yeah, in
That's
high
the good
school we
old
had
days, man.
in high school we had our own TV station show thing. Anyway, up next we get to the 1 o'clock hour. It's very early in the season, but where's your confidence level on getting to the postseason? Plus, I'm sure we are going to check in on a local mock draft next.
This is Cody and Gold, brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com. Tune in to hear Royals insider Josh Vernier every Wednesday at 12:30.
We need to nip this in the bud. We need to
Nip what in the bud?
On your home for Royals baseball, 96.5, The Fan.
Man, maybe you've been lacking that motivation. Maybe doing the yard work is kind of the summer approaches. It feels like you're like, oh, I take more breaks. You've just been gaining weight. All of these things can be a sign of low testosterone. You're not feeling the way you normally feel. At the Low T Center, they can make it easy to get your levels checked and see if that's the problem. It's just a simple test with their on-site lab, and you get the results back right there at the Low T Center. Not a typical doctor's office. They specialize in treating low T with testosterone replacement therapy. So TRT for each individual patient that helps you experience this from an individual. Personalized treatment plans optimized for you individual, and they aren't just your basic standard treatment. So if you haven't been feeling the same, something feels off, you can't decide, why don't you check out at the Low T Center and find out? Look, if you're a current patient, let people know what they've been missing out on. Low T Center offers you a $150 referral credit for each new patient that you refer. And you can get your health evaluated for treatment prescription GLP-1 weight loss medications. So get back to your best. Go to lowtcenter.com to book your appointment today. That's lowtcenter.com. Low T Center, reinventing men's healthcare.
If you need a new garage door, this could be your lucky day. Entries are open now for the $5,000 sweepstakes at Overhead Door Company of Kansas City. A winner will be chosen at random to receive $5,000 towards new garage doors, openers, or front entry doors of their choice. Deadline to enter is the end of the month to win the $5,000 sweepstakes with Overhead Door Company of Kansas City. Enter now at overheaddoorkc.com. You can't win if you don't enter at overheaddoorkc.com.
You could think you found your dream home online. The kitchen island looks perfect for your inner chef. The backyard, a paradise for your green thumb. And that extra room, hello walk-in closet. But here's the twist. The lot next door just got rezoned for years of construction. And this sound, yeah, you're going to be hearing a lot of that. Don't let your dream home turn into a nightmare. Work with the expertise and ethical training of a Realtor, here to guide and help protect you from the surprises you didn't see coming. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors, right by you.
Barbecue season is back.
Hey, it's Ellen. And this is Sarah Beth. And a little thing we love about the Chick-fil-A Smokehouse Barbecue Bacon Sandwich is that zesty barbecue sauce. I love that it was a little sweet, a little tangy, and with the mac and cheese,
I feel like I tasted the brown sugar bacon first. It was the absolute best combination. Pro tip, 3 sandwiches are always better than 1.
Order the Smokehouse Barbecue Bacon Sandwich and our Coca-Cola on the Chick-fil-A app for a limited time. Real guests paid for their testimonials.
If you're like me and you're trying to break through that boring lunch routine, I've got the option for you. I discovered lunch at Hy-Vee Market Grill. Forget the after-lunch fast food coma. The Hy-Vee Market Grill offers fast and fresh options with made-to-order burgers, salads, sandwiches, and wraps, like the 3-cheese patty melt, the crispy chicken or Cobb salad, BLT or tenderloin sandwich, and my personal favorite, the peanut butter bacon burger. For high quality and great value, freshen up your lunch routine at the Hy-Vee Market Grill today.
Hop into Hy-Vee for all your Easter needs, like baskets, candy, chocolate bunnies, and more. Treat your family to Easter brunch at the Market Grill. Just $24.99 for adults, $7.99 for children, and kids 5 and under eat free. Staying home? Try Hy-Vee's Easter meal deal for just $30. Get all the fixins you need to feed your duckling spiral sliced ham, russet potatoes and gravy, green bean casserole, and bakery fresh rolls. Make this your most excellent Easter ever, only at Hy-Vee.
I think one of the things that patients don't realize is that when they get a joint replacement, that's not a lifetime treatment option. And they're probably, if they are a younger patient, signing up for multiple surgeries down the road.
As a physician and medical director for QC Kinetics, Dr. Caravelli's seen a pattern of trending joint pain. Prolonged medication, steroids, then surgery, possibly another surgery.
So a lot of our patients are trying to avoid or put off surgery, and this is the treatment that can help them do that.
QC Kinetics extracts your body's healing substances, concentrates them back into your aching joints to help heal and restore those areas, providing lasting relief.
Oh, I love being able to tell my patients, before we do this surgery, let's try another option. Let's see if this is right for you, because now they might not have to have surgery at all.
Call today for your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 816-412-6299. That's 816-412-6299. 816-412-6299.
This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. Which is why when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. With easy access to 1 million-plus products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them. The right tools and supplies are never far away. So the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Our daughter Jessie loves playing detective.
A clue.
But since we discovered she has sensitive skin, we've been playing detective too.
We thought the problem was our puppy.
But it was actually our old detergent.
Aha.
So we switched to Tide Free and Gentle. Tide Free and Gentle provides an excellent Tide clean, and it doesn't leave behind irritating residues like dyes or perfumes. So it's gentle on your skin.
Case closed.
If it's got to be clean, it's got to be Tide Free and Gentle.
This is a story of the one. As a maintenance specialist for university housing, he knows college students can major in wear and tear. Plus, housing so many students doesn't leave a lot of room to house all the supplies he needs. That's where Grainger comes in. With over 1 million industrial-grade products and fast, dependable delivery, Grainger carries the quality products he needs so he doesn't have to. From a new door hinge to a whole new faucet. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
You know what's better than a limited time deal? An unlimited time deal. That's why the Wendy's $5 Biggie Bag with a Junior Bacon Cheeseburger, 4-piece nugs, Junior Hot and Crispy Fries, and small soft drink is available all the time. Because the best time for fresh, never frozen beef and Applewood smoked bacon is all the time. Duh. I feel like I'm repeating myself a lot. For the best deal of all time, gotta be Wendy's.
Unlimited time does not mean forever. U.S. price and participation may vary. Prices may be higher in Alaska, Hawaii, and California via third-party delivery. Fresh beef available in the contiguous U.S., Alaska, and Canada.
All power, zero compromise. Ego cordless outdoor power equipment features advanced lithium battery technology that exceeds the power and performance of gas without the noise, fuss, or fumes. From blowers and trimmers to mowers and pressure washers, one battery powers over 90 tools. No wonder it is the #1 rated brand in cordless outdoor power. Power beyond belief. Visit egopowerplus.com to learn more or to find an Ego retailer near you. That's egopowerplus.com.
I'm at a smoothie bar asking people if they'd switch smoothies with me for $574.
Oh, I'll switch.
So what about $574 if you switch your home insurance to Allstate?
That's a headache.
Nope, it's painless.
Oh, so it's easy money.
Yep, check Allstate first and you could save hundreds on quality home insurance today. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Not available in every state. Based on the national average annual savings for new home insurance customers surveyed in 2023 who switched to Allstate and reported savings. Savings vary.
This hour on 96.5 The Fan is presented by Awaken 180 Weight Loss. Results every week and then receive free support for life. Online at awaken180weightloss.com.
Hey, it's Cole Riggins, and this is 96.5 The Fan, your home for Royals baseball.
KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2, Kansas City, and Odyssey Sports Station.
One o'clock hour here on Cody and Gold. Alex Gold, Cody Tapp, Drew Nixon with you. Video stream up and running. Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, Twitter, X. Make sure you guys subscribe. Follow the show. Follow the station. Now you don't miss anything here on 96.5 The Fan. A lot of good texts coming in still about stuff from our childhood stories that everybody was going through.
Book It and a million other stuff.
Someone wanted to know if you ever confessed to a long-standing rumor and report on this show, and no, you did not. Still waiting for that day. Multiple people still allege that there was a locker room. Yeah, Drew, this predates you.
This might predate two producers. I don't know.
This goes back to one of the first 2 years of the show. We were talking about school, and someone continued to text in that went to high school with Cody and said, did Cody...
Claims to go to high school with me. I don't know.
No, I'm sure the guy's not lying at all. Said that Cody was involved in a locker room incident. And so we've been trying to figure out what it is. I know it could be a lot of different things, right? And Cody has refused to tell us what occurred in the locker room in high school. And
I don't know what they're talking about.
To answer the texter, no. Cody never confessed. We still don't know what actually occurred in the locker room in high school. I don't know.
So
your guess is as good as mine.
As I've continued to say on the show, I don't know what they're talking about. So if they would like to just out me for whatever they claim is taking place, please do.
Yeah.
But I do not know what that person hasn't texted in a while, or at least hasn't mentioned that reference.
They just did. I mean, someone just did.
Well, I thought maybe that was somebody else asking if who just remembered it.
I see.
Maybe it is the person who is claiming to, whatever. Again, I don't know what the incident is. I don't recall any locker room related incident.
It's the name of like a Seinfeld episode. The incident is all you get from it.
I seriously doubt this person is being genuine. Don't forget, by the way, coming up on May 3rd, we're all going to drive down to Springfield. We're going to hang out for the night at the Springfield Cardinals versus Northwest Arkansas Naturals game to watch our guy Cags. Another Cody and Gold road trip here on 96.5 The Fan. We're all heading down there. If you go to 965thefan.com, you can see a specialized ticket link for us for only $10 to get in. If you want to wear a matching shirt with the rest of us, that is optional. We have those available for $10 as well. So if you buy your tickets in the section, or if you already have bought them, because there's more people who have bought them that haven't gotten the shirts yet, ask for a link. We'll get you an ability to buy the CAG shirt. It's in the Royals cursive font. Those are only for the people down there right now. We're going to hand them out at Harbell's before the game. So you just got to make sure you get down there a little bit early. We'll make sure to get your t-shirt before you head into the park down there in Springfield. We want to watch Jack Caglione. Haven't done it since Bobby Witt Jr. was in the minors and we went to Fayetteville. Chose a slightly closer spot this time, new ballpark in Springfield. I've never been to Hammons Field. Have you?
I have not.
So give you a chance to watch that as well. So give you a chance to get that ticket link. Get their $10 tickets, $10 t-shirt if you want it. We're all going to go drive there, watch Cags, have some beers before, have a drink after, hang out a little bit. Right now, it looks like we maybe already have about 60 people, including me, you, Dusty, and Drew, all heading down there for the game right now. So we got a big crowd of people interested to go watch him. But yeah, $10 tickets, we're all going to be sitting in the same general area.
Yeah, no, it's going to be a ton of fun. We're happy with the turnout already. 55 listeners have already purchased tickets for Saturday, May 3rd, man.
People are asking, what happens if we get down there and it's a load management day? Jack doesn't play. Does Cody promise to get a tattoo? So, like, if Jack Caglione doesn't play, I have to get a tattoo? Of what? Do I get to choose it? Just as long as it's
Jack.
No, I'm not getting a Jack.
Tags.
I've never even been in the big leagues. I can't be sure how good of a player he's going to be. The very first tattoo I ever get is going to be for Jack Caglione. That's crazy. That's crazy.
Why don't you get a tattoo, a heart, and just have Emma's name in it, you know? Just go ahead and do that.
I think you'd have to get, I don't know, it'd have to be something like...
probably for your family or kids. I don't know. I've never gotten a tattoo.
You just get like a crown on your, I don't know, wrist or shoulder.
Did you ever tell us what your tattoos mean? I can't remember. Did you?
He's told us what some of them mean.
What's the, you got the, is butterfly, right?
The butterfly behind
What's
my
that one
ear.
again?
So my grandma, her favorite animal was a butterfly.
Yeah.
And yeah,
we've asked
very
that out.
close to my grandma on my mom's side, so I got a tattoo for her.
Drew, the only person on the show with a tattoo that we know of. Cody might be hiding one. I'm not sure.
I don't have a tattoo. I mean, I'm not against it. My wife has one. I just feel like it needs to be meaningful in some way.
I hear you.
Oh yeah, totally.
You know, like
I'm in the same
some people
boat.
just get like, I don't care that you get tattoos for just the art of it. That's cool too. But if I'm gonna do it, I feel like I gotta.
My cousin has a penguin chugging a beer on his.
Yeah, I know lots of people have just like they're cool looking tattoos that they just got. My friend Nathan, who you guys met, who works over at Gain Asphalt, his tattoo, he's got like an octopus wearing a monocle and a top hat. Like I don't think he's got
That's
like
unbelievable.
Like, I mean, it's like a whole. I mean, it's like a whole. Like it's a good size tattoo.
Yeah.
So like, I don't care. I mean, if it just looks cool, and that's what you want to do. That's fine.
Someone said get one. That
If I
says,
got one,
love
it would
bunting.
The first one. I love bunting. Could you imagine if that was the first one? But it's got to have a picture of the bunting. I'm not like just getting. It can't just be the words. I want it to.
Yeah.
I want a picture of the bunting. You know, a baseball related tattoo.
Oh
you know?
my goodness. Where would you hold on, if you got a butt? Where would you get it? Like across your chest?
Bunting? It's got to. I think it's got to be tramp stamp. It's got to be.
No way.
Bunting.
I
It's
don't
got
know.
to. Yeah.
I don't know where I'd get it, man.
Mm-hmm.
I'd have to think about
Or
that.
on your back, like the name on the. You just,
That'd be
I love
such a
bunting.
weird tattoo to explain to people. Like, I love bunting. Like, oh, it's a long-standing show joke. You don't get it? It's fine. Oh,
There would be people who, like me, don't know what the bunting you're talking about, and they'd be like, "Wait,
that's why you have to have
bunting
a picture.
baseball?
You know,
Yeah.
you need like some good opening
Oh,
day
yeah.
bunting to go with it.
Mm-hmm. There you go. All right. Let's talk a little bit about the Royals, though. The big league club. It is April the 15th. They're one game under
They might
500.
need to start bunting.
The offense has been dreadful. Yeah, they might have had better success if they bunted last night. Everybody but
would've.
Bobby. Everybody but
Yeah.
Bobby, because Bobby did have the home run, obviously.
He's the only player with a hit.
Where is your confidence? As I said, I looked this up and while we were looking at draft stuff, and it feels silly to even look this early, but the Royals are like plus 132 to make the playoffs. And I think if you had a high win total, I get why you're getting a little nervous. But if you thought they were a playoff team before the season started, I'll be honest, I think it's a bit crazy to be sitting here after an 8-9 start and now act like they're not like you just know they're not a playoff team. It's way too early for that. If you didn't think they were a playoff team before the season, then I get it. You stick with that. Why would you switch? But if you thought they were an 88-win team and going to make the postseason, I don't know how after one game under 500, middle of April start.
Had they won the game yesterday, would you have felt dramatically different and they were 9-8 instead of 8-9? I would have.
And that's why the same timeline, middle of May, end of March, or end of May, I'm sorry, Memorial Day, will give you a better feel on whether or not you think you need to pivot from your preseason prediction. I think it'd be wild to change on April 15th from whatever we all gave numbers. Unless you had an insane number, right? Like unless you were
99.
Well, then you might want to lower it, But
you might want to walk that one back a hair. I think if you look at this team right now, my confidence is just as high as it was before. I would have told you that I thought that they were pretty much even money to make the playoffs. I told you how infrequently they've made the playoffs back-to-back times. In their team's history, it is sadly very rare for them as an organization to do it, but nothing about what I thought they were going to be. I think you can say that their offensive problems are not fixed based on last year. I think I can pretty safely say that on April 15th, that they're not going to just be some way better offense where MJ Melendez solved his problems and Hunter Renfroe's just healthier now and India strengthened the top of the lineup so much that watch out world. No, they're going to be a mediocre offense at probably best at this stage. I think that's probably a fair way to look at it. But as far as the playoffs go, maybe I feel emboldened. If you made me ask, I might feel slightly better about them making it gold. Not because of the offense, but because their plan in the bullpen worked. And I don't think they're going to be this bad on offense all year. The starting pitching appears to be just as good as it was last year. Cole Reagans is still a stud. Bubic has filled in for the Brady Singer element of the rotation. And the bullpen is maybe twice as good as last year's bullpen was in the first half of last season. Second half, Sam Long and some of these other guys came around. They traded for Ursack, and they were quite a bit better. But the first half of last season, no lead was safe. They were in danger the entire time.
Look, it was a different start. I mean, we still have half the month to go, so it can change. But last April, they were 17-11. Okay. Last May, I believe they were 17-11 as well, something like that.
They're off to a good start.
And they were 13-10. Excuse me, they were 12-15 in June. I guess what I'm getting at is they're not pacing for the 17-11 month of April. But the fact that the offense has been so dreadful and they're still only one game under 500, and with a win tonight, they could be right back at 500, is why the panic stuff is a bit crazy. We all know the flaw. It's very obvious with this team. And maybe this offense is going to finish still 22nd or something in baseball, which is going to make it awfully difficult and reliant on pitching. But I also don't think they're going to be the 29th worst or 29th best, second worst offense in baseball. Like last night, I said it earlier, I think that you look at last night where only Bobby got hits for you, those are easy ones to just wipe away and wash away because that you can think they're a bad offense. They're not that bad where they're getting one player a hit a night kind of offense. Last night was exceptionally pitiful against a pitcher that had been bad all year, even though he owns the Royals throughout his tenure, but he had a 7 ERA going in. So tonight, can you find a way to just get multiple guys, honestly, just on base? Let's start there. Multiple guys on base is in, take some more walks, be a little more patient at the plate.
Yeah, and I think they're 28th in walks. They've never been particularly good in that. I was looking through the end of April because their record right now includes March. So yeah, they were 18-3.
True. Yeah.
They were 18-3 or 13. Sorry, 18-3 would be impressive.
Yeah, last March they were 3-1.
18-13 at the end of April. So that's not out of the question for them still. 1 3-game winning streak, 4-game winning streak, and they're right back there. They were pretty much 500 the rest of the way, and then a bad below 500 June and September. September they were obviously missing.
And look, I'm not trying to make excuses for them because the reality is to what they've played in the sample size, the offense has been pathetic.
Yeah.
But we said before the season started, hey, the month of April, you got playoff team after playoff team after playoff team that you're going to face off in good competition. And yeah, ultimately they will have to be able to beat these teams, but not in April. You're not a finished product in April. We all know that.
I'm a little worried they're going to have to end up going down the road of Gurriel and Tommy Pham. There's going to be some dudes hitting in the lineup that I'm like, them? We're back to just whatever aging veterans on the street hitting sixth because the guys you have in house can't hit sixth. I don't love that.
Yeah, they get the Rockies for 3 in a week, right? They get the White Sox in about 2.5 weeks or so.
Those teams both stupid.
There's a little bit of let up there, but
Rockies are worse on offense than the Royals, by the way, the only team.
Yeah. Now, look, the way the offense is playing right now, it's not the opponent that they're playing. They're just it's not just because of the opponents they're playing, right? I mean, it's the fact that somehow they're 8-9 against the tough schedule they've had with awful offense. The fact that they're able to pull that part off so far should give you a little bit of confidence that it's the perfect storm. This normally, with this stretch of schedule, normally would be a stretch where they're sitting at 3-10 or something like that. Very easily.
In previous years, yes. They maybe have 4 wins to go with it, but they're pitching so well, they're still holding court. As I told you, the difference between third place and where the Royals currently are in the AL, I think ninth, is a game and a half, a game. The best team is 9-7, the worst is 8-9. I mean, we are not talking about a tangible difference in record based on where these teams are. They do have to hit. You and I are not trying to they got to start hitting. Last night was embarrassing.
That's brutal to watch.
Bobby
Honestly,
was a homer, and it wasn't even an enjoyable game. I had it on. I was driving back. I had it on when I was driving back from UMKC after class or whatever. And you're listening, you're like, okay, that's just 1, 2, 3, and then 1, 2, 3. They had 2 runners in the first on the walks, and you're like, ooh, maybe they're going to get to Carrasco, get that pitch count up a little bit, and then just never mattered offensively outside of one Bobby Wood Jr. solo home run the rest of the game. And Lugo just gave up too many solo home runs versus his guy.
Right.
And got himself in trouble. And the Yankees are the best home run team in baseball and have been for a second consecutive year, maybe third straight year. I'd have to look. They are one of the best power hitting teams in the league. So if you aren't going to scratch together runs, you're going to run into a problem. I told you the same thing, which is I'd probably call up Rave and bench MJ, but you're probably right. If that's going to happen, that's probably going to happen a week from now when they're coming home to Kansas City. Oh, a double mock draft Sounder Day?
A double.
Well. Okay.
Been digging a little bit for this one. We got one, not going to go too far for this one. The Kansas City Star.
Familiar with it. A known publication, as you will. Who did it? Which person from the Star? It looks like Jesse Newell. Jesse Newell, okay. He covers the Chiefs. He feels like he'd have a good inroad on it.
Mm-hmm. So this one, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, Cody, because I don't have it exactly up in front of me. I've got the names, but not the exact process. Did they trade out of the
Yeah, it looks like according to
first
this,
round?
they don't trade out of the first round. They do take a first round pick, but they do trade the
up.
They trade
to
up
select this
to select
individual.
their first round pick, yeah.
And that would be Derek Harmon.
All right, I
Your
love it.
boy.
Great start. I don't know about the trade up. I don't love that part. But I do like Derek Harmon, as you well know, my first admitted draft crush on the show. Loveland, my second admitted. I got 2 or 3 others. We got a week before the draft. I don't want to reveal all of it. I think last week we had planned on talking about the running backs we loved, and we didn't even get to it. So maybe we'll do that tomorrow.
Did we get a
We never
Derek
even
Harmon,
talked about it.
Do we get a Derek Harmon profile from our
We
guy?
have, yeah.
Our guy
We have
Lance?
gotten a Derek
Was
Harmon
it the big
profile.
meaty hands one? Is that where we're
I'm
going?
trying to remember who.
I can't remember.
Was that him?
The girth? I couldn't remember.
Let me see it. I'll pull it back up and take a look. I can't remember if that was the defensive lineman that ended up leading us down that path of talking about
again,
upper and lower bodies. Here's what it said. Let's see. Nope.
No.
That was not the one.
Is there a comp there?
Daquan Jones.
Okay.
Yeah. He's high cut and tight hipped.
Tight hipped?
He can play up and down in the line.
Like Landon Jackson.
Punches quick, powerful, and efficient to stall the block. Twitchy upper body to peekaboo the block. He's the
peekaboo guy. That's right.
That's what it was.
Peekaboo block. I knew it was one of them. Who
Peekaboo.
do they have in the second round, Drew?
In the second round, we're going to go to a name we have not heard before, Jalen Royals, wide receiver
Ooh, I
from
like
Utah
him.
State. Let me give you his...
Did I watch him a single second in college? No. Do
Oh,
I like
why
him
do you
based-
like him?
You would have
Just
been
based
Royals?
on, so I'm big on production. He was a very productive player.
I'm gonna give you some
He's
numbers in a
a
second.
really, really, really good athlete. So this is just my draft evaluation is post they've actually played. I did not watch. I want to be very clear. I did not watch Utah State play football.
So the last
this year.
game of the season he played was October 19th against New Mexico, but there was a 4-run stretch between the game at Temple, at Boise State, UNLV, and New Mexico, in which he had at least 112 yards and at least 9 catches in each of those games. The best game he had was 9 for 211 against Boise State.
I mean, he is
10 for 155 against UNLV, 11 for 188 against New Mexico. He was on fire.
I was seriously looking
to
him up
end
the other day.
season.
Now, he didn't play his sophomore year or his freshman year. I don't know what the hell happened
Limited
to his
college
career before
experience in terms of just production.
But when he was in there, he played full 13 games in 2023, 1,000 yards, 15 touchdowns, which led all of Division I. And then the following year before he got hurt, 7 games, 834 yards in 7 games and 6 touchdowns. He just, I don't know, he puts up numbers.
He had
He's
55
also really
catches
good
in those 7 games, too. I mean, he was...
Plus
he
his name's
was-
Royals, and that makes sense here.
He was a monster.
How do you feel about that? That his name would be Royals.
Popular
Yeah, I mean,
second-round pick.
that'd be fun. I mean, that'd be fun. He's not maybe the most explosive wide receiver, it sounds like, from what you're describing a little bit. But that's all right. He
but
can
between
play
Xavier
inside
Woodley,
or
they don't
outside.
necessarily need that. He's a good athlete. He's not really tall. He's kind of skinny, but he's fast. Like he's pretty fast.
However, ever she in the slot, Xavier Worthy on the outside, opposite of him is Royals.
Here's what it says for strength. Fights hard for his catch space on contested throws. Impressive body control. Gets into run mode before the ball touches his hands. Weakness.
Is that a positive or a negative? You can see that as either way, right?
Weakness, just 2 seasons as a full-time player. Lacks desired suddenness to shake an NFL press. Shows slight rounding of the break at the top of the route.
I don't know what that last one means, but
Maybe not
Two
the
round.
elitist of route runners. I guess.
Average foot quickness.
yeah, but think about this guy in the second round. Really good, productive wide receiver. You get to sit on him for a year. You use him in those. Ideally, he turns into better juju by the end of the season, and then by next year, you still have Worthy, you still have Rashee Rice. Now he's your 3 instead of paying Hollywood Brown or paying Juju Smith-Schuster, one of these other guys. I would be okay with Jalen Royals.
How about this third name? Another name that we haven't heard yet. Running back out of Miami, Damian Martinez.
I'm going to do more research on him. He's not on my list yet. He has not been on my radar.
Third round might be third round might be a little bit early based on other mock drafts. I think and where I've seen him go, but very productive in his time at Miami and at Oregon State as well before he transferred to Miami.
What's his scouting report? What's Zerline have to say about him?
Comp is Donta Foreman.
Oh.
Productive 3-year starter, impressive
Foreman's not
blend
bad.
of
It's just he
power,
doesn't get enough
dexterity, and
reps.
decisiveness.
Indecisive?
No, and decisiveness.
Oh, okay.
Above average athleticism for a big, powerful runner.
Big,
See, I don't think they
powerful
need that.
runner?
I want explosiveness more than I want just that. Nimble inside with the ability to set up defenders to miss.
I think he ran a 4.46 40, which actually for
Average
his size,
athlete out of
Here's
this.
what the AFC regional scout said. Quote, I'm old school, so he reminds me of Natron Means. The way he's got the nice feet, but also the size and power.
I think Means looked like a linebacker. This is a big-bodied back, clearly.
Well, again,
Speed
Poor
okay,
footwork.
composite grade.
Fails to cut it tight.
Okay size, according. Not a very good Raz guy.
Average speed.
This guy sounds terrible.
I think he ran a 4.
I can't even believe you brought this guy up, as a matter of fact. He's
blame
way
me.
off my... I hadn't even thought about him.
Blame Jesse Newell, not me. I'm not the one that did the mock.
19th on the athleticism score of running
Yeah.
backs.
Yeah.
4.51 40.
He's a lot like Caleb Johnson. Very productive.
Despite a lack of breakaway speed. See, this is just the opposite of what I want. That's all. That's all it is. Like, I want a guy that has the ability to take an 8-yard run 35 yards.
Yeah, I don't...
It's almost like you're
solid running back, but, not what I actually think they need is the issue.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, give me Hampton or something. Give me, like, a real athlete. Just like, I mean, obviously, Ashton Genty's probably, like, the number 1 relative athletic score guy.
Yeah, I like an Ashton
But
Genty.
I'm probably not getting that.
Well, the thing about Genty's like the size of Damian Martinez, but he has that breakaway
There you
speed,
go.
and he
That's why
has
he's
the
a
things
first-round
that
pick.
Damian doesn't
Like,
necessarily have.
Derrick Henry. Those guys are pretty rare in the
Because
league.
Amarian Hampton is more like the smaller, shifty.
Yes,
like
I like
taller,
I like
skinnier.
all those
You know what,
buzzwords when
Drew?
we're talking running back. Small, shifty, quick.
Drew, you know what I want? Whoever's closest to Saquon Barkley. That's what I want in the draft, and that's who I want them to take.
I'll be honest, Amarian
Yeah.
Hampton might be the guy that I told
you I want anyone. Does Amarian Hampton? Can you look him up real quick?
It was interesting when Matt brought him up that they would have to talk themselves out of not taking him essentially if he was available. The Chiefs would have to.
What about Amarian Hampton?
I want to know his comps because I told you I want somebody comped to Bucky Irving. That's the only thing I want. I want whatever running back they say reminds me of Bucky Irving.
The comp that Lance Zierlein gives is Ramondre Stevenson for Amarian Hampton.
He's a bell cow, man.
Big
What
back,
about Ramondre?
impressive, chiseled physique. Access to a sudden lateral jump
How do we feel about that? Does that help or hurt?
It says it's a strength. It's a strength.
Chiseled.
Weakness is bangs into blockers and lacks adequate elusiveness. Below average speed to win wide and turn the corner. Too eager to leave his feet. Take abuse in the air.
What about R.J. Harvey? Someone keeps mentioning him. Is he my Bucky Irving type? I gotta find my running back.
He
When
has
we
that
have this
breakaway
conversation
speed.
tomorrow.
RJ Harvey also is 24. He's older.
I don't care about running backs. I'm only using him for 4 years anyway. Then they can get the hell out of town. So whatever.
5'8", 205.
He can be as old as he can be 40. Just as long as he hasn't played that many games. It's
He
fine.
doesn't have a comp. RJ Harvey does not.
What's even the
Low cut body type promotes excellent contact balance. Maintains good pad level. Weakness runs with modest levels of burst. Needs to expedite his tempo to stay ahead of NFL defenders. His father played at Bethune-Cookman. In case you didn't know.
The hell does that matter? Why is that in his draft profile?
Bloodlines, man.
Because he played at Bethune-Cookman?
Gotta know.
That is not a bloodline.
Does his dad play college football? You like hearing that, You like hearing that.
Does it count? Did you play college football if you played at Bethune?
Oh, hey now. Hey.
Does that count?
Hey. What
Does that count?
Yes, it does count. What are we doing? Taking shots. Other universities.
I'm sure there's tons of our listeners.
Tons of alums in the area from Bethune-Cookman.
So there was a comp.
Do you know where that school's at? Do you even know where it's at?
No.
Drew, do you know?
Florida, isn't it?
There you go.
So
I knew you would know.
Somewhere in Florida.
Daytona Beach.
Ooh, is it really? Nice. Somebody compared Amarian Hampton, apparently a popular comp as Deuce McAllister for Amarian Hampton.
Interesting. Okay. Shifty.
I'm not anti that. That was good. I always liked his balance. He just always seemed like the kind of guy who never got thrown off.
All right. Up next, we're way late.
Sorry. Got distracted by running backs.
We're going to get into what's trending and talk about the upcoming deadlines on the stadium front next.
This is Cody and Gold on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5, The Fan. Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Summertime, looking to make some changes. That's why I reached out to Awaken 180 Weight Loss and got my consultation by calling 844-346-1800. You're always trying to wonder, how do I figure this out? How do I finally lose some weight? And I don't want to do it with the medications, no gym, no calorie counting. I have a weight loss goal. How do I get to it? My weight loss goal was 30 pounds. I got to it in 6 weeks. That's 5 pounds per week, thanks to Awaken 180 Weight Loss. That's how I did it. Now I get free support for life for trying to maintain that weight, keep that weight off. That's how they're going to help me do that, by giving me that free support for life. I don't care if it's the pool and you're just like, I didn't want to take my shirt off last summer. If you're just trying to have more energy to play with your kids. For me, some of it was health related. I was tired of my knees hurting and the superbone foot hurting, and I wanted to reduce the numbers of time that came up. I'm doing that thanks to the 30 pounds gone over at Awaken 180 Weight Loss. If you got questions, you can DM me. I'll give you answers. I'll tell you what it was like. I'll tell you what the program was like and figure out some of that for you. Or you could call the professionals at 844-346-1800 and find out more online at awaken180weightloss.com.
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to
slow it down and get it going slower.
Izervay is proven to slow GA progression.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Izervay or avacincaptad pagel is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com.
Are you prepared for the change in seasons? Take advantage of Hamilton Plumbing, Heating, AC, and Router's $69 seasonal HVAC tune-up deal to help prevent costly breakdowns and ensure your heating or cooling system is running at peak efficiency. Over 40 years experience and more than 8,000 five-star reviews are great reasons to trust Hamilton. Our licensed technicians and exceptional service guarantee will give you peace of mind. Visit callhamilton.com for details, terms, and conditions. License number 2025-11121.
With us is Dr. Jason Anist of KCUC, and we're talking about men's health. I just saw blood in my urine. Should I be concerned?
Yes, that is definitely something you should take seriously. Blood in the urine is a common symptom of bladder cancer. It's not unusual for blood in the urine to happen only once, but that doesn't mean you're in the clear. There can still be a problem lurking. 1 out of 30 men will get bladder cancer at some point in their life. You really should talk with your doctor, preferably a urologist.
Is bladder cancer treatable?
Bladder cancer is very treatable as long as we catch it early.
And what are some of the options?
Treatment usually starts with a same-day procedure at the hospital and then may continue with additional treatments in the office.
Are there risk factors that make me more prone to bladder cancer?
Anyone who has smoked in the past is going to have a higher risk. And in fact, about 2/3 of men who get bladder cancer have smoked. It's not always the case. 1/3 of people have never smoked in their life.
See the experts at Kansas City Urology Care. At KCUC, you see the best in KC. To make an appointment, visit kcuc.com.
Looking for the perfect engagement ring? At Shane Company, we know this is an exciting time. It can also be overwhelming. Customers say this a lot. Where do I start? How do I choose? At Shane Company, this is where the magic happens. Since 1929, we've been experts at helping customers find the perfect engagement ring. We invite you into the design process, help you pick out the perfect diamond or colorful gemstone, and choose a style that speaks to you. Come see us in store and at shaneco.com. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Underdog just became one of the best places to make entries during the basketball playoffs with their Extender promo. With the Extender, you can play your way into increasingly bigger boosts each round of the playoffs. Start a playoff series by using your Game 1 boost and continue boosting each subsequent game to unlock the next one. The longer the series, the bigger the boosts. Underdog is now available to play in Missouri, and their app has over 100,000 five-star reviews and millions of players. All you have to do is download the app and choose whether a player will go higher or lower on one of their stats, and you can mix and match across other sports like I like to do. Download the Underdog app and sign up with promo code BOB to unlock a special offer of up to $1,000 in bonus cash when you make your first deposit. That's promo code BOB. Must be 18 and over and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/extend.html for details. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org.
Spring forward with real unlimited data from Straight Talk this tax season and get a free Samsung Galaxy A16 5G or Moto G Power 5G 2024 with select plans. So you can stream games during Mad March hours, check the weather for April showers, and watch gardening videos about May flowers. Straight Talk, real unlimited data. Available at Walmart and straighttalk.com. Offer valid through 4/15/25. Taxes and fees apply. Requires purchase of single line gold unlimited plan or higher. For network management practices, visit straighttalk.com. I'm Brian Tedesco, CEO of Blaupunk Americas, the pioneers of the car stereo. Today, we're not just about sound systems. We are revolutionizing the e-bike scene with Blue Dot Bike. Thanks to AmericanEagle.com, our online presence now features a dynamic e-commerce website that showcases the quality and affordability of our foldable e-bikes. And our collegiate e-bikes, just perfect for the college fanatic. These e-bikes offer a new way to experience freedom on two wheels, no matter your age. When we needed a top-notch website to match our cutting-edge e-bikes, we turned to AmericanEagle.com. They made the impossible seem easy, tackling digital challenges like pros. Check out the Blue Dot Bike website to see AmericanEagle.com's amazing work in action. Need the best in website and digital marketing solutions? AmericanEagle.com is your go-to. They've been a game changer for us, and they can be for you too. Visit AmericanEagle.com or call 877-WEB-NOW1. That's 877-WEB-NOW1.
I'm at the movies, asking people if they'll switch seats with me for $574.
Here, take mine.
So what about $574 if you switch your home insurance to Allstate?
Man, too much work.
Not if you call them. They handle the switching.
Now, that's a plot twist.
Shh. Check Allstate first, and you could save hundreds on quality home insurance today. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Not available in every state. Based on the national average annual savings for new home insurance customers surveyed in 2023 who switched to Allstate and reported savings. Savings vary.
The price of gold could surge in 2025. A large bank analyst is calling it the ultimate perceived safe haven asset. That's why thousands of hardworking Americans are getting help safeguarding their money and saving with precious metals like gold and silver. Call 855-838-GOLD to learn about the top-rated precious metals company, Goldco. They're going to give you a free gold and silver kit. Plus, you can also get up to a 10% instant match and bonus silver on qualified orders. Call Goldco at 855-838-GOLD. That's 855-838-GOLD. Performance may vary. You should always consult your financial and tax professional.
The technicians you can trust with your house keys. Anthony Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electric.
Clog drain? Our experts clear tough clogs fast and include a free camera inspection, so you have confidence that your pipes are flowing freely. Unclog your drain for just $74. Schedule today at AnthonyPHCE.com.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios. What's trending?
What's Trending is presented by Baker University, where graduates earn higher salaries and land jobs faster than any other university in Kansas. Apply today at bakeru.edu. The Royals back in action tonight in the Bronx, taking on the Yankees after losing last night. The Royals try to snap a little two-game skid. Michael Wacha on the bump this evening for the Royals. Vern's On Deck show starts at 5 o'clock right here on your home for the Royals, 96.5 The Fan.
Next up on What's Trending, the Miami Dolphins have given Jalen Ramsey permission to seek a trade. This after just 12 months since they made him one of the highest paid corners in the league. Jalen Ramsey, who did rate out as one of the better cornerbacks in the NFL last year. Their GM spoke today, Chris Greer, and said that the decision, we decided it was probably in the best interest for all parties to move forward. Greer added that Ramsey did not ask for a trade, so asking him to say you're allowed to pursue some other teams would certainly do this. They got a lot of money. He's going to be hard to move. It's going to cost him a lot to move on from him. But then he also just said delusional stuff. I said, who knows? If someone wants to come and give me 2 first-round picks, then we'll consider it. Right? Whatever. About Tyreek Hill in the trade and all that stuff. So, they're just kind of in weird wash mode. He's claiming they're not going to trade Tyreek Hill, although he's in more legal trouble once again. Not like NFL's, I don't think, suspending him legal trouble, but, the cops got called to his house over another incident. Getting divorced. He just got a lot going on. But the Dolphins are stuck in no man's land. I mentioned it earlier. I still feel that way.
Elsewhere, the Masters TV ratings are out. The final round averaged 12.7 million viewers on CBS. That makes it the most watched golf telecast on any network in 7 years. So essentially since Tiger Woods made his run through the Masters again.
Pretty good.
Makes sense, right? We talked on Monday about the drama and how unbelievable it was, and great theater for everybody, the emotions, etc. So, yeah, the Masters, nice. It's crazy, though, because everything gets comped to the NFL. So, like, when 12.7 in the...
That might be the second quarter of Browns-Giants this year.
But for golf, that's a really nice showing.
Yeah.
It's a really nice
It
showing.
is. And that's what you care about, just overall viewership of your sport. Next up on What's Trending, Kansas will apparently host the top player of the 2026 class, Tyron Stokes, on a visit this weekend, sources confirmed to the field of 68. They obviously currently have what is newly named, I believe, the number one overall recruit in the 2025 class, expected to be with him this year. No chance they could keep both, right? Peterson wouldn't come back for year two, would he? Then they could have the number one recruit in back-to-back years, you know?
He's a one-and-done player.
And this is just a visit, obviously. It's not guaranteed he's coming to Kansas.
If he stays healthy, he's one and done.
Anybody saying Self might be able to recruit still. I mean, if he gets the number one player back-to-back years, that would certainly be something.
That is what's trending here on Cody and Gold. Someone says they haven't had a two-game skid. I'm sorry. Did I say it wrong? The Royals are trying to avoid a two-game skid. My bad.
They did lose. They won Sunday, but
Text line is always on top.
They haven't lost more than 2 games all year.
That's right.
Which is
trying to avoid the two-game skid.
We'll remind you one last time today, and then for the next couple of weeks, come and join us for the Cody and Gold road trip down in Springfield, Missouri. Gold says he'll maybe go to the Fantastic Caverns with you. He's not sure.
Nope.
Depends on what time he gets in there.
Nope.
He's now petrified of being collapsed in a mining accident.
I've been
now.
in the Fantastic Caverns. I've been there before as a kid. I rode on one of the red little Jeeps that they had, and I've been there.
But we want to go watch Cags slug homers. This is the first time we've done it since Bobby Wood Jr. We've got T-shirts available for purchase for those who are down there for $10. We continue to link if you are going to the game. The link for the actual tickets is up at 965thefan.com.
Yeah.
We already have over, including the people in the station, we have around 60 people right now committed to go down to watch Cags play on May 3rd, Saturday, May 3rd. $10 tickets at 965thefan.com.
I don't think we're going to get down there early enough, but Lambert's is Drew. Have you been to Lambert's before?
He established. He mentioned it when we first announced this. He has been to he has had a throne roll.
Yep, I've been to Lambert's.
You went to the one in Alabama or something?
I don't remember if it was Alabama
They
or
only
Missouri.
have 2 locations. That's why I'm trying to figure
I don't remember
out.
if it was Alabama or Missouri.
Had you been to Missouri before you moved here?
That's what.
Oh, yeah. We drove everywhere as kids, so yeah, I've been to.
Because I think they only have 2
I've been
locations.
to all but one state in the country.
But I don't think we're going to get down there early
Hawaii?
enough. And
Alaska?
Nope, Alaska.
And the game, by the time it gets over, Lambert's will be closed. Because I was like, do the game, and then I'll go to Lambert's
Yeah, that
after the
stinks.
game. But no.
Because
We're going to have to find a good local watering hole.
If I remember right, they have those big mugs that you can get too. There's a big mug. It was like a souvenir cup that you could get, I think. I don't know if they still do that anymore.
I'm looking at the menu.
But apparently they also have a big salad, the salad that, if I remember right, at Lambert's, my dad got a salad once, like a chicken salad. The thing was freaking massive. It could have fed like 4 people.
I would like to retract part of my statement about Bethune. I didn't realize they were Division 1. So you know what?
They're FCS.
I didn't realize they were FCS.
Unnecessary shots fired. Unnecessary.
Unnecessary. I take it back. You know? I take it back.
Cam Ward started at Incarnate Word, FCS school.
Somebody's claiming that Stokes kid might reclassify. You see anything on that?
I saw that as well for 2025.
That'd be wild.
This is from 5 days ago.
Him and Darrell
Tyron
Peterson.
Stokes may reclassify. Number 1 player. I don't know if this YouTube person is...
I think that's a thought that's bouncing around a little bit.
That would be, if he reclassifies, that would be
Well, then you got your 1-2. You're
unbelievable.
going to put 2 of the top recruits in the country?
With Flory, you're set. You're good to go.
You should be.
From the 816. So you guys breaking news that Cags will not be called up till May 3rd?
No.
I'm using historical references to indicate that the likelihood he gets called up are very slim.
Yeah, we actually have a direct guarantee. The Royals owe us $2 million if they call him up before
JJ
May
personally
3rd,
texted
actually.
me and said, I will not call up Cags before May 3rd. To this,
No,
Cody,
we just
I
are,
promise.
We are
I've done
obviously
historical studies. It's very unlikely.
We are hoping. Obviously, there's no 100% guarantee. We feel pretty confident that we're fine. There's a reason why we're doing it May 3rd, by the way, not in June.
I would feel not confident if we were doing it
He
in
would have
June.
played about 25, 27 AA games by the time our road trip happens. And we feel like that is, despite what Twitter would make you think, he's not getting called up to the big leagues tomorrow. Sorry. So that's why we're confident.
I think if JJ had said between 100 and 500 at bats to get to the big leagues.
What the heck is going on?
I don't know.
What?
I think if JJ, I don't know how you did that.
What did
JJ said you picked it up. I thought.
I just moved the phone out of the way.
Oh, you didn't press the button?
And it just, yeah.
He said between 100 and 500 bats, ideally to maybe get up to the big leagues, and they weren't really sure what that range is. He would be at like 110 at bats in Double-A by May 3rd. So I'm feeling pretty safe about it. Although the text line's trying to get me to like guarantee a tattoo or a strip club visit or a million other things.
Well, they know you won't do that. Last one. The tattoo, I think you'll do, but you guys can convince Cody on the tattoo. The strip club is
You
off
think it's
limits.
more likely
The way you act, it may be so.
Man, I don't want to go to strip.
So I'm too busy looking at the Lambert's Cafe menu that I can't go to.
If you were able,
why don't you get there for lunch? Get down there early.
If you were able,
I got my betting show earlier, so I think I'm driving down with Dusty. So I don't know.
If you're
if
able
I'll
to
be
pick the tattoo, Cody, I feel like you're much more obligated.
But I don't have a tattoo in mind. Like I don't have anything to get a tattoo of at the moment.
What is this?
People
Every meal on the menu is all you can eat?
What means a lot to you, Cody?
Lambert's?
There you go.
What means a lot to me? That's a deep question. No way I'm answering that in the last 10 minutes of this show.
His kids, his wife, I'm guessing, would be his first couple answers, I would think.
Probably. Your family, right? Your kids.
So Desmond and Ruby wouldn't be able to do it now, but you have 4 people in your family. Your last name is 4 letters. Everybody gets a individual letter.
And then what? I spell something out?
No. You, like for instance, like you get a T and you get a T tattooed. Your wife gets a P tattooed, and then you pick between Desmond and Ruby, and then when they're old enough, whenever they want to,
they got to get ours?
They get an A or a P.
I'm forcing my kids into future tattoos?
No. I'm saying that's an idea.
I see.
Because
spell out tap, there's 4 of us.
In the Nixon household, that is an actual conversation we've all had. Because there's 5 of us, 5 letters in the last name. Nixon, at least the way that our last name is spelled. We've thought about.
Wait, I'm just laughing.
You and I both gave the same look.
Is there another way to spell
You and I just gave the same look.
K-N-I-X-O-N?
N-I-C-K-S-O-N is the original spelling of it, and then it.
I've never seen anyone spell Nixon that way. That's the original
I haven't either,
spelling?
but the original spelling, like it comes from, because the origin of the name is Scottish and Irish.
You guys like spend time in the genealogy lab? You seem to got a lot of that.
I've spent a lot more time in the last couple of years, like looking into that stuff regarding family history. But yeah,
okay,
it's not for everybody. Somebody said they hate it. Like I think it's a dope concept. Like if you're gonna get a tattoo, I think it actually is kind of cool.
Like I know like people do like sibling tattoos, but I'm not getting a tattoo with the other 6 of my siblings.
Well, yeah.
You know, and also I'm assuming they don't all have tattoos. I don't think like half of them don't.
As they get a tattoo, call them
It's
up.
actually like nuts. You know what? It's weird. It's split by gender. All 3 of my sisters have a tattoo. None of the 4 of us, the boys. I don't know that. I don't know why the split happened that way. I'm not sure, but that's the exact. It's that way too. My dad doesn't have any tattoos, and my mom had several.
Someone had a good idea for you. They said get a tattoo of the gift you got your wife for Mother's Day.
That's nothing.
Yeah.
I got plans this year. I'm already shopping. I'm getting ahead of it. Getting ahead of it. I got so much time. I'm going to be good to go.
You'd just be like that one guy. Somebody sent me something on Twitter a couple weeks ago. This old guy was like, old man gets a tattoo of all of Joe Burrow's championships, and he wipes off the soap from his arm, and there's nothing there. And I was like, all right.
It's a good joke.
I like it. I enjoyed it.
It did make me laugh.
It's not. Let's be honest. It's not a bad joke when you think about it. Let's talk a little bit about the stadium front. I don't want to play the PSA again, but the Kansas City Sports Commission, along with civic leaders, that's generic enough, big-time business people, put out a PSA being like, hey, we got to act now because these sports teams are a part of the fabric and the economic growth that is important to this area, and if we lose them, that's a problem. It's essentially the energy of it. I'm trying to decide why now they're choosing to release this message and release a statement, knowing that these teams have pretty much admitted that it'll be summer before they make that call. Do they think that they need? I think they want to re-engage in conversations. I actually think it's been longer than we'd like to admit that the Royals and the Chiefs have told these two sides of the state line what they actually want, rather than speak in terms of hypotheticals, like, oh, that would be nice, or this, versus engage in actual negotiation. Because otherwise, I feel like these decisions would have been made by now. If these states and these municipalities had made firm guarantees of dollars they were willing to do it, I actually think the Chiefs and the Royals would have already decided.
I think it's more complicated than that. I guess we know that the Missouri legislature wraps up in about a month or so. There's still a bill pending that could unlock some more financing that would allow them to compete with the Kansas Star Bonds. We know the Star Bonds expire this summer, but they could get extended. We know John Sherman, he told us when he joined us on opening day that June and July is what he's looking at. We know the Chiefs have just kept pushing theirs and kicking theirs down the road and further, seemingly just waiting for the Royals to make a decision. It's what it feels like from the outside. But yeah, I mean, the video you're discussing that was out there, we've seen that in writing before. Like the video that Kathy Nelson and other members of the city put out, like encouraging and how important it is for these teams to stay in the region, all that. We've seen and heard stuff like that.
Do you think they're intentionally
before.
saying region, knowing that if they take the loss out of the Kansas City area, that they don't want to make it seem like it's doomsday or Armageddon, knowing that they're a part of what's keeping these teams here?
I mean, other than Mayor Quinn Lucas, who's obviously in Kansas City, Missouri, he's the mayor of KCMO, I think most people, the teams certainly have always discussed it as the Kansas City region.
Yes. But the Kansas City Sports Commission, I imagine Kansas City proper, not the suburbs, not the Overland Park areas they've talked about, or the Legends area for some of these other areas. I assume the Kansas City Sports Commission is Kansas City.
No, I hear you. Yeah.
I could be wrong, but
as you know, some stuff is cross state lines for bidding. Like the World Cup is going to have some partnership with. The World Cup is in Kansas City, Missouri, but Kansas is involved in that bid as well, right?
Yes.
I mean, that's the regional approach.
Yeah, and that's the one nice thing we've always said about kind of where these things are. I just wonder if this is like the last second push in order to do it. There's a couple of timelines to pay attention to. Sherman had said June or July for when they were looking at it.
Mm-hmm.
The Missouri legislative session has about a month left in it. They are trying to pass something similar to Star Bonds that would give them some funding mechanism in order to help pay to keep either the Chiefs or the Royals in their state. So, there are some things that they're working towards to try to make this thing get done. I still think it's going to be 1-1. I don't know why. I feel like losing the Chiefs is worse for the state of Missouri because then Missouri is less NFL teamless. They had the Rams, they had the Chiefs, and now they got none. That would feel kind of weird, honestly. As a state level.
I hear you, yeah.
I feel like it'd be easier to unlock the spending mechanisms from a state level if it's for a football team.
Still think that if one leaves before the other, announces their intentions, the one that still has not made their decision and is at that time still in Missouri, that one all of a sudden has way more leverage and potentially could get more from both the public as an actual, if a vote ever had to happen again.
Which I still don't know how that would go.
Same. Well, I don't think it would go well. So I think the state, though, Jefferson City, I could see them, if they already knew they lost the Chiefs, suddenly maybe there would be more money for the Royals or vice versa. I don't know. Could be wrong on that, but that's what I would perceive. They don't want to lose both teams.
I mean, I don't know why you would want to put yourself in that position. The last 180 seconds of the show, by the way, are brought to you by Awaken 180 Weight Loss. Results every week, then receive free support for life. Online at awaken180weightloss.com. Real quick, I did see, once again, another team has pulled out of the... help me pronounce his name again?
Iamaleava.
Iamaleava.
Yes.
Quarterback. The Tennessee transfer quarterback who got kicked off They told him to kick rocks after he asked for money, which, again, I think both teams had it right. Tulane is now saying they're not interested. North Carolina said they're not interested. Where the hell is he going to play college football?
The only option left that was noted was UCLA. It's them or...
Do you think there's... Let me go.
Would he redshirt a year if the team would take him in now?
This is a bit of a conspiracy theory, but what do you think the chances are now? Because of...
They're trying to make a point?
Correct. That no coach wants to let this happen to any of their own player where they can... Do you think there's a chance
conspiracy theory.
that's happening?
I 100% think that's what's happening.
Mario Cristobal already said, because Josh Heupel had comments after Mario Cristobal said, don't anybody think on this roster of doing something like this because because you will leave. We're not going to take you. We're not paying.
I wonder if they're trying to make an example out of Nico, as in all of college football.
Of course, North Carolina is going to go with a D2 transfer quarterback who is, if you're just talking about on paper, there's no question Nico would be the better choice to be your starting quarterback this year. There's no question, no argument for it.
Gio Lopez is projected to go there.
Yeah, but in no way, Gold, do I not think that this is a concerted effort for these teams to say, you're not holding us all hostage. You want to get your money, get it at the right time. Because Nico would have had a place to go had he done this at the proper transfer portal time, right?
He'd have been able to go to the SEC at least. Yeah.
The thing that's burying him, truthfully, I think that's burying him is, and I'm assuming Tennessee is part of the reason to do this, to, again, what you said, not discredit, but make him look bad so these other teams won't do this and these other players won't do this. The story that came out that he was doing this for the college football playoff. That's what buries him. It's not the fact that he tries to transfer and get more money then. It's that reportedly he was trying to get the money before the college
There's
football
other
playoff.
players as well, apparently, who were doing the same sort of thing. Nobody's been mentioned. Nothing's been leaked yet, but there were reports
because they're not trying to bury the guy in the public eye.
There were reports that, and I don't think those guys are in the portal now, or who knows, maybe they are, who wanted to renegotiate their deals ahead of the winter. Which again, it's hard to blame Nico. I think it's just the people around him. It's got to be. I don't know exactly the whole storyline there, but there's family involved apparently, and with his dad and him calling other schools and trying to shop him around. It just feels like a mess that wasn't necessarily caused by the player himself, which is very unfortunate.
Where do you go? I mean, do you just,
you got to go wherever you're wanted at
Somebody,
least.
I mean, look.
Or lower your price, whatever the case
He
is.
was an SEC starting quarterback for a college football playoff team last year.
You need to salvage your career at this point, it seems like. You can't just go nowhere.
I will say, you got to, mind your P's and Q's. I mean, you're kind of stuck in this world where, if you want to get drafted, I don't know what his future draft stock was. Admittedly, Drew, I don't know if he was looking to be a guy who would have been there, but as a sophomore, he had a really good year. Do you think someone will take on the headache? But I'm asking, is it below the Power 4 level? Is it the team right below that?
At this point,
yes.
yeah. I mean, heck, even Tulane, who's not at the Power 4 level, said no. So yeah, I think he will have to go to more of the quote. In college football, we don't really call them mid majors, but yeah, something like that.
His last hope, it seems like, of a power school is UCLA.
And that's where the odds are offshore. For that, and UCLA is, that's why UCLA is the favorite.
And USC was, but they already said no.
Yeah, there were some offshore odds on this the other